up, everybody? It is your girl, Jab Queen Boxing, and we are back. We are ready. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Oh my God, did everybody see those fights last night? Man, when I tell you, I was watching those fights like, man. Okay, so we're going to get into that, right? But I do have a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the fight. All things I see. What's up? First thing I want to talk about are the belts, right? Because I was on someone's panel yesterday, and shout out to Cam J. Someone on his panel actually made me really think about this. And I still haven't been able to quite, I guess, nail it down. So once again, you know me, I got a million questions. So we're gonna get into it, right? Yes, please smash the like button. Which one of the belts do y'all respect? Right? Because I know there's the regular, the super, the interim, then you got the lineal, and then you got the ring. It's all over the damn place. So you talk to one person, they say, oh no, the WBO belt, the WBA belt, now you crazy. It's and then it's like, okay, the people that hold these interim belts, because last night the fight between Caleb and Resendez was for the interim title, if I'm not mistaken, right? And so I'm asking I'm like, well, they fought for a belt, so don't they make the belt important? And they're like, not really. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, don't you got to defend it? Somebody can't just come and say, give it to me, and you give it to them. You got to defend it if you have it, don't you? I mean, it's just a little, I guess, gray for me. So when I open up the panel, I want somebody to come up here, and the best way y'all can explain that to me, because baby, I just don't get it. Like, I know people try to discredit Rolly's belt. It's like, what you talking about? The boy fought for a belt. Now, I mean, again, I guess it's all preference from what I'm understanding on which belt you put more value in or more stock in. Isn't the oldest belt the WBA though? But it looks like, I guess the WBO gets more. And then it's like the ring's been around since the early 1900s. But to be the lineal champ, you got to beat the man. And listen. It's getting out of control, if you ask me. So I want to know for y'all, what do y'all respect? Which belt do y'all respect? Right? That's what I want to know. And I want to know, we can get into these fights. Is Charlo back, y'all? Do y'all think Charlo is back? I mean, his performance last night, it looked good. Yeah, it looked good to me. I think, though, honestly, overall, I think it was good for as long as it lasted, right? Because we know it was a stoppage, all of that. I think he could use another tune-up, just another one, right? Just because I don't think he went enough rounds last night to kind of get a little more of that ring rust off. I mean, that jab was gold, but I also feel like his timing was a little off, maybe. He could have done more. I mean, thank God he didn't, because poor little Lamana child, he went down round, 3, 4, twice. Like, it was just a mess. But other than that, I think that he looks pretty good. I really don't know if he's ready for, like, the big names at 168 yet. I think another tune-up might be good for him, and then he'll be ready to go. Because, like I said, that jab was money. You know what I'm saying? As he said in his post-conference, he works on his jab all the time and works behind the jab. But I just feel like maybe his timing was a little bit off. He could have, a couple of shots I saw him miss that he should have probably connected on. But then again, Lamana did look kind of scared. So, who knows? But I think one more tune-up might do it for him, and then he'll be back. He did express thoughts about fighting Canelo. He does still want the fight with Caleb Plant, even though Caleb Plant's fight didn't go as expected, but he does want some of the big names at 168. And I'm excited that he's back. He looks good, and his brother looks good too. I heard, that he's supposed to be coming back as well, although nothing solid, but I did hear that his brother is coming back as well. But he looks good, and we could use him at 168. Hell, why not? You know what I mean? He said, he do want to fight Canelo. He wants to fight Caleb Plant. He deserves to fight Caleb Plant. I think so. You slap me in my face, we fighting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is definitely a fight that still can be made, regardless of if Caleb Plant lost that fight. He does maybe need to rematch Resendez, just so that he can kind of get that back to kind of put some more steam behind his name. But I do feel like that is a fight that people are still going to tune in to see regardless, because the history is there. You know, the promotion will kind of promote itself because we still be talking about that slap. We also say he needs to get that back. So that's kind of, the foundation is pretty much already there, you know, and he seemed like he was ready to start talking and popping his itch anyway, you know. So another fight for Charlo, and I think that he will be back and be ready to go. Now, as far as Caleb Plant goes, I don't know what happened to Caleb Plant. He appeared to be fighting off the back foot. I couldn't understand it because I'm like, Caleb looks to be a little slicker, a little faster than this guy, but Resendez came to fight. He was like, listen, I'm tired of y'all looking past me. He couldn't understand a damn thing that they said, but as soon as they translated, he was like, oh, okay, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So he came to fight. Caleb got caught flush several times. I was just watching Resendez pick his ass apart. I mean, the more it looked like he had Caleb hurt, the more his confidence showed in that ring. Like in the beginning of the fight, I gave Caleb maybe like rounds 1, 2, and the beginning of round 3. After that, it seemed to be all Resendez. I mean, body shots, he hit Caleb with some really good body shots, 2 actually in round 5, that I was like, oh, it looked like it hurt Caleb, like he bent over, crouched over. By round 6, he just started walking him down and piecing him up, yo. It was ridiculous. He hit him with that stiff left. Round 7, 8, he just kept tagging him. A couple of those was highlight worthy, if you ask me, because I was like, oh my God, what the hell is going on with Caleb Plant? And if you heard his corner, Bradman was like, is there anything going on out there that I should know? Because he was looking at the same thing we all was looking at. Like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be like some sort of tune-up, because Caleb Plant, prior to the fight, he did a interview with Ariel Helwani, and shout out to him, where he said basically like, oh, Charlo is the one who wanted the tune-up because he's just coming back. So I decided to just take a fight, like, yeah, whatever. So I don't know if he was sleeping on Resendez or what the hell happened, but it looked like none of the punches he was throwing even affected that boy. It looked like everything that Resendez hit him with hurt him. So I just don't know what happened with Caleb Plant last night. By round, I think was that 8 or 9, Caleb started leaking. I don't know if it was because they kept saying something about headbutts. I don't know if it was the headbutt or if it was that right hand that kept landing on his damn face. It was like his face was a magnet for them goddamn right hands last night. But anyway, his nose started bleeding. I mean, Caleb Plant was in there looking like Fire Marshal Bill. I don't know what the hell happened, but it appears to me, and I could be wrong, it appears to me that Caleb Plant struggles with fighters. I don't want to seem like, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be, you know, he struggles with fighters with a little bit of flavor. I'm going to say it like that. He struggles with fighters with a little bit of flavor, like Latin fighters, you know what I'm saying? He just seems to struggle because this is what his third loss to a Mexican. You know what I'm saying? What was it? It was Benavidez, Canelo, and now Resendez. So it just would appear that he struggles with fighters of a Latin descent. I'm going to say it like that. Caleb Plant made absolutely no adjustments last night. Okay. Every time and then you let the boy figure you out. You kept sticking that jab out there. By round 3 or 4, he was swatting that shit away like it was a fly and jabbing the shit out of Caleb. It was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what happened. He made no adjustments. It didn't look like he had enough pop behind that punch to keep Resendez honest. It was craziness. And I don't know. Caleb Plant, man, I don't know what happened, but he needs a rematch. And so now we have a new interim, see, going back to them belts, interim title holder in Armando Resendez. So I don't know if they're going to rematch. I know Caleb Plant was saying that he wants to fight Jamal. I think that's, yes, Jamal Charlo. But to me, you got Resendez problems. You need to go over there and figure out what the hell happened with that, and then you can worry about Charlo, because I think Charlo could use just another fight before he's ready to kind of get back into the water with the, you know what I'm saying, the big names and such and such. And I don't think that, not to say that he needs another tune-up to fight Caleb. I just think to get a little bit more of that ring rust off, because I don't really think he got it off last night because they ended the fight early. That's basically what I'm trying to get at, right? Now, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Curmel Moton also fought last night. He was on the prelims, which did not air on TV. So I had to go scouring through the community trying to find, some sort of images or something of his fight. It appears that he did win. So congratulations to Curmel Moton. He advances to, I believe, 8-0 professional fights. But when I looked up this boy's record, can somebody tell me why the hell this 18-year-old boy got 61 fights? Now, I've heard of extensive amateur backgrounds and getting them prepared for the pros, but 61 is a little excessive to me. I mean, I obviously we've seen some of the Latin descent with like 300, because I think Andrew, the Cruz boy, Keyshawn's father, he has like 300, or Canelo had like 300 amateur fights. So I get it. But I guess I'm a little concerned because as I was watching the highlights that Fight Hype posted, and shout out to Fight Hype, I was like, well, wait a damn minute. How come I didn't hear anything about this? I didn't see anything about this. I don't understand why Mayweather has Curmel Moton's career in the witness protection program. I just don't understand it. The Cuban kid he fought was Vienta, what is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. And I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Vicente or something like that. Vicente or Velasante. Anyway, okay, Marky Dan, I wasn't sure, but it was just surprising to me that the boy had 61 fights with only 8 professional. That just looked a little odd to me, but thank you for letting me know that that's apparently normal, or what they do. But I guess my question is, why didn't Curmel Moton make it to the televised version of that card? I mean, I just don't feel like Mayweather is promoting him correctly. I see like snippets of Curmel Moton. To be honest with you, I kind of forget about him at times. I forget, that he is in the mix or will soon be in the mix. And I think a lot of that is because the boy fights in every different weight class known to man. Like last night, he fought at 135, but prior to that, the fight that he was supposed to have, where he was on Danny Garcia's undercard, but he missed weight, was supposed to be, if I'm not mistaken, at 140. And then I've heard that the boy fights at featherweight. So it's just a little confusing to me how Mayweather is moving this young man's career. I'm not sure why. I thought that Mayweather had a good relationship with Al Heyman, so I'm not really sure why Curmel did not make it to the televised portion of that card, because the card could have used him. Now, not to say that the card was not good, and I don't know how many of you guys watched the card from top to bottom, but the Hernandez versus Kyron Davis was also on the card. And it just looked like, Kyron just seemed to be outmatched. I really didn't give him any rounds. By round 3, he started looking scared. So I just feel like he was kind of unmatched in that fight as well. But for the highlights that I saw of the Curmel Moton fight, we could have swapped out the two, or at least added him to the televised version of the card, just to give him some more eyes. Because as I said, it appears that I forget about this kid sometimes. I really do. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I forget that Curmel Moton is even fighting, unless I run across something where I see him saying something about another boxer, or like last night where he fought and then they released the tape. So it just seems that Mayweather isn't exactly moving him correctly. And then, some boxers that we know that were under Mayweather they decided to leave. Look at Africa. You know what I mean? So there's something going on with Mayweather. I'm not really sure, but I just kind of wanted to mention that. I don't know if you guys knew that he fought last night and he did win his fight. So shout out to Curmel Moton and everything that he has, going on over there. Now, I do want to ask you guys this, because I do know that he has been doing a lot of interviews, and he's fighting again next weekend on the undercard of Keyshawn Davis. And he's made it extremely clear that, he wants to smoke whoever can provide the smoke. He's willing to step up to the plate. Do you guys think he's ready for some of the bigger names at 135? I mean, do you think that he's, had enough seasoning to get in there with some of these guys, maybe the ones that we or some of you all consider elite, like a Shakur or like a Keyshawn, because he said that he, is willing to fight Keyshawn Davis. So do you guys think that he's ready for a fight with one of the quote unquote elite guys? Because, I mean, the 135 division doesn't really have that many champions. And I don't really see a lot of good matchups for him in that division. So do we go ahead and let him get in there? I got all the faith in the world in Abdullah. I think that would be a really competitive fight, him versus Keyshawn Davis. I'm not sure how competitive it would be, honestly, against the Shakur Stevenson, just because we know that Shakur, he utilizes excessive lateral movement. I'll say that. And I'm not really sure if Abdullah has had, I can't remember if he's had any experience pretty much with having to really cut off the ring and make sure they're cut off. I know he'll meet you in the middle and he'll do what he got to do. That's why I said, him and Keyshawn would be a really good fight, because Keyshawn is not going to utilize the entire ring. Keyshawn will meet you in the middle and, take it from there. But that was just a question that I had. Do we think that Abdullah Mason is ready for the boys at 135? Because he is number 2 now in the WBA, which is, I think, for Keyshawn's belt. So that would be a fight. It would be an in-house fight since they're both with Top Rank. I'm not sure if that's something that Bob Arum would be looking to do, but that definitely is something that could be explored. Who are you talking about, Marky Dan? You know what? When I drop the link, I want you to come up here and tell me what you're talking about, because I don't know what you're talking about, babe. But yes, he's number 2 in the WBO for Keyshawn's belt. So do we think that is a fight that we can entertain? Also, going back to Curmel Moton's career being in the witness protection program, why are we not really hearing these two fighters being pushed to fight one another? I mean, I know before I've heard some stories about Curmel Moton having a run-in with maybe Emiliano Vargas before, but why are we not talking about him in the same breath as a Kid Austin or an Abdullah Mason? These guys are roughly around the same age. They almost have around the same amount of fights, except for maybe Abdullah. I mean, not Abdullah. I think Curmel Moton has the least amount of fights. But I mean, 61 amateurs, as Marky Dan pointed out, you should be ready to get in there with some of these guys around your same age and around your same weight. So I guess I'm just a little curious as to what Mayweather has in mind for this young man in his career. Because we should be hearing his name mentioned with Abdullah, with Kid Austin. I've heard him, like I said, mentioned with Emiliano Vargas before. So that's definitely something that we need to explore and figure out why nobody is really talking about that. And we all know what is coming up in August. I want to know what y'all think. I mean, I saw this clip of him sparring, but I think it was an older clip of when he was getting ready for the fight the first time. And I said to myself, he's back on X now. He's a little more vocal. And I saw something that Lamont posted on his account as well, just about working out and, staying fit and getting ready and stuff like that. So I was thinking to myself, since last night we had an upset because apparently these guys are not they ain't coming here to lay down. So, and I like a good upset sometimes. It really don't bother me. It makes it more interesting and more exciting, if you ask me. If you know who's going to win all the time, you're kind of like, eh. But if something, out of the norm happens, you get a little excited. Like it's like a recharge, right? So I want to know what y'all think. Who do y'all think takes this fight? Do y'all think that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to go in here more focused, put on a better performance than what he did last time? Or do you think that Lamont just has his number? And no matter what Tank does, Lamont may come out victorious. And you know what, guys? If he does, do we care? Are we somehow not going to be Gervonta Tank Davis fans anymore? Are we going to now be Lamont fans? Because the reason I thought about this is after watching last night's card, it actually made me think about it even more. Because if I'm being honest, Resendez, he wasn't a name that rings a lot of bells to me. Like I've seen him on a card or two, but I never honestly paid a lot of attention to him. And then it was last night, you heard commentators saying certain things and you say to yourself, really? Oh, really? I didn't know that. So you start doing research and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually, he only lost maybe like one or two fights ever in his whole career. And so, he kind of panned out to be a pretty good opponent for Plant. So it just appears that if you don't know somebody, that doesn't mean that they're not good, just because they're not getting the light that, some of these big names are getting. So I just think that we should keep that all in mind when we're looking at some of these fights, and we just automatically assume that this person is going to beat this person because we know this person. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know the other person. But I'm so eager to hear what y'all got to say. And who want to come up and talk about this fight with me last night? I was in here going crazy, y'all. I mean, Jesus. I'm going to drop the link. Somebody come talk to me because I need to know what is going on. That fight was so crazy. So crazy. I mean, and if you looked in the audience and you saw Jordan, in the beginning, she looked excited. She looked happy. But by like round 3 or 4, she didn't even seem like she looked very worried. She looked extremely worried. As rightfully so, because, she saw her husband possibly losing the fight. Ended up he did. Marky Dan, happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday. What's good, big sis?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How you what you was just oh, you were just talking about Caleb Plant's wife. I
Yeah,
don't
I was
know
just
why
saying
that
how she, how her face looked from excited to worried to she was just ready to go at the
I,
end of the
I
night.
don't know why you would even bring her to the fight respectfully. Because what if this man had absolutely got laid the hell out? Like I don't think that's a good situation to put her in.
Well, she
She
goes
was
to all of
big.
his
Her
fights, doesn't she?
trimester or where exactly she's at in her pregnancy, but her belly is big. So I don't know. I just wouldn't have brought her out to the fight to begin with.
Yeah, no, she goes to a lot of his fights. So I really don't think that that's an issue. And she goes to support her husband. I don't really see anything wrong with that.
No, but that's because he wins. Well, then again, nah. You actually are correct. He did get beat dead by Canelo and
Don't do that.
Benavidez.
Don't do
Jesus
that.
Christ! I mean, my God, that was a vicious ass kicking. So yeah,
I
you're
mean,
correct.
so it is fair to say that he seems to struggle with guys that have a little bit more flavor. Because this is the third, guy of that demographic that he lost to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Caleb can always come back. Like Caleb is a dog, regardless. I'm not writing him off by no means. You
I'm
know what
writing
I'm
them off.
saying? Why?
Respectfully, I think the times are catching up with him. It's a young man's game. Canelo, even though he's probably not gonna stay around for much longer, I think you got Hamza Shiraz coming up. You got this young cat that just put hands and feet on him. You see the guys at 160, Janabek, they're talking about he's coming up. So yeah, I mean, there might be more paydays for him, but respectfully, I mean, do you really want to keep taking ass kickings? I mean, you already made probably the you're ever gonna make with Canelo. So I mean, what's the point really? You got another kid on the way. Do you really want to keep taking these ass kickings?
I mean, y'all making it seem like Caleb is some sort of bum now or something, yo. Like I don't agree with that. I mean, he's a fighter. Fighters take losses sometimes. We gotta stop writing guys off just because they take a loss. Like I still think Caleb is a really good fighter. Now that Benavidez fight, I will say that it did take a lot out of him, but by no stretch of the imagination do I think that Benavidez is a walk in the park. Like I think that's a little extreme,
Uh,
don't you think, Marky Dan?
no, 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 absolutely. All I'm saying is what campaign does Caleb Plant want to go on? Is he in the game now just to pick up another belt? Or is he in the game because it's his labor, because it's making him money? You've already made a lot of money. So do you want to exchange the money for the pain that's going to put on your body and the trauma moving forward in the future? When you got another life coming into the world right now, I mean, that's all I'm saying. It's the risk versus reward factor for me. I mean, and you just seen what happened to him last night. Rescindies, and I just called out a couple of the names that are going to be moving up into those title positions after Canelo or Bud beats him. Whoever, I think they're going to drop the belts after this year. It's going to be Spurs. So if Caleb Plant wants to go on a campaign for that, I mean, he could campaign.
You went in and out. You went in and out. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said I don't think it's worth the pain, especially.
Mm, I mean, I see. I mean, he
I
needs
said,
to
but
rematch.
yeah.
The, he needs to rematch this guy. I don't. I mean, I don't know. So, what do you think? He should just retire? I don't think he's done though. I think he could still come back and maybe. I don't know. Maybe win another title. I mean, maybe get this title back or because who has the other belts? Canelo, right?
Canelo got all the belts.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. The belts are gonna get shared out, and the people that are gonna be put in those positions are guys like Hamza Shiraz, Janabek when he decides to move up, and this kid Resendez. All of
Yeah.
them are vicious ass whoopings for Caleb Plant, in my opinion. He's gonna make a lot of money doing it, but I'm saying, is it worth that?
Mm, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you already a
He
champion. You already had the belt.
well, he doesn't anymore. That's the point. I think, and that and
Okay,
that that goes back to my original question. These belts, like, does this interim belt, like, do we put any stock in this belt that he had
I
that Resendez won last night? To me, if you're fighting for a belt, then it matters, right?
I don't. That's not the real championship. A secondary belt. It's like a a global NABO title or a global European title. Is just, to me, it's a trinket really, because the WBA, okay, if you win this belt, you're gonna be ordered to fight for the Super Championship. That's bullshit. Like, we've seen where they went years and years where they didn't mandate the super belt to unify with the regular belt, and it was clear politics. You saw it with David Morrell. Soon as he dropped the regular belt and moved up, they named Berlanga as the mandatory in the WBA. We seen it with Tank. Okay, out of nowhere, Rolly just happens to move into a mandatory position off of fighting Anthony Can You Dig It Yigit, who hadn't fought in 2 years and came in 10 pounds overweight off a 2 week camp. So no, like I don't put no stock into that at all.
So, which belt do you put stock into then, Marky Dan?
The WBA Super.
That's the only belt you recognize. That's the only belt you respect.
Oh, you mean no? I recognize all the sanctioning bodies. I recognize all of them: the BC, the BO, the BF, and the BA.
But which one do you respect? You just say you
Uh,
don't
the one
respect
I
the.
the one I say okay, the one I say I respect the most is probably the IBF, even though they annoy me a lot because they order a lot of dumb fights that I don't like. I respect the fact that they are consistent. Regardless who the champion is, regardless how much money they might bring into the sport, if they mandate you to fight the mandatory and you don't do it, they are taking their belt. And that's across the board. The only situation I've seen them that they're not doing that in is Lomachenko. But I'm not sure if he even has a mandatory, but I can respect the fact that they're consistent across the board. Unlike the BO where you see they play politics with Top Rank. The BA they do whatever Al Heyman says, and the BC they're really just about Mexicans. They're like Mexican nationalists with a but they represent a belt. But the BF they don't play those politics, so I got to give them the most respect.
Okay, but see, I'm more like this. I'm more like this. I respect the world champion, the super champion, and the smaller belts because the smaller belts don't they lead you to a championship? Don't they get you to the bigger belts?
You would like to assume that, but not always. I just mapped out a couple of those situations for you with the regular belt. And not only that, we saw a situation with Devin Haney where the WBC literally created a duck belt so that they could not so that Lomachenko could not fight his mandatory. So yeah, I mean, no, the little belts they don't really mean nothing. They'll just create if depending on who the champion is or how much money they bring in, they'll just create a bigger belt above that and say, "Nah, you can't fight this man. He's like a god. We can't mandate him to do nothing. I mean, there's nothing in the rule book we can do. He's the franchise champion." Whereas in the IBF, like I just mapped out for you, they're consistent. They don't play those games. But I absolutely, but I hear what Rod Walker is saying. It also depends on who holds the belt. Because like Rolly
And
Romero, I
that's what
mean,
I'm getting to. And that is
yeah,
exactly what I'm getting to. Does it matter what kind of belt they hold, or who has it? Because I have seen some people, like you just said, the IBF, Lomachenko. Lomachenko is somewhere in a rocking chair with his grandchildren, but yet somehow he still holds a belt that everyone
uh,
respects. He's not
Lomachenko.
fighting to defend it. He's not fighting for like this is where I guess I'm getting confused. Are we putting respect on the belt because of who has it?
What? Yeah, Lomachenko is in a only situation you can find. Yeah, to be fair, but also Lomachenko is in a situation where war,
You're going in and out,
like
Marky Tan. You're going in
Ukraine,
and out,
like
babe.
what you say?
You were going in and out, but go ahead.
No, yeah, I was just saying, that's really the only situation you could find with the IBF though. Even though I agree, it's not their normal policy. Usually they would have stripped him by now. They don't usually wait a year. But Lomachenko, his country, a very devastating situation. Over 90 children were killed last week in Ukraine. They sent over 300 bomb drones. They're bombing the people's infrastructure, and Lomachenko, he's like a rallying voice. TV, he does propaganda commercials. You know what I'm saying? So I could respect the fact if they're making an exception for him for that situation. Because you can't find no other fighter with that situation. Or excuse me, you can't find no other IBF champion who's going through that type of situation. And if you will
You're going in and out. Okay,
hold on, let me switch to hold on. I'll come.
all right. So basically, what you're saying is they're allowing him to keep his belt just because he's going through a lot within, I guess, his country, and that's cool. But what about these other ones that have belts that are basically just holding the belts up, like not fighting each other, not unifying, different things like that? Like that's why I'm asking, which belts do we respect? Do we respect the person who hasn't? Because to me, if you go through a whole division to get a belt, I'm gonna respect you. You know, I've been told that just because you got emailed a belt doesn't mean you shouldn't respect that particular belt. So that's why I'm asking for people's different perspectives. Let's Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you better now. What you were saying?
No, no, no. I said exactly. All I really had to say. There's no other IBF champion that you can find in Lomachenko's situation right now, where his country is under attack, and he is a rallying voice. He's in Ukraine, and he's making, they put him out there as a rallying voice. He makes propaganda commercials, and he does speeches. So if you can find another IBF champion that's country is going through the situation that his is, and where dozens of children are being killed per week, and they're getting bombed every single day, I mean, then I'll concede the point to you. But if they're making an exception because of that, I can understand it.
Mm. All right. Oh, okay, so you said the IBF is the only belt you respect. What do you got on Carmel Moore? How
I
do you
didn't
think
say it was the only belt I respect. I just said I respect it the most.
out of
Respectfully.
the because they make you fight your mandatories and everything else.
Yeah, they're consistent.
They're most consistent. The oldest belt is which one though? The WBA, right? Or is that the ring?
Uh, well, it is the BA, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. The WBA belt. Okay. Did you happen to catch the any highlights of Carmel Moton last night?
I did not. I didn't even know he fought until you mentioned it.
Yeah, he fought on the untelevised version of the PBC card last night. I'm just a little concerned what Mayweather has going on with this young man's career, because you don't really get to see a lot of him, other than like I said, highlights or something like that. There's no real big announcements for his fights. The last one is the one that he didn't even fight, which was on the Danny Garcia undercard, I believe. So who knows? Do you think that Abdullah Mason is ready for the boys at 135, the quote unquote elite?
Uh, Absolutely. Why not? I mean, they're putting him on Front Street and promoting him like he is, so it's only one way to fight out. Put his ass in there. I don't mind. They put him against Keyshawn. I mean, they're talking about he's gonna be the WBO interim champ. So I mean, I would love to see that fight. I mean, I think that's an all action fight. That's man, that could be like a Mayweather Zab Judah. That could be like a man, Sugar Ray, Tommy Hearns. I mean, that's two young dudes. Abdullah Mason, how old is he? I think he's like how old is he? He's like
He's
24.
21. He's 21. Abdullah is 21.
Yeah,
He
he's
just turned 21
21,
the last time he fought, if I'm not
and
mistaken.
Keyshawn is 26. These are two dudes. They're very young. Abdullah, he's just getting into his grown man body stage. Keyshawn, I think he's a little bit more experienced. Or no, well, not a lot of pro fights. It's just a great matchup to me. I would love to see
Yeah,
to
you're
find
going in.
somebody. They got to be tested. So go ahead.
Yeah, you went in and out, but yeah, no, they definitely need to be tested. I definitely think Abdullah's ready for them as well. I think that if he's going to make this happen at 135, he has to do it quickly, because it just appears that he's getting a little too big for that weight class, which is why I think maybe he fights so often. He's going to have to do it soon. Whatever moves he's going to make, if he wants to be a champion at 135, he's going to have to make those moves really, really quickly, to secure that belt. And then, if he wants to move up or do whatever, but he's going to have to do that very quickly because he seems to be outgrowing that weight class at a rapid rate. So I definitely do believe that. Who you got on the rematch, Tank versus Roach?
I got Grease Boy going down. I think
First
Roach
of
gonna
all,
stop
come
him
on,
this
man.
time.
Come on, man.
Nah, not no.
Grease
Come
boy.
on, man. I just got my hair done 2 days ago. I got grease in my eye and shit.
See, we're not
He
gonna do
sound like a punk.
We're not gonna do
Respectfully.
this. No, ain't no. How you gonna say respectfully?
I'm sorry, Ty. I mean, what you want me to say? I've never seen that before. In the history of men hitting each other with their fists, when you take a knee, that's considered a knockdown. You know what I'm saying? Like respectfully. And then you come in here with this BS crap. Oh, I had some grease in my eye.
So you see Lamont winning the rematch. How do you assume that he's gonna get this done? Now I'm not saying
Um,
that he can or he can't. I love to
I
hear
mean,
people's perspectives outside of the fact that you just don't like Tank. What What path to victory do you see for Lamont
I
Roach?
mean, same thing he did the first time. He stood right there with Tank. His chin held up. He was able to take Tank's power. He was going to Tank's body. Every time Tank tried to come in and take the lead, Lamont would counter him with his straight right. His jab was more authoritative than Tank, which is something we've always seen. Tank likes to be a very passive fighter. He doesn't fight with a high volume, and that caught up to him, in my opinion. But I didn't think Lamont Roach needed to knock down to win that fight. I thought Lamont Roach won clear 7-5, 8-4. Because Tank fights very passively. And to me, that let Lamont Roach take a lot of those early rounds. And Lamont won a lot of those later rounds because he was punching on Tank.
Yeah,
I don't see no difference. I don't see no difference in the second fight because Tank, his mind is already out of boxing. He already said he want to retire.
I don't. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely disagree on this one, Marky Dan, because although I think Lamont had moments in that fight, I don't really think it is what everybody's making it out to be. Don't get me wrong, he definitely did better than I thought he was going to do. I will say that for sure. But going into the second fight, I definitely think that Tank will have a different mindset. I think that he will come out of the gate putting his punches together a little faster. Tank is a lot quicker than Lamont. If you go back and watch that fight, he's a lot quicker. I don't know if he'll get a knockout because some niggas just ain't going to sleep. I mean, let's just be real. You know what I mean? But I do see that fight going differently than it did the first time. I think that the first fight, going into the second fight, Lamont is going to wish that he won and he didn't have to do this rematch, because I have a small feeling that Tank is going to come out and make a statement because he hears all of the chatter. And I'm sure he's watched maybe some of the interviews that Lamont has done. So I'm pretty sure that this will be his motivation to come back and make a statement. I don't think that he's going to fight Lamont the same way that he did the first time. That's just my personal opinion.
Well, we're gonna see. But for now, all the data I have on that fight is what I saw the first time. I mean, that was just embarrassing, respectfully. I mean, golly. I mean, he had that man touching his knee to the canvas, sticking his head out the ring,
This is,
getting
come on,
his.
yo. First of all, that you doing a lot. So here's a question for you. Lee Jackson said, "What rounds did you give Lamont?"
Hold on, I actually got my scorecard. Give me one sec.
Here we go.
I actually got my scorecard. Give me one sec.
What, do you carry it around in your pocket like a
No,
library
I got
card?
an
What is
app.
wrong with
I
some
have
of you
an app,
people?
my lady.
Okay.
Okay. Gervonta Davis. Give me two. Oh, goddamn. I don't have my. Okay. The score is lost. But I saw Lamont score of the first 6 rounds, and I had him winning the
Your
last
phone
two.
was going in and out, baby. Your phone went in and out. I guess your phone even know you about to say some bullshit.
I
But
mean,
go
I
ahead.
think I think my phone is speaking facts, but with or without going in and out. And Shaquita, it's always gonna be every day with Marky Dan. I speak the facts, whether you ladies like it or not.
Who the hell you calling Shaquita?
Kui.
Don't
Shaquita.
don't listen. Don't antagonize my chat. Answer Lee's question. What rounds did you give Lamont?
I mean, golly, you gotta. I just told you four of the first six.
You
And I
gave him
gave
the
him a
first
lot of the
six.
late
You gave
rounds.
him
I
four
for
rounds
sure
of the
gave him
first
the
six.
ninth round when I for sure gave him the ninth round when
This
Tank took a
is
knee.
outrageous.
This is outrageous. The man lost the fight. He should have lost the fight. He should have lost the
Marketing.
fight. What are you talking about?
First of all, the fact that your voice went that high pitched is a little nerve wracking.
I
But
had him bothering my voice.
you gave him the first. You said the first 6 rounds, or 4 out of the first 6 rounds.
Four of the first 6 rounds.
Mm, mm,
I for
mm.
sure gave him the ninth, and I gave him the last two.
You gave him the ninth and the last two. You gave him the ninth based on the.
Based on me seeing him whoop Tank's ass and the fact that Tank took a knee. But hey, they didn't score it. It is what it is.
I think that a lot of people, as I just stated, are mistaking moments in a fight for actual winning rounds. He had a few good moments in that fight. Yes, he did. But as far as dominating that fight, I just don't see how you could see it that way unless you have an issue with Gervonta Tank Davis.
I gave you five clear. I gave you the 5 rounds. I thought that Lamont Roach won.
You actually
Or
said
excuse
that
me,
you.
the 7 rounds. 7 rounds. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm not really sure. And you say you don't have your scorecard with you. Um,
Do you have your scorecard with you?
Actually, I don't remember, but I can tell you
Oh,
right now.
oh.
I had an 8-4 Tank. I gave Tank the first round, if I'm not mistaken. The second, I believe,
You know what we're
I
gonna
might have
do?
gave Lamont the fourth. Um,
We're gonna get a
I just
third
watched it
opinion.
again the other night too. Actually, I just watched it again the other night. But I can
Oh,
tell you
I
this right now:
see.
Tank
Really?
was a lot faster than Lamont. The only thing that I do think though is that Lamont was looking more to like counter, if anything. You know what I mean? And then what was I gonna say? Tank, he was a lot faster. He wasn't as aggressive. I'll tell you that as I normally see him. But by no means do I think that he lost that fight. I was comfortable with the draw, if I'm being honest, and that's why we have to see them do it again. You know what I mean?
I,
So
I was not comfortable with the draw because simply it was blatant corruption, and it was right there for the people to see. The man clearly took a
first of
knee.
all, we're not going to do
Uh,
corruption. We're not going to do any of that. Okay. So go ahead and make your
oh,
point. Make your point without slander, if you
because
can.
I'm a black man and I'm speaking against the government. Is
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Too rich. Talk
New
to
York
me.
State Athletic Commission is the government. And I'm
Okay.
trying to exercise my First Amendment right respectfully. If you let me,
Okay.
if you let me.
But Boxing says his scoring is easy to figure out. He gave Roach every round he came out breathing and landed a punch. Too
God,
rich.
they
Good
hold on,
afternoon,
hold
Oh,
babe.
on.
Happy
Tank what?
Sunday. Did you watch the
hey,
fight last night?
I
yeah,
did, I did.
I watched the
Or he
fights
talking
last
to?
night.
Hold on, Too Rich. Go ahead, Marky Dan. Get your shit off, man. What you got to say?
I'm just speaking my facts. That's all I'm doing.
Yes, your
Why you
facts.
gotta say I gotta get my shit off? I mean, I'm speaking my facts.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Speak your facts, Marky.
No, go ahead, go ahead. What you were saying to the person in the chat?
What's up? No, I was actually getting ready to acknowledge Too Rich. What's up, Too Rich? Talk to me, babe.
Yeah, I'm going on what y'all were talking about with the tank fight. Let
What's
me
up,
say this:
Toots?
at the beginning of what's going on, at the beginning of when the fight was announced, like say on my channel, even though it was him pulling up 130 pounds, I knew this would be a tough fight. I said it from the get go. They stuck their foot in the mud with this fight. Only because of style, not because of who Lamont Roach is. Just a style. Tank had been fighting pressure fighters, which give you a different look. Lamont Roach wasn't gonna give him that look. So I never predicted Lamont Roach would win the fight. I predicted that Tank wouldn't knock Lamont Roach out. Okay, so now we watched the fight. And what I saw is this is a much more difficult fight for Tank than people realize. Um, not because Tank not good, and not because Lamont Roach is super good. It's just a matter of style. So I'm gonna ask you, Jab Queen, because I had a lot of me, I thought Tank boxed beautifully, personally. I thought it was a great fight, a fascinating fight of the styles, knockout guy versus a boxer. It was a good fight. But most people say, if you're a Tank fan, they didn't really like the fight. I thought Tank, I don't know, could have did something different. I'm asking you, what did you see as Tank doing wrong? Well, what do you think he could do better in the next fight?
And the next fight, to Marky's point, Tank does start off slow. You know what I'm saying? We've all said that about him 1,000 times. So he could definitely pick up the pace a little bit more. I feel like in this go around, but outside of picking up the pace, I mean, just put his punches together a little bit better. I mean, I don't think that Lamont is going to go to sleep. Everybody's not going to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's a problem that people have with this fight. The fact that Gervonta Tank Davis didn't put Lamont out automatically, Lamont won. I just don't see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Salute, D Free. How you doing?
Leo.
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up with you? Um, yeah, too rich. That's I think he needs to come out a little faster, stay a little bit more aggressive, and you know what I mean. Pick his shots a little better.
Okay, so I rewatched the fight the other night, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Watching the fight live, I thought it was close. I thought Lamont edged it out. But if you call it a draw, I'm fine with it because did Lamont just take the fight? No, no, no. It was a good fight. It was really a really evenly match with one guy, in my opinion, edging it out. But he wasn't a champion. Okay, cool. But rewatching the fight, I thought it
Lamont
was
is a
much.
champion at 130, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm saying, but Tank, Tank the draw. So normally they give it to him, but the fact that they made it a draw, a tie, would let you know that a lot was on Lamont's side. Because if it was really a tie, they could have easily gave that to Tank, and nobody would have thought twice about it. But rewatching the fight, to me, that fight was a lot wilder in Lamont favor. Not necessarily with the scorecards. I'm fine with how it came out, but I'm looking at Tank finna rematch this guy. He had some real problems in that fight. And I'm just gonna give you two instances and I'll let y'all take over. Two things to look for. Name the one time that you saw Tank slip a punch. That's a problem. Because Lamont Roach never gave
Hold
Tank
up, he was
lane.
slipping punches all night. Don't do that.
No, no,
He
I'm saying,
acting like he
listen
was
what I'm
getting his
saying.
head knocked off.
Slip and
Like the
land
facts.
punches. He didn't really slip and land punches like he normally would against those pressure fights. The next thing to look at, he never made Lamont Roach back touch the ropes. Never did Lamont Roach go backwards to touch the rope. This is going to be a problem in the second fight. Y'all can go ahead.
Nah, you spoke facts, my brother. Absolute facts.
He ain't speak
Absolute
a
super
damn fact
super
much at all.
facts,
No, we're
incredible
not doing that.
facts.
What's up,
Facts.
D Free? What's going on, bro? Talk to me. You see me up
Leo,
here with these gentlemen.
with these
No,
fact
no,
speaking black gentlemen. Go
yeah,
ahead, free.
incredible facts. He's speaking so many facts. It was factual.
Factual
Nah, I
facts.
mean, it was a close fight. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for Tank Davis in the second fight because one thing that I heard a lot of people mention, this is the best they ever seen Lamont Roach. We don't know if Lamont Roach can do that again. We know Tank Davis how he fights. We don't know if we see Lamont Roach do that again. And I think Tank Davis pretty much he kind of took Lamont Roach lightly and he thought he was going to get him out of there, and he took him lightly. But like I said, I don't know if Lamar Roach can perform like that again. I don't think it was such a wide margin where Lamar Roach won the fight. I thought it was a close fight. I didn't care what the outcome was. I thought it was close. But we'll see what happened in the second fight. It's always adjustments made. Nobody comes into the second fight the same way they came into the first fight. We've seen rematches multiple times. Nobody fight the same style of fight in the second fight, no matter whether they won or they lost. Nobody fight the same style in the second fight. So we'll see what adjustments is made, and we'll see who comes out on top in this next fight.
Okay,
Yep.
Well, we
Agreed.
shall. We will.
I
We.
Absolutely.
got, yeah, I got something to
Go
say
ahead,
about
Big
this.
Dog Willie. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mean, D Free is right about second adjustments. Second fight, different adjustments. But in the first fight, I did see Tank has some chinks in his armor, and it's the pressure, like my guy was saying earlier. It's the pressure, and Tank wasn't used to the pressure that was brought up against him. And I think a lot of times he was trying to fight himself out of it, and he was looking for the counter, and the counter wasn't there. And I don't think he knew how to box himself out of without having the counter for him. And
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
and so that's what I seen personally in the fight. In the next fight, it could be different. I don't know, but it's a card out. It's timeout on it's a playbook out on Tank. No, but I got one little thing, and this might sound crazy, but the Rolly fight when Tank was getting pressured, he had issues, and when couldn't find that counter, he was struggling.
Yep.
But Rolly's dumbass still ran at him like a dumbass and got countered. But I mean, like I said, I know Tank's a good boxer. He's not. I mean, he's not the best boxer, but he's a good boxer to go with his power in the counter. He's a way better counter than boxer. But I honestly will want to see it. And one more thing that actually happened: the hair grease. It's all about the hair grease, and that hair grease, boy, you never know about that hair grease. So
Yeah.
we got to look out for Tank finding a way in the hair grease. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, is
So
Tank gonna
Big
make an
Dog
adjustment
Willie,
for that hair grease? Is he gonna
hold
come
on a
in
second.
bald for the second
I
second
have a
fight?
question for y'all. I got a question for Big Dog Willie since he just made reference to Tank and pressure fighters. You said he doesn't really react well to being under pressure. So let me ask you a question. When he was fighting with, let's say Ryan, was Ryan coming forward? Was Ryan trying to pressure him?
But oh, go ahead,
Okay,
Willie. Go ahead.
Ho,
so
ho, ho, ho. Yes or no?
are you asking me or should you asking
Yes,
me?
I'm talking to you.
Okay, Ryan and Asad Rowley are not as good as boxers as Roach.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Ryan was coming forward with stupid pressure. He was throwing wide hooks. Roach was coming forward behind a disciplined high guard and was feinting and was using his jab.
Can
It
I can
wasn't a
I can
lock
I
and
What
can
two
I ask
about
dude.
another
what
can I
about
ask another question? Can I ask
yeah,
another question?
go ahead, Jeffrey.
Good.
I heard he doesn't do well against pressure fighter.
I didn't say
Wasn't
he
he
doesn't do
what
I
what
wouldn't
well.
say that.
I
what
didn't say he
wasn't
did well. I said he did when he doesn't have a chance to counter.
okay,
It doesn't
so
look as good. That's why
what
Shakur and Devin would be an
hold on.
issue
I
for
heard
him.
okay, hold on. Let me ask the question.
He
What
was
what did
clarifying his
what
position. Oh.
what did we see in the Pitbull Cruz fight?
I was just about to say that.
Pitbull's not a great boxer either.
No,
So now all of a
I
sudden
Tank
mean,
Lamont is a
Tank
Davis.
great
kind of did
Hold
lose
boxer.
that
up,
fight. I
Tank
mean,
Davis.
a lot
Tank
of people
Davis.
thought that fight was a draw for the
Hold up. Tank Davis had one hand, and you said he wasn't that good of a fighter. Okay, so now he's not that good of a fighter, and you got a person with one hand.
Okay, so we're talking. Do you not hear what Kim was saying? Boxer. With a boxer who's giving him pressure. I'm not talking about a bull. I'm not talking about a Rolly, and I'm not talking about a Ryan. We're
So
talking about a good
are we
boxer.
saying now that Lamar Roach is a good boxer now?
Yeah,
I
Because
thought
he is a
I
good
heard
thought he
boxer.
was a
Lamar Roach
good
was
Yeah,
boxer
trash
yeah,
before.
prior
hell
to the
yeah,
fight.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
Prior to the fight, everybody was saying Lamar Roach was trash. Now he's a good boxer.
I didn't
Hold
say he
on.
was trash. I said he
Nobody
was gonna
said he.
get beat dead because it's
Who
Tank. Because Tank is
who
the
says he's
man,
trash?
and Tank did
Nobody
not
said he was
perform.
trash.
I
All I
heard
ever heard
people
was y'all pulling him up.
would be
Don't
saying
say
Lamar
y'all
Roach was
because
trash.
nobody. Don't say
Nah, don't
y'all.
say y'all because I was a
Yeah.
Lamont Roach fan, free.
Now
You was not
nobody
no
said
Lamar
it.
Roach fan.
Now nobody
Yes,
said
I
it. Now, you
was. I
hear
even
Z
told
Free?
you
No,
that.
Now
he was
nobody
not.
said it.
No,
I
don't.
wasn't
I
even
didn't.
bringing
No,
up
I'll be
Lamont
honest with
Roach to
you.
you.
No, but be honest with you, I never seen Lamar Roach in my life before him. But I see how good he boxed in that fight. And he's a
Now I
better
will
boxer than
admit, I did
Everybody
say
told
Tank
me
was gonna beat
Lamar
him
Roach
dead.
wasn't
I did
that
say
good.
that. I did
We
say
who.
saw
that.
what
Nobody said he wasn't that good. Nobody knew who
everybody
he
said Lamar
was.
Roach was not that good.
Okay,
I knew
who
him.
With an
are you talking
old
to me? Are
man,
you talking to me?
we
Are you talking to me? Or are
He
you
said
talking
Hold
to
on.
everybody.
One mic,
old man
one
everybody
mic,
else?
Jamel Herring
everybody.
beat
Hold
Lamar
on.
Roach.
One
He's
mic
not
so we
that
can
good.
get an understanding of what's going on. Go ahead,
Hey,
D.
No, I mean everybody was saying Lamar Roach not that good. Old man Jamel Herring beat him up, and he don't deserve a fight with Tank Davis, even though he's the WBA champion at 130. If he move up, he's automatically the mandatory to Tank Davis. But they said he didn't deserve a fight with Tank Davis. So, I mean, that's all I kept hearing. He's not that good, and I kept saying y'all not giving Lamont Roach credit. I've said this many times. I said Lamont Roach is a better fighter than what y'all giving him credit for. Oh, he's not that good. Look what Jamel Herring did to him. That's all I kept hearing. What Jamel Herring did to him. He's not that good of a fighter. Now all of a sudden he's a good boxer. Hey, I don't know.
Yeah, and you know why that
hey,
is. You know what I'm saying? Just because people and I've said this before, yo. I think that he gets the most credit for not getting knocked out. That's what he gets the most credit for.
No, he gets
Let's be
credit for
honest.
beating
hey,
Tank.
but look, check this out. Check this out, though. I'm saying if you just look at it unemotionally, you don't have to have a Tank versus Roy. You can just say fighter A is a knockout guy. Fighter B made his bones boxing. He only got 10 knockouts. So he is a champion is because he has boxing skills. What I'm saying is Tank needs a pressure guy to come forward so he can counter. Just like old boy was saying, so he can counter. What Roach was doing was shooting quick rights and pulling them back. So yes, he's not going to get a lot of knockouts like that, but he's going to be hard to slip and counter because he's not leaving nothing out there. He using what you call not pressure, but intelligent pressure, meaning his weight is on his back foot, but he's stepping with the front foot, slightly stepping, just
No,
that intelligent pressure. So he's ready to counter. So it's almost like he's coming forward, but ready to counter. So what you saw Tank do a lot more movement is the reason why I think people say he didn't fight good. They saw Tank using a lot more movement than normal. Why? He had to get around Lamont Roach's left foot. If he can't get Tank can't get his right foot inside of Lamont Roach's left foot, he can't get close enough to hurt him. He can hit him, but he can't get close enough to hurt him. How is he gonna get to the inside with Lamont countering with them hooks? You see them short hooks Lamont countering with every time he get close enough. That's what Tank is gonna have to overcome. Now, me personally, I sound like I'm going against Tank. I favor Tank in this fight. He should you was 25-1 favorite. It shouldn't have been that close in the first fight. Okay, now I still got Tank as a favorite in this fight because it's Lamont Roach. Tank got to figure out a way to get around Lamont Roach's footwork and get on the inside close enough to land his power. But on the outside, he can't hit him hard enough from that distance.
And what's up?
Chilling, man, chilling.
What you got for us? What did you see, and how do you see it the next time?
Well, early on, it seemed like Tank had the edge because he was just operating with speed. I would say around the seventh or the eighth, he had some difficulty locating Lamont because he was loading up on them shots. He's loading up on the shots. Lamont could see that coming from a million miles away. I think that Lamont did a lot of good countering in the back half of the fight. The 10th round in particular, I thought he did a really good job of manipulating the high guard. You know, in Tank, when he's looking to spring a trap, sometimes he'll get in the high guard, let the guy throw some shots, see if he establishes a pattern. I think that Lamont Roach, for the most part, he did a pretty good job of not giving him too many tells. Seen with what's my man's name? Santa Cruz do the same right hand 3 times consecutively. That got him sparked. Rolly Romero, he was having success seemingly like on the surface, but he kept utilizing the same combination 1-2-1 every single time. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, that got him put out in combination with his technique, just being too far over the front foot, lunging in off balance. Got his ass walked into a shot. So I think Lamont Roach did a pretty good job of not giving him too many tells, but it was definitely apparent the disparity in speed and quickness when Tank was just working. I think for the next fight, that's what he should focus on. Don't look to knock him out with just one big shot. Just work. He did some really good work to the body in like the 4th and the 5th round. Continue to do that. Just soften him up. Just operate with speed. And if you're Lamont Roach, do some of the things you did in the first fight, which was look to try to stabilize him with the jab. Um, Not be too predictable with your rhythm and your cadence. And then another thing I thought Lamont Roach, what he did was smart in the back half of the fight was, allowing Tank to be first. Like once he seen that he was trying to load up with a big shot, allow him to be first. Because Tank is naturally a counterpuncher. And you see with guys who are counterpunchers, oftentimes when they're being first, that's when they struggle the most. Because their game plan is predicated on making the other guy make the first move. But Tank isn't horrible like when it comes to leading. He's pretty good. But the main thing is this. Just operate with speed. Can't focus too much on just trying to feint him out of position because Lamont Roach was pretty disciplined with that as well. You see when he dropped Mario Barrios, Tank that is, in the 8th round, it was with the setup that he had established in the 2nd round, a series of feints, getting Barrios to pull straight back and drop his lead hand. But Roach did a pretty good job of staying composed and not playing a game of chicken with Tank and tipping his hand and exposing himself, through the feints. But I would just say just speed, quickness, and just work. Just chip away at them. Don't try to hit the home run. Just chip away, hit them singles, them doubles. As far as what homie was saying, as far as like putting his lead foot on the inside and trying to step, I don't know about that. That's a little bit risky because with Tank, that will put him in line for Lamont Roach's right hand. And with that being an open stance matchup, generally it is better for whoever it is that's establishing lead foot dominance to get their foot on the outside because then now that gives you more options as far as being able to disengage. Because if he were to put his foot on the inside, it's going to be difficult for him to escape weak side, which would be Lamont Roach's left side. Because you got to step over Lamont's foot to get on the outside. So then that limits your options as far as being able to disengage from the pocket safely. And your only source of recourse probably like to pull straight back, and you don't want to do that, especially against a guy who's got comparable reach or maybe even slightly longer reach, because you're gonna get pulled on the way out. So that's a little bit tricky. So I would say, yeah,
You can slide
look to
out.
establish yourself a relief. Yeah, you can slide out, but then it still puts you in line for the right hand, though. It's probably better to go out weak side, and then now if the guy wants to throw the right hand, he got to reach across you. And then one thing that Tank is pretty good at is controlling the lead hand in those open stance matchups. So if he's escaping weak side, he could use his backhand, use his rear hand to control Lamont Roach's lead hand on when he's disengaging, when he's circling out. He could control that. Now Roach got to try to punch across his body with his right hand, and that's just not feasible. So yeah, I would just say just operate with speed, quickness, and just work rate, and just chip away, chip away, chip away. Because like you said, Ty, some guys ain't not just going off of just one shot.
Yeah, some niggas ain't
And,
going to sleep, and that's what I think
nah,
that a
hell
lot of
no.
people got. A lot of people got so I guess enamored with the fact that he didn't knock him out immediately. They just assumed that he won. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the breakdown, like you said, the breakdown to me is basically which fighter you like because I was comfortable with the draw. I wasn't outraged with it. I wasn't upset with it. I was like, nah, that was good. They should run it back. By no means do I think that Lamont beat Tank fast. I don't know where they're getting this from.
I don't think anybody said he beat his ass. Nobody said that. I think that's
Nah, people
coming
did
from
say
you
that, Big
guys.
I
Dog
think he
Willie.
whooped his
People
ass.
said it. People
Who
said
said
it.
that?
I
Who said
said
Plenty
that?
that.
of people. Just
Phantom
go
put
just go
Phantom put it
around and
on
No,
just
there's
look at
Instagram.
no.
panels that were going on at that time. Plenty
No,
of
I
people
had
said it.
never ever said that Tank. Like I make fun of hair grease and all that shit, but I never thought that fight was very, very close. And at the thing, I think Lamar Roach won, but it's off a technicality of Tank taking that knee. But at the same time, no, that fight was nobody got their ass whipping. No way. It was a close fight, a very good close fight. So I don't. When people say that shit, either one, they don't like Tank, or either one they didn't watch the fight right. But it was a very close fight, and it could have went either way. So a draw was very warranted in that situation.
Yeah, Big Dog
Oh,
Willie,
what
what did
happened
you
to
see
Big Dog
last?
Willie? Cut out. And you made another good point, Ty. And I've been guilty of this in the past too, watching fights. We watch fights through the lens of our expectation. So when it don't
Mm-hmm.
play out a certain way, all of a sudden we end up taking away too much from one fighter, and we end up giving away too much credit to the other fighter. Not saying that the fighters don't deserve credit, or certain things shouldn't be critiqued, or certain things shouldn't be scrutinized, but we end up putting a little bit too much sauce on it, just like based on expectation.
And you know what we should do? We should set up a watch along, and we score the fight together. Cause I'd be sick of this whole. I'd be sick of us not, or I'd be sick of people not having a consensus in general. I think Lamont Roach won the fight 7-5. I didn't even think he needed knockdown to be honest,
Mm.
and he
Yeah,
should
and
It,
have
then
got
I
the
asked
knockdown
you,
if he
it,
didn't,
all
and
Kyrie,
he
it
should have
only
got the knockdown
see
if it wasn't for corruption.
No,
and
but
that,
that's
that's what I was gonna
okay.
ask.
That's
Stop with this
okay.
corruption
see
shit.
see my thing is
They
when
could
you
count into
judging it
three, then ask Tank, what
when
was that?
but my thing is when you judging a fight, it all depends on what you're looking for because everybody looks for something different. They look at
Mm-hmm.
you have some people that look at who's dictating the pace, who's pushing the other fighter back, who's landing more punches. You have other people who's the more who has the ring generalship, who has the better defense. So it all depends on who what are you looking for because everybody don't look for the same thing. That's why we usually have three different judges that scored the fight three different ways. Sometimes we have all three judges scored the same way, and that's usually because it was one-sided fight. But a lot of times we have all three judges scored three different ways because everybody's looking for something different. So it all depends on what you're looking for in the fight.
Be free. What did you have it? Because I'm curious because you're saying all this, but what did you have to fight? Honestly,
I didn't actually score the fight, but I wasn't mad at a draw. I said it was very close. I didn't score
okay.
the actual fight because we was calling it, so I didn't score the fight. I was more so watching it. But
I heard the streams of.
I wasn't mad at the draw. It was very close. I mean,
Okay,
if
thank you.
Tank
Thank you.
Davis
That's all I wanted to hear.
if Tank
That's all I
Davis
wanted
would
to
have been
hear.
counted for the knockdown, then Lamont Roach would have won the fight. But he wasn't counted down he wasn't counted for the knockdown. That's not on Tank Davis. That's not on Lamont Roach. That's on the referee.
Exactly.
A lot of people put that on Tank
Corruption, like
Davis.
I said.
A lot of people put that on Tank Davis. That Tank Davis didn't make that call. The referee made that call. He
No,
didn't make that call.
but I think well, you have to realize that with people who Tank is the A side, and people who basically who don't like Tank and stuff like that. It's a and it looked bad. The list of that. I don't care about the knockdown. I don't care about it, but it looked bad from other people. That it's like, okay, Tank get his favor. He get his way. He's an A side. He gets that way. And it's not just Tank. We see with Canelo. We see with Floyd. We see with
a lot of A side fighters.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm talking about super A sides. I'm just like we've seen in the past where certain A side fighters get the benefit of the doubt. That's cool. That's how boxing is. Boxing full of shit half the time. So we all see that. But if you're coming from a person who's like a Lamont Roach fan or a fan of somebody who don't like Tank or somebody who wants to see a fair fight in that way, you're gonna look at it and be like, oh, that was fucked up. So I mean, but that's just sports in general. It's not just boxing.
I mean,
it
like I
sounds
said,
like you're sympathizing with blatant corruption to me. It sounds
like
you
what
just
I-
saying
what I-
No, it's not.
because it happens every.
what I
What does
noticed.
that have to do with corruption, bro?
No,
What are you
it's
talking about? The ref, the cockeyed son of a bitch referee,
Here we go.
counted to one,
Man,
two,
hold on.
three. Then he
What
stopped
I
counting.
noticed
Free.
with that Tank Davis Lamont Roach fight, I noticed there was a lot of Tank Davis haters because we seen people get cheated out of a knockdown, and it was never to this magnitude. Like the Daniel Dubois fight, that was a knockdown. I didn't see people making videos every other day talking about, Usyk cheated Daniel Dubois out of a win. But when it came to Tank Davis, it was videos after videos after
Be
videos.
free.
I was like,
Be free. He's a Tank is one of the faces of boxing. Of course, he's gonna get criticized more.
no.
That's
But
but that's just how it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Plenty of
What I'm
people,
saying is,
people who are talking about that Usyk Dubois knockdown.
Hold on, Marky. Then 1 second. Let D3 finish.
What I'm saying is keep it even across the board. I'm not saying that you can't criticize them, but if you criticize one person, you got to criticize the other person the same. Don't just have criticize one person one way because you don't like them. Criticize it across the board. If you see one thing going wrong and you saw it and you criticize them, when another fighter do the same thing, you need to criticize him as well. You'll say one thing about one person, but another person do it. Oh, it's videos all month about that one. Just keep it even across the board.
Go ahead, Marky.
No, my whole I was just making a quick point that's not true. Plenty of people were talking about that Dubois knockdown, and that's one of the main reasons why people want to see the second fight because they feel that the referee got it wrong and that it was on his belt line, and that Usyk did not react to that shot like a low blow. So I don't see the difference in treatment or criticism. I think when we talk about Tank, people are scared to criticize him respectfully.
Marky Dan. I'm not talking about the people that kept it consistent across the board. I'm talking about the people that only jumped on Tank Davis. You act like I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about the ones that only jumped on Tank Davis. They didn't say nothing about the Usyk situation, but when it came to Tank Davis, they had everything to say about Tank Davis. Those are the ones I'm talking about. I know people talked about the Usyk fight. I know they did. But what I'm saying is keep it even across the board. If you're going to talk about one, talk about the other one that has the same situation. That's what I keep telling. That's what I talk about every day. Stay consistent. That's why when I talk about the way that Devin Haney ran in the fight, and everybody, oh, you can't say that. Well, when it was Shakur, everybody was all up in arms when it was Shakur. Now when it's Devin Haney, we supposed to turn the other cheek and act like it didn't happen. No, you got to keep it even across the board. Like like too many people have favoritism and they say they're boxing fans, but in reality they're only fighter fans. They're not
That's a fact,
boxing fans.
Jeffrey.
They're boxer
That
fans,
is a fact.
not
That is a
boxing.
fact. That is 100% a fact. Sin Ironheart, what's up?
What's going on with everybody?
I'm good.
What's
Hear
Yeah,
me?
Just
good?
what's
going,
good? What's good?
just going over last night's card and who we think is gonna win the rematch. As you can see, we've arrived on this. But D Free, 1 second, Sin. What you think about how Mayweather is moving Curmel Moton? What is going on with this boy career in the witness protection program? I had to look through the bushes in the back alley to see a peek of that fight last night. They didn't have it on TV. It
You
was
said
crazy.
Mayweather doing what?
Curmel Moton.
I think they put it on the YouTube. I don't think it was part of the live programming because
That's what I'm saying.
I mean he actually Moton hasn't fought on a live Amazon Prime fight yet. All his fights has been on a YouTube channel when it was on Amazon Prime. The only time we saw him on actual TV was when he was on the Danny Garcia promotion. When he fought under the Danny Garcia fight that he put out in Philly, we saw him on TV then. But Moton hasn't fought on live TV for Amazon. It's always been on the YouTube promotion. But the same thing, like ever since Tank Davis left, you haven't really been seeing Mayweather like that. You haven't been seeing him.
That's what I'm
So
saying, though. But I thought that Mayweather and Al Heyman had some sort of understanding with the PBC. So I just was a little, I guess, concerned as to why the boy is not even on the prelims on the TV portion. I mean, damn.
no, that's just further proof to let you know that what Mayweather was telling you was bogus. He talking about if you work for Al Heyman, you work for me. That just let you know that was bogus. Because if that's the case, then Moton would be televised. Moton ain't
I
being
mean,
televised.
I'm gonna be really honest. I don't think it's that big a deal, even though he is really the only fighter I think Mayweather Promotions has under contract. I don't know who else they got.
No, he
Um,
got he got
but
a, he got quite a few fighters, but they just not
but
being
he's the only
televised.
one we really care about. Like, let's be honest.
Floyd ain't gonna let
Like, who
nobody
else they
be
got?
bigger than him. He ain't gonna promote nobody and let nobody be bigger
No,
than him. He
no,
attached himself with
but
Tank so that he could stay relevant past retirement.
Yeah, he not he
And
not he
no,
got
no.
he got he got quite a few. He got quite a few guys, and it's this other guy that he got that I believe is a better fighter than Moton.
Ooh,
He's light skinned with braids. He's a knockout artist, but he has way better boxing ability than Moton. I think he might
What's
fight
his
at.
name? See,
but
I
I think
never
let
he
even
might fight
heard
at.
of him.
I think he fight at 140 or it might be 147.
What's his
He's a lot.
name?
I cannot think of his name. I'm gonna go back and look
Okay.
on the Instagram and find his name. But he's light skinned. He got braids, but he's a better boxer and he's a big puncher. I think he's better than Moton. But he has him under
well,
contract as well, and they was promoting him as the next Tank Davis. But and a lot of people looked at Moton and would say, "Oh, that's the next Tank Davis." But Moton is not nothing like Tank Davis. But this other guy, they saying he might be the next Tank Davis.
Is this who you're talking about? They
let
probably
me.
said John Easton. Is that him? Is that who you're talking about?
John Easton. I got to see his face. Let me look him up. I'll tell you if that's him or
Okay.
not. Let me look him up.
But let
What's
me say
going on,
something. I
Iron?
don't think
Oh, go
Lamar.
ahead. Finish
I
him off.
think
Go ahead, Mark.
yeah. My bad. I think I don't think Carmel really needs to be televised right now. I think he's still a prospect. He's doing what he's doing. I heard you earlier. Why isn't he being promoted like Abdullah or Kid Austin or those guys? I mean, they're not really in the same generation. Like this dude just turned 18. He hasn't really hit his man body stage yet. So I
Neither
don't
has
think he needs
Abdullah.
to have a
Abdullah's only
microscope.
21, bro.
I
They're
think,
like
No,
3
no,
but
years
hold, but
apart.
hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I think he needs to be under a microscope right now. And not only that, PBC. I mean, they could put him on
You going in and out,
somebody.
Marky Damn, babe. I couldn't hear you. You said something about PBC, then you went out.
Yeah, I said no. PBC doesn't have that many dates, so I mean, it's just gonna be like that for him unless he get away from PBC.
But he was on the
uh,
prelims last night of the card. That's what I'm trying to say.
he's
Hey, they didn't want to
he's
televise
been
because
on
he ain't fighting nobody.
he's been on a few PBC cards. He
That's
just
what I'm
haven't been fighting
saying.
on. He just haven't been fighting on TV.
But
He's been on
nah,
a
yeah,
few of them.
but he's usually on the he's not on the televised cards a lot. He's usually on the
That's
prelim
what we're
YouTube
talking
cards.
about. That's what we're talking
That's
about.
what I'm trying to
Why
figure
he's
out, Marky
not being
Damn.
on the TV? Why is he on the YouTube channel? Why he's not being televised? That's what we're
They
talking about.
don't put do they have any other prospects on PBC's main cards?
Yes. What are you talking
Who?
about? The
Who?
dude
That's
that fought last night that beat Davis. He only got 7 fights.
But no,
He's a prospect.
but that dude is gonna get moved fast. I don't think they're gonna
No,
move
what
him
he
like
I'm
a
don't
saying
need to
is,
prospect.
be. Not from what I've
he's a
seen.
prospect. He only had 7 fights when he fought Davis. He's a
Okay,
prospect.
but Curmel Moton is not fighting nobody like a Kyron Davis who's been in there with a
No,
Benavidez
but
and
what I'm
guys at
telling
that
you,
level three.
hold up. What I'm telling you is this is not the first time that dude was on TV. I told you I saw him fight before. This is not the first time that he was on TV. I saw his 7th fight and his 6th fight. This ain't the first time that he's been on
Well, what
TV.
that means is they probably moving him on a faster track than Carmel. He's probably not getting moved like a prospect. Because you said it yourself. Kyron Davis is not no dude that could just be knocked over.
I'm
And
just
you said it
answering.
yourself
I'm just
that
answering
you
the
thought
question that you asked.
Kyron Davis was gonna get
I'm
slept.
just answering the question that you asked. You said, do they
Well,
have
he
any other
damn near got
prospects that they
slept.
put
What
on
the hell
TV?
fight was you watching?
No,
You
but
talking last
that's what
night?
I'm saying.
He
This
damn near
dude
got slept.
is not getting moved like a prospect. I think he's a contender already.
No, he's a prospect. He's been a prospect. Now he might be a contender now, but he's been a prospect. Like I said, this ain't the first time he was on TV. He's been on TV.
All right, I can see you the point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's been on TV. It just I don't know what they doing with Moton. I mean, like I said, I don't know. And the dude that he put in the chat, John Easter. No, that's not the guy I'm talking about. It's another guy. It's another guy. John Easter is one of Mayweather's fighter, but that's not the dude I'm talking about. It's another guy. He's light skinned. He got braids. He kind of looked like he might be like Puerto Rican or something of Latino descent. But the dude is nice. I've seen him fight a couple of times on YouTube. He's nice.
And you
I
said
want to
he
see
under
how they
Mayweather?
gonna push him. Huh?
He's under Mayweather?
He's under Mayweather's promotion. He's under
I'm gonna have to
Mayweather's
check him
promotion.
out.
Yeah, I
I've seen him
think
fight a couple of times on YouTube. I want to see how they're going to push him, but he definitely got some skills.
I don't
I
disagree
think
though.
he's better
I
than
think
Moton. In my opinion, I think he's better than Moton.
I don't disagree with you though, Ty. I do think Moton. I don't think his career will flourish until he get away from Floyd and get away from Mayweather Promotions.
The only person
Because
the only person career actually got better under Mayweather was Tank Davis.
And see, that was the point that was the
career ain't get
parallel.
better.
Gamboa
Yeah,
career
that's
went
true.
Tank
downhill.
did Floyd the favors. Floyd ain't do Tank no
That,
favor.
Mickey
that was the
Tank
Spinks.
did Floyd the
parallel.
favor.
That was the parallel that I was trying to make, because I don't know if you guys remember this, where basically Floyd was, taking all the credit for Tank's career, and everybody wants to give him all the credit for Tank's career. Then what the hell is going on with Curmel Moton? Because they don't have the same. By the time Tank was, I don't know what age he went to Mayweather, but it was almost like he was into, like, this kid has 61 damn amateur fights. So I don't understand this.
That's a normal number of fights, I think.
He might have to do like Jalil. He might have to do like Greg. He might have to do like all those guys. I mean, Tucker,
Richardson Hitchens.
And get away from him. That's what I'm saying.
He might have to do like all those other guys, because all those guys was young. They was upcoming fighters, and they wasn't being pushed like that. Soon as they got away from Floyd, they started being put on TV all the time.
All young talent got to stay away from Floyd Mayweather. Plain and simple. All young talent. That man still he's still gonna compete with y'all. It was say some way or another, he's gonna find a way to assert himself and try to take some of that limelight from even the young talent. So it's just best
See,
everybody stay away from him if they really want to flourish.
if Floyd can be more
Is
like
it
Oscar De La Hoya, but not the whole weird part of Oscar De La Hoya, but the promoting of fighters like Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd will be a lot better because Floyd has talent in his stable. He just don't promote them.
Yeah,
He
he's too
don't for some
self-centered,
reason
man.
he don't promote him. If he can promote if he just focus on being a promoter and stop trying to be the center of attraction, he can be so much better in the sport of boxing as a promoter.
yeah, that
But
that was my
such is
concern
life.
because I just feel like he
Nah, I
should
know.
be in the same arena running with the Abdullahs and the Kid
Nah,
Austins and the he's around their same age. They not that much older than him. They're what 2 3 years older than him.
I mean he 18 years old, but I will
Abdullah
agree.
is 21. He just turned 21.
Yeah, but I will agree though. Tank Carmel need to get the hell away from Floyd. I remember the first press conference that Carmel was at for his first fight. He did not let that young man speak once. Floyd, it was literally the first fight of the Canelo. I think the Canelo versus what was it? I think it was Canelo versus Ryder or something like that. I can't remember. No, it was Canelo versus Mel. And Floyd got up there and talked for almost 20 minutes about Canelo. Oh, that's
Yeah, I remember
Canelo
that.
Luzio.
I
Oh, that's
remember
Canelo
that.
Luzio and this and that. He didn't let Carmel speak once. They literally ended the press conference and Carmel did not get to answer one
He
question.
used to do that to Tank too.
Duh, that was actually crazy. Like
Exactly.
Floyd looked like Donald Trump to me. He looked crazy
But that's
and
been in his
self-centered.
character. That's been in his character though. So it should have already been common sense. The man ain't teach his damn kids how to fight. Why the fuck you gonna go to him to promote you? If it ain't no Junior Mayweathers, if it ain't no little Mayweather already whooping
I mean,
ass,
I don't know. They
why
got
am I
Well,
gonna
well,
sign with
grandson. They got the
Mayweather promote?
well,
grandson.
hold on, Sin,
They got
because
YB's son.
Yaya throw hands. She just a YN, but
Yeah,
Yaya
that,
throws hands. I seen her on
she
tape
throw
before.
knives
Oh,
too,
yeah,
don't
yeah,
she? She
punk.
throw
She
hands with
grabbed. She
knives
go
and
for a
she be
knife.
stabbing shit, don't she?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
hell
yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah.
she
The
could
fuck.
fuck.
fight. No, Yaya tripping. Yaya Mayweather is
If you grab
bad.
a
I've
knife,
seen
you
her.
ain't, if you grab a knife in a one-on-one, you know what I'm saying? Then nah, you ain't no warrior.
Yeah,
you ain't
you're
Shit,
a
no warrior in
coward.
that.
I've
You're a
seen her.
tyrant.
I've seen her when what's that boy she messing with? He was at a gas station with some girl, and that girl was a big girl. Yaya little skinny self was rag tagging her behind too.
She could probably
Yaya could
scrap.
bang.
She could
I
probably
mean,
scrap, but she ain't. You know what I'm saying? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
listen,
It's
the
a little,
YB young, NBA young boy's son, Floyd's grandson. I mean, he bringing him to
Oh,
the
he gonna be
gym
nice. You
every
see
single
him?
day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
he's already
man gonna
saying,
so he gonna skip his son and go to the grandson. I ain't
hey,
gonna
that's
be
how it
around to
works
wait for that.
sometimes. That's how that go. Respectfully.
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as for the young talent lining themselves up for him, but Tank was too big for Floyd to hold back. Tank already had eyes on him. Floyd, you know what I'm saying, attached himself, and I think that really Floyd stopped a lot of fights. I think he stopped shit from happening for Tank because he already seen. Anybody could see that Tank was going to kind of take things. You know, Tank is Tank at the end of the day. So,
Then you
at
got
the end
people
of the day,
saying stuff like
nobody else.
this.
Yeah,
He played the
nobody else is
biggest
coming from
part.
Mayweather Promotions
Mm,
that's doing what Tank is doing. They trying to find another Tank, but
exactly.
so yeah, man, it is what it is. Such is life.
Yeah.
I agree.
Find
I
another
agree with
dude
that.
that
I
move
think
up
that
130 pounders and
here we
fights
go. Go
contenders
ahead.
and yeah, yeah.
Mikey D, you seem to have an issue with Javante Tank Davis. Is there a specific reason you don't like him, or you just one of those people that just don't like him because he's winning?
I don't like him because it seemed like every competitive matchup he have to put himself in, you got to put rehydration clauses on dudes. You got to bring them down to catch weights. When it comes to the people he fights, I mean, I just don't think that they of that high caliber. Like that, I would like to see him fight on a regular basis. But hey, it is what it
Who's
is. I mean, it's
When
his
you're
high
a
world.
caliber?
I'm just
champion,
living
you
in it.
do, yeah, when you're a champion, you know you don't really have to fight more than once a year if you don't want to, right? You do realize that a rehydration clause is something that the sanctioning bodies put up there, not specifically fighters.
I mean, when you're the WBA champion, you could roll out a goddamn dock boy and fight him. It don't really matter.
This is ridiculous. So that's what he's been doing. He's been fighting Doc Boys. So let me ask you a
Nah, he ain't
question.
been
Something.
fighting Doc boys, but like I said, he's been moving up guys that. And even though I said I didn't think Lamont Roach was a bad fighter, I thought he was a good boxer. I don't think that should have been Tank's first option after Lomachenko dropped after the Lomachenko
It
fight dropped
wasn't his
out.
first option. It was about his
That
fourth option. But please continue.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, hey,
right,
okay,
right,
all right, but
right.
respectfully, then we had Frank Martin before that. But hey, that I don't know if that was his first or his second. I mean, you could fill me in on that too. I mean, we had Rolly Romero's man moves up to 140, where Josh Taylor
Really
was at
wasn't
the time.
mandatory.
Okay, yeah, yeah, the WBA mandatory, yeah, 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 of course. But anyway, man moved up to 140 pounds and fought Mario Barrios. Put a catch weight, put a rehydration clause on that nigga. If he was really on smoke, he would have went and fought Josh Taylor, who
So
was.
you think it's okay for niggas to balloon up to whatever weight they want to fight in the weight class that they're currently in? See, that's one of the
Hey,
problems
if
that I
you
have
go
with a
into a
lot of
weight
people.
class, fight somebody we care about.
Who do you care about,
Who you
Market
care
Man?
about? Who do
Yeah,
you care
who
about?
Hey,
who makes
hey,
the
hey,
most
Anybody
money
with
to
a
fight?
hundred
Because
Who's
fifty
dear
that's
to
pounds
your
at the
that's
heart?
time.
ridiculous.
Who's dear to your
Jab
heart,
Queen,
sir?
Jab Queen. I just put his name in the private chat. That's the dude that I'm talking about that Floyd got.
Josue
Okay.
Vargas, what?
Yeah,
Okay.
he fight at welterweight. That's the guy that I'm
Isn't
talking
Josue
about.
Vargas that dude that was getting slept and knocked around silly?
Oh,
And his
here we
dad was
go, Marky
crying.
Dan.
No,
No, I'm being serious. Didn't
no,
Zapata
that's
put
not
this
him.
man to sleep? That's not the
This is
guy Zapata slept.
Zapata.
I, I haven't seen dude.
When
That
when does Zapata fight at welterweight?
no, that's Josue. Maybe the dude got the same name, but yeah, that's Josue Vargas that Zapata slept.
that's a different Vargas I'm hearing in the chat, Marky Dan. So you have it wrong. What's up, Isaiah?
Okay.
Yo, what's going on? Yeah,
How
I
you
just
doing,
wanted
man?
to. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm here listening to Marky Dan and all his
Yeah, I
things that
was.
he
I
comes
was
with.
listening to that bullshit that somebody was up here
That's
saying
facts.
about Tank Davis that they don't like him because he be putting rehydration clauses on everybody he fights. One, let's make it clear. It was only Barrios,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Garcia, and he tried to put it on Frank, and the WBA overturned it. So aside from that, what other rehydration clauses?
Actually,
Because I don't
actually,
really
Well,
he didn't
know.
put
firstly,
it
I
I
on.
didn't
don't.
say
He
I
didn't try to
I
said
put
he
don't
it
So
was
on
see
first of
putting
Frank.
all,
him
hold
weight
on,
training
rehydration.
all the
hold
people he
on.
fought in the
Let me
past.
clear
He
up.
ain't fought Pedraza at a rehydration, and he only got those.
Let me clear up something real
So I
fast
don't I don't
because
understand how
y'all
people could say.
let me clear this up. Stop talking, Isaiah. There was the reason that Ryan Garcia had a rehydration clause is because he came in overweight. The reason I didn't they fought at 136 a catch weight is because he didn't make 135. So since you couldn't make weight, I'm going to put a rehydration clause to make sure you don't balloon back up. The problem that we are having with some of these fighters is they are campaigning in a weight class that they do not belong in to begin with. So if you get a rehydration clause, that simply means that your ass is too big for the weight class you are campaigning in if you feel drained at that weight class with a rehydration clause on you.
Okay, can
Yeah,
y'all
go
hear me?
ahead.
Y'all hear
Damn.
me? Yeah, the phone bugged out.
No,
Hold
the
on,
phone didn't bug out.
Hey,
I
my
muted you because I was talking.
real
Oh
quick,
nah, yeah, nah. I couldn't even hear on my phone. It was just it went crazy. My bad. I
real
couldn't
quick
hear shit.
about
That's
the
why I tried to jump in.
Frank Martin. Tank Davis didn't try to put a rehydration clause on Frank Martin. That was the WBA. They had already signed the contract. The WBA tried to put a rehydration clause in later, and they said no, we're not doing a rehydration clause. We already signed the contract.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't
That
Tank
that that
Davis.
time was overturned. Yeah. But you see, Tank only. You see, people try to paint this picture that that Tank is this dude that puts rehydration clauses on everybody, when that's not even true. I mean, the only one he put it on was Barrios or Garcia, and I think those were the. I think that was it. And if I'm not mistaken, there's probably one more. But I
well,
mean, those
I didn't
dudes.
say he be putting rehydration clauses on everybody. I said he be putting rehydration clauses on people in general, and I
No, but
named those examples.
the thing is, there's a lot of people that get rehydration clause on And like I told y'all before when we was talking about this, there's a lot of people that get rehydration clauses. They just don't talk about it because they signed a contract. And Mario Barrio backed up what I said. He said, I had a rehydration clause. Y'all didn't know about it because I didn't cry about it. I signed the paperwork. So a lot of people get rehydration clause. You just don't know about it because they don't talk about it. It's only the ones that want to have an excuse when they lose. They talk about the rehydration clause. Those are the only ones that you know about.
Facts. But not only
Fact.
that, what weight is Mario Barrios fighting at right now?
147 pounds.
Exactly. And is he a champion at 47?
Yes, sir.
Could you see Barrios going up to 54?
And doing what exactly?
Becoming another champion? Possibly.
No, no. I see him getting
So
beat dead.
so you don't but you see so you do you think it was wrong for Tank to put a rehydration clause on somebody who's 147 possibly comes into the ring at 160, at
I mean, I
155?
think I think if you don't want to fight a 140 pounder, stay at your weight class.
Well, I mean, he
I
moved
Simple.
think
up.
it don't matter about the rehydration clause. As long as a person is fighting in the weight class that they supposed to be in, I think it really doesn't matter about the rehydration clause. Me personally,
And it
I
doesn't,
Yeah,
but you
yeah,
know
y'all
what?
acting like Tank. Y'all acting like Tank is the creator of the rehydration clause or something. Like,
Yeah, he
Nah,
not.
but
He
when he
like
not.
that.
used
That
it, I can
whoever signed the
criticize him.
contract, whoever signed the contract agreed to whatever terms was in that contract. Plain and simple. So they
right.
saw a chance of them winning, and when it went south, then you know what I'm saying it shouldn't be no excuses. But it just so happens that the rehydration clause, Tank seems to only get or to be the main one to get all the credit for that clause, like he's the creator of it, and that's not the case. So you
Yeah,
know.
Exactly,
I mean
and it's
they've been doing
Well,
crazy.
that for
who?
years. That rehydration clause been out for years. Oscar De La Hoya used to put people on
Exactly.
rehydration clause. They're going. Canelo Alvarez put people on rehydration clauses.
And Floyd was
That's been
criticized for
happening for
that, was he not?
who?
Was Floyd not criticized for putting a rehydration clause on Canelo?
No, they was criticizing Floyd for the catch weight when Floyd said I wanted to
Oh,
fight him at
that too. Yeah, I'm talking about weight clauses in general. Catch weight. Well, if that's something that y'all mutually agree to,
No,
it,
well,
it,
I wasn't talking about the Floyd fight in particular. I said Canelo has been known for putting people on rehydration clause. I wasn't talking about the Floyd fight in particular, but since you brought it up, Floyd was the one that said I wanted to fight at 154. Canelo said he wanted to fight at 152. So,
I feel like we criticize the hell out of Canelo too for what he did to Kovalev, what he did to Danny Jacobs.
I mean,
Probably a
like I
couple
said,
other guys we could
What,
name.
what,
there's
what
a
he
lot of
did?
people that do rehydration clauses. It's been going on since the beginning of time. People been doing rehydration clauses all the time. That that's the reason why they had same day weigh in. You didn't have to worry about rehydration clause. You had same day weigh in. So whatever you weighed in at the fight, that was your fight night. But now they moved to the daggone you get weighed in the day before. That's when the rehydration clauses came into effect. When they started doing the day before weigh-in, that's when rehydration clause because guys was blowing up to bigger weights, and they said, "Oh nah, I'm fighting you at 140 pounds, and you coming in at 160. Nah, we're gonna do a rehydration clause." So
Hmm.
that's when the rehydration clause came in effect because guys was blowing up. That's the exact reason why the IBF still has a rehydration clause. You fight for an IBF title, you have a rehydration clause no matter what.
And
So
coincidentally, I don't think Devin's ever fought for the IBF, has he?
Nah, he
Yeah,
hasn't,
he
because
Or
we
is.
all know
only when
we
he
all know
Salute,
Devin
unified.
a
Victory.
Undefeated
well.
champion.
Only when he
Salute,
unified the
Victory.
titles was good.
yeah, only
Everybody
when
salute
yeah
Jack Queen.
when there's multiple titles on the line, then you don't have to worry about the rehydration for the IBF because they can't force another champion to hold their rules. They can only go by their rules in their sanctioning body. So if it's only the IBF title on the line, there's a 10 pound rehydration clause, but it only has to be just for the IBF. If there's any other titles on the line, then that rule goes out the window.
Yeah, I agree that I think there should be rehydration clauses in boxing for catch weight fights. And then the IBF they can do whatever they want to do, but I feel like For championship fights, when people make weight, if you make 135, you make 140, you make 147, a rehydration clause shouldn't be implemented because at the end of the day, we know that at all these weight classes, these guys is cutting weight, 25, 30 pounds at every weight class. Look at Benavidez, um, you know, look at Errol Spence. So at every weight class, these guys are cutting a lot of weight.
No, yeah. No,
I think I can agree with that, but I think the problem comes when we make such a big deal about rehydration clauses. I think that when the fighters, if things don't go their way in a fight and they kind of lean on that as to why the reason why they lost, I think that's what gets on my last nerve because you knew what it was when you signed the contract. More importantly, if you feel like this is such a strain on your body, then why don't you go campaign closer to your natural weight? Unless you're doing this for some sort of advantage. So I think that's where my irritation comes in.
I
Sense.
100%.
Perfect sense
The
to
only
me.
thing I would say with that is these guys, at the top level, they have to fight in the weight class where the best names are. So, like for instance, if they're gonna, because that's where the money is. So, and of course, another reason is because 9 times out of 10, they move up in weight is they're losing a competitive advantage as well. But I feel like Devin gets a bad rap because he had to stay at 135 for, he did stay at 135 uh, for up until like, 25, 26. Now we see what Boots, who's bigger than Devin, is kind of complaining about having to stay at 147 his whole career. So that's just what happens. These guys grow out of a weight class, but if the big money fights are still in that weight class, then they're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what Tank said. Tank said, well, he told Ryan, if you would have made 135, there wouldn't have been no rehydration clause. But because you couldn't lose one more pound, I'm gonna put a rehydration clause on you.
And not only that, they had to weigh in at 136. That's crazy. He
They,
was
they
one.
they had to weigh at 136 on the weigh-in, but on fight night they had to weigh at 146.
Which apparently is fine because it don't look like Ryan belonging at the 147 weight class anyways.
Well, I mean, according to Ryan's father and Ryan, they said they don't rehydrate more than 143 anyway. So he was like, it wasn't a problem, but he made it a big deal because there was a rehydration clause. But you're the
Yeah,
same
he
one that
did.
said that you don't rehydrate more than 143 anyway.
I
But not
mean,
not only that, he was
Tank
complaining about
And
it
also
shout
made
weighed
a
out to
in.
big
Emma
deal when he was
Queen.
de-
Shout out to Emma Queen. I want to read this, Marky Dan, before you start your bullshit.
No,
Additionally,
before I
it's
speak
important
my
to
facts, don't
highlight.
tell me I'm
Oh my
taking
God.
bullshit because I'm a black man. Go ahead.
Important to highlight both fighters have to adhere to. Yes, that's the thank you, Anthony. Both fighters have to adhere to this. A lot of people speaking as if only one has made the proposal. It doesn't have to. Both fighters have to be at the same weight. So saying Tank is slapping rehydration clauses on people, he's slapping it on himself too. Then
And I already know they were like, oh, well, they're not going to get the fight. Well, then you could come out and say, look, the reason why he's not fighting me is because he put a rehydration clause on me. And I said, no. Well, then we'll look at that other fighter like, oh, why are you putting a rehydration clause on him? We'll be looking at him like that. But uh, if you agree to the rehydration clause, you can't turn around and make an excuse. That's the reason why you lost. That's like saying, okay, I agreed to wear Everlast gloves, and then all of a sudden I lose the fight. Oh, I lost because I was wearing Everlast gloves. He made me wear Everlast gloves. But you agreed to wear them. What are you talking about? You agreed to wear them.
yeah, I mean,
Straight up. Straight up.
I completely understand. B3, you just got on the panel. What you think about last night, Caleb Plant's performance?
For Caleb Plant specifically was real underwhelming. I thought he started off good. He had good movement, but I was kind of shocked that he didn't keep his conditioning up. His defense has definitely been lacking. We've seen him get clipped against McCumbee. So, I was definitely expecting a better performance. Um, yeah, I mean, hopefully he can get a rematch or something. I mean, I don't know what the trick is, but
He said it was a rematch clause in the contract. He said it was a
okay.
rematch clause in the contract. But hold up, you said you was surprised that he didn't hold his conditioner. Have you been watching Caleb Plant?
I'm about to say Caleb Plant always gasses out,
that's
yo.
been
It's
the
like he
biggest
be
net
driving his
on
car.
Caleb Plant.
He
I
been
told you
Yeah,
driving
but
that,
his
again,
car
Quinn.
with a flat tire every time.
I
Yeah,
told you that.
yeah.
that's been his biggest downfall is his conditioning. Everybody, that's why everybody make fun of Caleb Plant and say, okay, Caleb Plant gonna do well the first 5 or 6 rounds. Let's see how he do in the second half because we know he gasses out. That's been his calling card. He gasses out the second half of the fight. That wasn't something surprising. What was surprising was you got beat up and you didn't have no footwork. You didn't have no head movement.
No
Like if
adjustments,
Caleb
nothing.
Plant could have threw a jab or a combination, step to the left, step to the right, made the dude reset, he would have won that fight easy because dude was just coming straight at Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant didn't give him no lateral movement whatsoever, no head movement, and none of that. I'm like, dog, what
No,
happened to your boxing
Yeah.
ability?
he
And
gave
that's
he
and that's
gave
kind
lateral
of
movement, but he cut the ring off on him. Caleb
yes.
Plant was doing okay, like you said in the beginning. But I think that once that Resendez figured out what he was doing, like sticking that jab out, you saw he kept flinging it away, flinging it, get that shit out of here, get that shit out of here. And he was tearing Caleb Plant's body up. I thought that Plant would have went to the body because Resendez has like almost like a too high guard where that body is always open. He could have capitalized on that, and I just don't feel like he seized a lot of opportunities that he had. I mean, he picked his spots, I
100%.
guess, where he was trying to gain some type of gas back. He picked his spots where he kind of turned it up, but overall, Resendez was like on his ass. Like
Yeah,
he was
Yeah,
coming
he
forward.
was.
He was coming forward. He was tagging him. It just seemed like Caleb
no,
Plant's face
And
was
so
a magnet
let
to
me
that
say
right
that let me
hand.
say this. I did with Cindy. So when I was looking at the fight, I didn't think Mercedes was on that level. I didn't think he was going to be able to fight to that level. So shout out to Rescindy's. I did pick that fight not to go the distance. So shout out to Rescindy's. I mean, he proved me wrong. I figured Caleb and then y'all got to think like Caleb. He really gassed out against Canelo. Benavidez. He fatigued late. He clipped the rail late in the fight with their fight. So I mean, so he's had some good performances late. I would just say the top tier guys exposed him late. I just wasn't expecting Rescindies
uh,
to be able to do it. But
I,
shout out to him.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
something to go look at. Go watch the fight that Caleb Plant had right before he fought Canelo. That man gassed out the entire back half of that fight. He was winning that fight easily the first half. The second half of that fight, he gassed out the entire. That's what made me realize that Caleb Plant had a gas tank problem because the dude that he was in the ring with was nowhere near Caleb Plant level. Like this dude, we thought Caleb Plant was gonna knock him out. Caleb Plant gassed out that second half of the fight. Go look at that fight. The fight, I forgot who the guy's
Yeah, but
name
free.
is,
That's
but
so
it was
many years. That you don't even know the name of the dude. That fight is so many years ago. Like
but that tells you
we
I
about the
literally
mean,
dude.
seen.
The
I
dude
think he's
wasn't
losing. I think he's having quality losses to kind of to top
no,
competitors. You know what I'm saying? I mean, last
but
night was a bit of an
Right,
upset, but I
right.
think it was a
Last night,
quality
man, last
point
loss.
that
night
I'm
was a
making,
This loss,
letdown.
I mean,
the point that I'm
like
making
maybe
is
so, but I think that. Good, my fault. Go
the
ahead,
dude
brother.
wasn't a top. No, I was saying the point that I was making was the dude wasn't a top level opponent. He said he only seen him really gas out against top level opponents. This dude wasn't a top level opponent. He gassed out in that fight.
Not in sense of
Like I
gas
said, I
out, but
forgot
I'm
what it.
saying in sense of being
I mean,
exposed, like
is
getting
dude
beat.
past his prime though? Like, oh boy, ain't past his prime. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that we just put too much pressure on certain motherfuckers because we expect them never lose. Like, I think everybody has this fanaticism, somewhat of a fanaticism with this and that people can't be looked past, or people ain't qualified to to lose anymore. Like, I don't think Caleb Plant took a horrible loss. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it was that bad. I seen people's wins. Devin's win looked worse than some of these losses that we talking about. Ryan losing looked better than Devin winning last time, but it seems like all the pressure is on Ryan losing.
Oh,
Like, yeah, word.
that's
Like,
crazy right there.
I'm not.
You
Yeah,
said
no, it wasn't a
Ryan?
bad. It wasn't a bad loss. The only reason why people said it was a bad loss because we knew what the fight was that was after that. That's why we said it was a bad loss because you were supposed to be fighting Jamal Charlo after that. Now Jamal Charlo said, I still want that fight. I don't care that he lost. I still want my get back. So
Yeah, that boy
Charlo
slapped
still
him.
won.
I'm saying you
Charlo don't
better
want
like
that fight no
you
more.
better look. That man
Charlo
slapped
gonna
the
go
fuck.
in
I
and
don't
try
give
to
a
get
fuck what he
Canelo.
did. I don't care what happened to anybody else. That Charlo got to fight that man. That man open hand slapped him. That's aside from everything else. He got to fight him in or out the ring. I don't give
Yeah,
a
he
fuck
said he still
where it
wants it.
Listen,
He
happened at.
said, I don't want to fight no Resende. I want to fight Caleb Plant. I don't care he lost. I still got to get my get back.
I'm saying
you know
slap the shit
what?
out.
I'm telling you right now,
That's
Charlo
his
ain't
money
gonna
fight.
fight Plant, regardless whether he wants to get that lick back. He was up there with him and he was shaking his hand. That to me don't sound like he want to get his lick back.
No, he said it at the post conference. He said it at
Yeah,
the
he
post
could
conference.
say
Ain't no way to
all
live with
that,
no
but I
slack,
mean,
man.
do
You a
do
champion
you
about
He was
nah?
shaking.
But do
He
do
was
you
shaking
really
his
think
head
he's
because
gonna
he wasn't expecting Caleb Plant to lose.
do you really think he's gonna pass up an opportunity if it's presented to fight Canelo? Did you not hear the
No,
interviews he was
no,
saying when
no, no,
his?
no. You talking about the cash cow? Nobody's gonna pass up an opportunity to fight
Of course
Canelo.
not, because you know what? In an interview with I forgot who was interviewing him. They asked him. They said, "Where's your little brother?" He said, "Oh, he chilling with the family. You know that Canelo money, life changing." And how long ago was that fight?
Yeah,
That was a
but
long time ago.
no, I'm talking about the Resende fight. They were talking about a lot of people talking about, oh, he's gonna fight Resende next, and he's like, nah, I don't want to fight him. I want to fight Caleb
Well,
Plant. I don't care he lost.
I'll tell you this. I think Caleb Plant needs to work his way back up, and I think the Resendiz fight would be good for Charlo to keep up that activity. And after that,
Nah,
he gets
bro.
Canelo, and if the Caleb Plant fight is still there, I say it gets presented. Because the way
Nah,
I
I,
see it is,
Cindy's is gonna
I
beat
don't.
Charlo up. Charlo,
Nah,
nah,
hell no,
they looking
hell
at
no.
no,
that's
you
not
got
a
you
good
got see
idea. Charlo,
this is
because
what you got
Charlo will
this
be
is
on the
what you got to
back
look
foot.
at. This is what you got to look
That's a
at.
dog fight. You got to think
This,
about financially.
yeah,
Financially, Charlo needs a common opponent with Canelo. If fighting Resendez doesn't get him closer to the Canelo fight, so he's
yeah.
gonna have to beat
That's what I'm about to
Berlanga,
say.
Munguia, or Plant in order to
Listen,
get that
none
Canelo
of
fight.
that, nothing gets you
Like
close to a Canelo fight unless Canelo wants your ass close to him. We've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
Canelo pick fighters out of thin goddamn air. So that's a toss up completely. I understand chasing that bag because his brother got a big bag off of it, but I see that fight as so far not happening. He barely want to fight goddamn Crawford. You think he want to take on two black niggas in a row?
Yeah,
Absolutely
they're
not.
gonna fight.
You know
nah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Canelo only gonna
I don't
Both,
know
fight
if
both
you.
he
of
I
these
don't
Canelo
know if he
guys
only
want
are
to.
gonna
gonna
fight
fight
you.
away.
Canelo only
He
gonna
not,
fight you if you don't look dangerous. No, plain and
yeah,
Yeah,
simple. If he
I
see
don't
you
think.
if you're not
I
no
don't
threat,
think Charlo is dangerous for Canelo right now.
Yeah, he is.
Not right now.
he's
Maybe not
taller
right
than
now.
him.
But in another two fights, I said it. I said he got a little more ring rust. I need him to shake off. But if you give him like another two fights, he stays active. You
Oh,
crazy as hell.
he's gonna
Charlo
be
about to
good.
tear some shit up.
Oh,
Yeah,
facts.
Charlo
no,
is gonna tear
You
I
some
see,
don't.
shit
And see,
up.
that's what I was saying about the Resende fight. It's not the fact of does that fight get him a closer step to Canelo because Resende doesn't do anything for him. I mean, yeah, he has the WBA interim title, but that don't really do anything for him. What does something for him is the fact that a Caleb Plant is a bigger money fight. Charlo has been out of the ring for almost 2 years. That's a bigger money fight. So, and it's a bigger name. Caleb Plant is a bigger name than Resende, and it's a bigger money fight. He's going after the bigger name, the bigger money fight. And then if he wants to go after Canelo, we'll see how he looks, whether we believe he can win or not. But then he gonna try to go after Canelo. But he's looking
but you
at
see,
what financially is going to help me and what's going to help my resume. Resende doesn't help his resume or financially. Now he gets some money off of it, but it's nowhere near the level of money he would have got if he fought Caleb Plant.
no man. I think that fight took too long to make.
Even
I
after
would
this
have.
loss, though. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Isaiah. Go ahead.
No, you good. You good.
Even after the loss, though, D Free, you still think? I mean, it's still a name,
Caleb
but
Plant,
even
Caleb,
after,
Caleb Plant is still. Resende has 2 losses on his resume.
so
It's not
the
like
hell do Plant now
no, but
three?
what I'm saying is Caleb Plant is a bigger name. People want to see the Caleb Plant Jamal
Oh yeah,
Charlo fight because of
true.
the slap. So
Because of the slap.
they
Yeah.
want to see that fight. They don't care about Resende. They're like, okay, I mean, Resende, yeah, he beat
See, and that was
Caleb
y'all
Plant,
problem
but
last
he ain't
night.
nobody
And you
like
see,
that.
and
Ain't nobody
people,
That
and
was
touching
that's the
y'all
him.
same
problem
thing with
last
the
night. That's what got his ass whooped last night. People ain't care nothing about him.
a hundred
But you see,
percent. And
people would. I'll be honest. Me as a Caleb fan, and I get it. He slapped the shit out of Jamal, and I do want to see him get that lick back, but I feel like it's long overdue. They should have, instead of having them fight these two guys, they should have just jumped right back in the return of Charlo against Plant, and that's what it should have been. And
They
I
weren't
feel
gonna
like
do
it
that.
took too
Well,
long,
That's a
Jamal been
fact.
and
well,
They
that's
weren't gonna do
Prince,
that for
That's what should have
Prince
happened.
said Prince said
they weren't
Charlo
gonna do
wanted
that
a,
because
They
a,
said
a
the same
tune-up
thing with
first, so
Devin
he
and
wants
Ryan.
one.
They said
they
the
weren't
He
same
gonna.
thing.
said,
No, what I'm saying is they're not gonna do that because Charlo's been out of the ring for almost 2 years. They want to make sure that it's going to be an entertaining fight. They
Yeah.
don't want it to be a boring fight. Because they hear all of the backlash that Rehab season got on May 2nd. They're not trying to have that.
I'm
They're
keeping
like,
I'm
oh,
keeping the energy.
But
I'm gonna keep
that's up
that.
to the
Y'all
fighter,
gotta people
man.
gotta keep
That's
that
up to the
same
fighter.
energy. Everybody that don't want Ryan because Ryan looked like trash and he lost and they don't want to see Devin versus Ryan rematch now. They need to
And
keep
that's
that same. People
bullshit.
got to keep that
Then
same
that's
energy
pure
I
for
don't know
bullshit.
who
Caleb.
said they didn't want to see Devin versus
Jamal
Ryan.
Jamal need to fight the Shiraz Berlanga winner.
Man,
That's and
Belinga, well, we know it ain't going to be
you know what I'm
Belinga.
saying?
Belinga, hot
Caleb,
garbage.
we got to keep it real. Caleb is not he's regressing. I mean, he's old. He's getting up there in age. Like he's not looking
I
like the
Dog,
mean
top tier.
They ain't got
So
nothing to
Charlo's
do
that
with
ain't
it,
gonna
man.
that
35
ain't
He
gonna
years
just
tell
old
he
him.
though.
he's younger
probably
He
than
he
just
probably
giving
just
he just being biased at that
gatekeeper
point.
talent. He
he's
probably
younger
just
than
gatekeeper
Charlo.
level. Yeah, that's the thing.
Caleb
He
Plant,
I
probably
mean,
just
Caleb Plant
gatekeeper
is
we
level.
just
Caleb
we
Plant
Everybody
looking
is
ain't
at his
top
"Oh, we
tier.
doing that
performances.
already? We
We
doing that
looking at
already?
we looking at his
We gonna get him
performances and then
fresh?"
compare and then thinking about putting him in there with Charlo. I don't want to
But
see
you're
I don't want to see
okay.
Charlo and Caleb right now. Caleb just
no.
But
lost.
Okay.
I don't care
but
to
you're
see
not
it neither. But
stating
that man slapped
Charlo
him.
is
Like
35 years old. So what
Man.
do you mean?
So you're gonna pay
No.
pay-per-view dollars because of something that happened a couple
Who
years
said it
ago
was
when
going
you
to be on
just
pay
seen
per view?
no,
Rescindies.
I ain't say I was
What?
gonna pay a goddamn thing. I wouldn't buy it
Right,
with your
exactly.
money.
Who,
I'm just
Exactly.
who
saying
said
that
it?
that man.
Who said it
I'm
was
just
going to
saying
be on
that
pay per
man
view?
slapped him, and he need to see him. Plain and simple. Like it don't matter. He should have seen him that day personally. But since time has lapsed, it should be mandatory. I don't give a fuck if he sit out for 5 years. Before you
I
leave
just
this ring, that man slapped you in the face. You are undefeated. You are undefeated championship boxer. You got to see that man.
yeah.
Ain't I don't
I'm
give a
trying to
fuck
figure
what the
out
fans want to see.
who said it was going to be on pay per view. They just fought on a free card last night. Who said it was going to be pay per view?
I
You
mean,
just
come on,
assumed
man.
that it was going to be pay per view.
Man, you act like you ain't been watching PB. You don't know the PBC brand, the PBC model, bro.
Dog,
Come on,
they
man.
just fought on a free
What
card
is
last
this? What
night.
is the? Because those was interim bouts. That's. I
They
mean,
just fought on a free
they
card
not
last
the
night.
interim bouts are really never pay per view. Those was interim bouts.
Dog,
PBC
it,
champions, Premier Boxing champions.
you said, dog, they just fought on a free card last night.
Correct in interim bouts
It would
against
be an interim
Rescindies and
bout if Caleb
Lamana.
Plant
That's
would have
not a pay
won.
per view. That's not a pay
Dog,
per view matchup.
hold up. If Caleb Plant would have won, it would have been an interim bout. What are you talking about? They
Yes,
didn't have
against
no title.
Rescindies, not against Charlo.
They didn't have a title. It would have been an interim bout anyway. You act like this is the
Was
first two
hold on,
top
let me
name
was
fighters that we seen
Benavidez
on
and Caleb Plant a pay per view?
with Benavidez and Caleb
If
Plant a
I'm
pay
not
per view.
mistaken,
Yeah, that was on Showtime.
I,
That was a pay per view, man.
that
Tighten
was
up.
pay
On
per view. If
Showtime.
I'm not mistaken.
That's pay. It was on pay per view, man.
Yeah, on
Listen, man,
Showtime. Yeah,
you
it
you
was
gotta
on
pay
Showtime.
pay per view.
Yes, on Showtime. Yes, it was.
Pay per view. You had to pay for it.
Yes, on Showtime. Yes,
When
it
they
was.
put two names together, I'm repeating. When they put two names together, it's going to be on pay per view.
So
It's just that simple.
so who was it that Benavidez fought that was on free TV? Oh, I'm trying to think who was. Oh no, it wasn't Benavidez. It was daggone it was Tim Zoo. Tim Zoo just fought on free TV.
Tim Zoo is not a big name. Free? What are you talking about? Who is
Sebastian
he
Fedora, Tim
fighting?
Zoo.
Who first box
Sebastian
room?
Fedora,
Versus
Sebastian Fedora,
and
Tim
that
Zoo.
was a pay per view. That was the first PBC Prime pay per view. Tim Zoo versus Vondora. Two names, if you want to call Zoo a name. All his other fights was against no names or dudes that didn't establish a name. Come on, man.
No, my whole point is you're the only one that said that they don't want to see Caleb Plant.
Yeah, I
If you
don't.
don't want to
Not
see it,
against Charlo.
if you don't want to see it, then don't watch it. But we all, or everybody else
Oh,
gonna
I'm gonna
see it.
watch boxing.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
saying.
be
I'm just
interested.
giving my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm just giving my opinion beforehand.
Hold
I'm gonna watch
on,
boxing
B3. Why don't you want to see it? Is that because he just
because
lost?
yeah, and he looked
The-
bad. Yes, his
So,
he
and
fade his he faded and he
hold
looked.
up.
Not that he just
You
lost.
can't.
She asked
hold
me,
Let
on,
me answer.
free.
B3. Hold
Let
Calm
me
on,
answer
down.
my
B3.
question. Let me answer the question.
What she
I want
asked
to see it.
me,
You said why
Jab
do you
Queen
want?
asked
I thought
me.
you said why do you want to see it? I thought you
Why
said
do
why
I
do you
not
want?
want to see Caleb Plant?
So you don't want to see. You don't want to see
I
Ryan
don't want to
versus
see
Devin.
Caleb Plant versus
That's what I
Charlo
was
next.
asked.
Absolutely
And
not.
I'm asking you don't
I
want to see
never
Ryan
want to
versus
see
Devin.
Ryan Garcia. No, ever. I didn't
So
want to
you
see him
don't.
before they
damn.
fought. I don't want to see him now. No.
Well then,
Well, I guess
Is
you
there a
won't be watching
specific
boxing for a
reason,
while.
or is because I'm just
I
trying
don't.
to?
I like skilled boxing, and I think Ryan Garcia is a drug cheat. I don't want to watch him
cut it
box.
out. A drug cheat though.
A drug cheat. Yes, I think he. I think he's a
Ostarine,
drug cheat.
Ostarine, but but nobody that's working on nobody on the
Hey, I'm
snack side
talking
is
about. Well. I'm just
nobody on the
saying.
snack
But
side doing that though.
when you
Why
an
you
advocate
bringing
for the
up other people? We talking about
Nope.
Ryan
but hold
Garcia,
on, when you an
a dude
advocate
that pop
for
positive.
the Tyson Fury Usyk fight, he a drug cheat.
What are you talking about?
I said, wasn't you an advocate for the Tyson Usyk fight?
Why are you bringing up heavyweights? Me and this brother is talking about Ryan and Devin
Because
and
he's
and
a
and
drug
and, and
cheat.
real who
He's a drug cheat. You wanted to
Fury?
see that, but he's a drug cheat. He's been caught multiple times cheating, but you wanted to see that.
I mean, we already know what's going on with snack. You know what I'm saying? But please proceed. Like, yeah, I like to hear this Ryan take
Dude, that's
about it.
the heavyweight undisputed matchup. What are you talking about? That's not even you comparing that
No,
to a
you
dude
said you
that
didn't want
never
to see
even
it
been a
because he's a drug
champion.
cheat.
Well, hold on, because that has nothing to do with a drug cheat. Is a drug cheat, whether he's a champion or not. Though B3, how
What this is
you
what
can't
I'm
say just
saying.
because.
I went after this. Well, I didn't. My apologies. I didn't explain myself correctly. My apologies. After I seen this little dude quit against Tank, I stopped wanting to see him after that. I didn't change up my energy. So because he came back and he stopped Duarte, with no testing, and then he come back and pop positive after beating Devin half to death. I didn't want to see him after he lost and got and quit, and I don't want to see him at damn sure after he just got beat up by Rolly and didn't even let his hands go.
But Rolly ain't a threat. You don't think Rolly a threat though? Because I see a lot of people ain't trying to give Rolly his credit. Like he's
They
not. Like he
not, and it's
can't crack.
annoying me.
Like why are people
Rolly
trying to act
Rolly
like
can get
Rolly can't?
Rolly
Rolly
can
just
get
did not.
adamant. But listen, Rolly,
Go ahead.
it was not about Rolly. We understand what Rolly is. He's a strong fighter. He's coming up under Mayweather. We understand that. What I'm
Down
saying
for
is
that.
Ryan is supposed to be this power punching, great fighter that everybody's built up for a year, and made songs about, and everybody was praising, and then he laid an egg. He almost looked like he took a dive. He almost looked like he was on the
Nah,
tape. The way he didn't let his hands
nah.
go, huh?
See that's crazy. That's crazy
Oh, I
because what
bet. I
happened?
bet. No. It's
I
always
mean,
conspiracies, though.
I know
We live
ain't
in
no
conspiracy in
conspiracy. It
boxing.
ain't no conspiracy
Uh,
whatsoever.
uh,
I think that he
uh,
took yet another. I think he took a decent, a better loss than Devin took. He ain't end up in no courtroom for Christ's sake, and he
but
did not
Devin
go
got
down five
cheated, my
times,
brother.
and he ain't go
Devin
down
got
five
cheated.
times, and he
Ryan
ain't
just
got
got his
it.
ass
I got
kicked,
cheated by that
and he
friendly
looked
ass
like
amount of Ostarine. That
my
friendly ass
nigga.
amount
He
of
purposely
Ostarine.
blew the
That
weight as well. The whole
no,
shit
Okay,
was a
no,
scam.
so here's the thing.
They B-sided
those
Devin.
3 pounds.
Well, listen, that
So
was
Bro, they
on
B-sided
them.
the hell out of Devin. You can't see
That was
that?
on them, though. That was on the Haney's to take. And you know what? I think that a lot of the
Devin
reason
Oh,
that
but if
himself,
Tank
man.
people
if Tank would have if
celebrate,
Tank would have purposely blew the weight
hold on, because Tank.
and pop and whip somebody's ass, the people would not say that about Tank. People would call Tank a criminal. And
They call him that anyway.
they would be
They
right
call
off.
him that anyway.
They would be
Nah,
well all right to say he didn't cheated that boy if it was Tank. But because it's Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, people getting a little weird.
I'm about to tell you
nah,
why.
nah.
Because the majority of people, hold on, Sin. The majority of
Good.
people don't like Bill. Let's call it what it is, okay? And more importantly, I think that a lot of people are negating the fact that those boys fought 6 times. Ryan whooped his ass 3 times in the amateurs already. So it's not too far fetched to say that that minute amount of Ostarine, yes, he popped, whatever, right? But that little bit of Ostarine had no effect when he already whooped his ass 3 goddamn times as little kids, unless you want to tell me he was juicing at 15 and 16 years old too.
And to
I'm
piggyback off of
gonna
that,
just tell you
the
about
piggyback off,
present
hold on, the
day. We gotta
piggyback
talk.
off
We
of
talking
that,
about present day though.
I know,
Present
but
day
you know
is
how
let me
you
present
gotta
piggyback
day
off of that
respect
is
Free.
present day
because
is Devin
hold
Haney
on,
is an undisputed champion. Ryan
hilarious.
Garcia did not
Be
want to
Free, you
fight
gotta
him at
stop
130.
that.
Hold on. Ryan Garcia did not want to fight him at 135. Has audio saying that Devin Haney is going to be his toughest fight, delays the fight, plays around, goes into the fight, purposely doesn't miss weight, and pops hot for PEDs. But for some reason, nobody's concerned about this situation.
Yeah,
Everybody looking at this like, oh,
let's put this in
he didn't
perspective.
look for an advantage.
Let's put
Like,
this in perspective. Let's put this
how
in
is that not
perspective.
looking for an advantage?
Let's
Hold on,
put this
Iron.
in
Let him finish.
perspective. Let me.
Are you finished, Be
So,
Free? Hold on, let him finish.
all
Let him finish,
right,
Iron. Are you done, Be Free?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just asking a question. Like, how did he not look for an advantage in that fight?
Okay,
How can we
we're
not
gonna
say he
answer your
didn't
question.
surmise that?
We're gonna answer your question. Go ahead, Ironheart, and then I'll go, or then D Free can go. Don't
all right,
even.
yeah. So for one, the idea as if taking a PED for Devin Haney ain't laughable by itself, as if that's not laughable in its own right. Ostarine of
What
all
about for
things, I'm saying
Duarte?
there's
What
a
about for Duarte?
did he pop for that? Did he pop
Was it
for the
testing for that?
Duarte fight?
Was it testing for that? Did he make weight for that? Did he change the weight for that?
Was was he? I don't know, but
He
who was
changed the
about
weight
to
for that,
start?
and there was no
There,
testing for
Hold
that.
on, B three. Let him answer you before you continue to go. We
I'm
can't all
just
talk at the
saying,
same
man.
time.
Who is? I just want to know
we
who
know
I'm talking
that
to,
there was a
man.
hidden hand involved inside that there was a hidden hand involved inside that whole testing ordeal. But for people to act like Ryan, pardon me, that Devin did not
Hidden
go
hand.
down
What
to
hidden
their
hand?
same left hook. Hold
What
on,
hidden
time out.
hand?
To act like people did
Explain
act
the
like
hidden
Devin did
hand,
not go
brother.
down. Devin went down.
Brother,
Devin
explain the
went
hidden
down to the
hand to
same left
me.
hook. Man,
What are you doing?
dog. Are you gonna fucking
Are
let
you
me
going to
talk or
explain
not,
the
yo?
hidden hand? How you going to say somebody had a hidden hand and not
No,
explain what you're
I
referencing?
just let you ramble on some
But you're
bullshit for
not
damn for 4 or
referencing
5 minutes.
anything, brother.
B
You're
three. Let
making up
him
terms
finish,
and
bruh.
nobody knows what you're
People
talking
can't
about.
follow the conversation if you
You
keep
know what Vada was
interrupting them.
started
Let
by.
him finish, and then you
No,
can
tell me the
go.
hidden hands. That's all I'm asking, Jack
Jesus
Quinn. Do you know what
Christ.
hidden hands are?
Let him explain
All
it,
right.
baby.
Please explain it to
So
me, please.
Victor Conti and Snack we gonna act like Victor Conti don't have a reputation for over there, and Devin ain't working with him, and he's not responsible. He don't have his hand involved in all that testing. That's not suspicious in its own right, is it not? Hello, is anybody there?
Yeah, we
What
can
is
hear
that?
you. We
What
can
does
hear you.
that have to do with Ryan popping positive? Please, can you tell me that? What does Victor have to do with that?
The investigative bodies
And not being
determined
able
that it
to
was
explain and not
determined
being able
that
to explain where the drugs came from.
once
Come
again,
on, man.
the professional investigative bodies determined that there was no that there was no advantage that could be gotten off of that
Stop
amount
it.
of ostarine.
Stop it.
Plain and simple.
Stop it. Now who
That's what the
said that?
pros say. You're being a
Who?
fan.
What
You're being a
pros? What
fan by
pros?
saying
Hold on. What
he got tested.
pros?
He got tested by professionals. He got tested.
Hold on. Was it the pros that banned Povetkin and stripped his resume for 10
The
years
same people
of
that deemed
fights?
him
Hold on,
dirty.
hold on. The people that stripped Povetkin's 10 years of fights for having Ostarine for testing positive, is it that same body? Or was it somebody that just randomly saying something because
I don't. Hey,
they might deify white, so they might want to do on some weird shit? I mean, what we doing here? You don't want to explain to me what hidden hands is. Y'all making a, it's like y'all want to do a conspiracy,
I already
but then the
said everything
conspiracy
about
is
it.
looking weird. It's like,
We know
what
who
did they do to
they.
Ryan's testing to make him have ostarine, or was it just a small amount that it didn't matter? It's like
Is
this.
that not what they? Is that not what they concluded? That's what the New York
They
State Athletic Commission
concluded that he
concluded.
needed a year suspension. He had $1 million fine. That's what they
They
concluded.
no,
He
they
had to sit his
concluded
ass
that it
down
was
for a
not
year.
that
That's
the
what happened.
amount of ostarine in his system gave no competitive advantage,
The
and it was a
amount of
and
ostarine
it
in
was
his
tampered
system,
supplements.
you don't know. You're just
And
basing that on a test.
oh
That
my
is at the
goodness, man,
time of the testing. You don't know
dog.
what his
Anybody in
cycle.
this
If this
sport,
hold on, listen.
all right,
Are you a
not, I'll
scientist?
let you talk.
Are
I'll
you
let
a
you talk enough,
scientist?
man.
Are you a
The
scientist?
point.
You're not letting me do anything.
this,
Jab Queen is letting me
you know,
do
say let's.
whatever I'm doing.
I would
You're not
wish
letting me
All
do
right,
one of
anything.
y'all would just
that's
talk
all.
one
That's
at
all
a
cute.
time, bruh. One at a
That's all
time.
cute.
Listen, at the end of the day, that hidden hands bullshit is some whitewash crazy, maybe some tank maniac type talk. I don't know where that shit came from.
That you said that's whitewash.
Tank was saying that he thought Ryan was a drug cheat before they fought, and now all the Tank fans is looking crazy, acting like he didn't say that, and Ryan wasn't suspicious. Stopping Luke Campbell with a body shot into his career. All type of crazy stuff he was doing, knocking Duarte body one way, going to the other way. But now we seen Duarte walking through shit. So I mean, that open your eyes. When he had 6 months of testing versus Tank, he quit. He looked frail and he quit. When he got on the turkey playing with Rolly, he lost. He couldn't even let his hands go. He
A
looked
loss is
So
trash.
cool.
you don't think
Ryan
that
never had a jab. Ryan never had a jab. You know what I'm saying?
He
So
didn't throw
if
his hook. He
he was
went
over,
in a shell.
no, he ain't throw the hook because he got caught. He
He
got caught
went in a
trying to throw the
shell.
hook. He got
When
exactly.
Devin caught him with a
If
hook,
you
what
don't
did he?
have a jab, you ain't got nothing. If you ain't got no jab, you could still have whatever the fuck magical punch you want. But once you get caught, once that hook gets countered, that uppercut get countered, and you don't have no jab, you don't have no way of communicating or even starting an introduction to a punch. Plain and simple. So that he went in his shell, like you said, but that wasn't a horrible loss. We've seen worse losses. Devin lost 5 times worse than Ryan lost to Rolly that night. Is that not the case? Devin got hit with the same left hook that was non-existent when he fought Tank. That left hook was nowhere to be found. No success. Whose fault is that? That's all credit to Osterine? Anybody home?
Brother, I just explained
All
it
right,
to you.
man.
Brother,
Osterine did all of that.
I
Osterine,
just
that
explained
little
it
ass
to you,
Osterine did all
and
of
it
that
went
today.
over your head. The brother had
Hang on,
6 months of testing for Tank, and he quit. The brother purposely missed weight and popped hot for whatever in his system, and he was able to beat Devin on a split decision or whatever, majority decision.
Fight could have got
I'm
stopped.
telling you my opinion. I
It
think
could have
he's a
got
drug
stopped.
cheat. I came on and told you that.
All right,
So if you don't think he's a drug cheat, that's on you.
I
so
think that.
okay, I have a
Go ahead.
question,
I'm
right?
good. I'm
So
good on that.
we watched the fight over and over, and I hear some of Devin's fans saying, Devin was beating them rounds 2 through 6. The only rounds Ryan won was when he caught him with the right, by the way, because he didn't left hook him. He got caught with the right a couple times. So I'm just confused. Which one is it? Is Osterine the reason that Ryan won the fights, but only looked good when
Yes.
he caught Devin, or did it have no effect at all? Because it really can't be both, guys. So we have to pick an argument, argue it, and just take it from there. I mean, pick a side and stay there.
Jab Queen. I scrapped the entire fight. I don't hold it against Devin, and I hold it against Ryan more than anything, because ultimately, he popped positive. He popped positive for PEDs. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
All right,
It's no way
could I ask
around
one
it.
question?
And then
Could I
he
ask a question?
purposely missed the weight
Could I ask one
when Devin
question?
made it 3.5 extra pounds. So now talk to the experts, my brother, because you didn't tell me your name. Talk to the experts and ask them how much is 3 extra pounds worth.
Let me ask one
Well,
question.
well, if they took a payment for it, then technically they cheated themselves
We're talking about the fight.
because they didn't have to
Specifically,
accept him coming in overweight. They renegotiated the
they
contract
was the
and
B
accepted
side,
the
miss.
3 pounds.
They
So
was the
that
B
means they
side.
cheated themselves.
So what do you expect them to do? Not get paid for the whole training camp? Not be a champion? Not be professional? Or duck
They
out
didn't
the
But
have to
fight and
but
fight?
accept
but
it
we're
though.
acting like just because you come in overweight that the opponent can't still win the fight. There's plenty of examples of fighters coming in overweight and still getting their ass whooped.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
but
plenty
So
of
y'all
examples
wait,
of
already
fighters
told
on
me it
wait.
was
drugs getting their ass
3-3.
whooped.
Y'all already told me that it was 3-3. So my
That is
position
correct.
is that this brother needed that much to get over on Devin. That's what he did. That's why Floyd was laughing. So what I'm telling you is
So,
they cheated him.
B
That's
So
all
three.
I'm
when Victor,
saying.
hold on,
B3.
when Victor Conti says that he doesn't care if somebody snuck in Ryan's hotel and put it in his toothpaste, that the burden of proof is on him to prove that. When Victor Conti of all people says some shit like that, that's not funny on their part. When Devin's little brother says that Allah told him that he was going to pop dirty, how Allah told him that? You really believe that shit? You believe that? Every time I ask you a question, you go silent. Like I'm really asking you, like,
You on mute? We can't hear you.
I'm being put on mute. But listen, all your questions I'm answering, brother.
oh,
I know I
I
don't
didn't
look.
hear
You don't,
nothing.
but you don't believe in my conspiracies that Ryan is a drug cheat. So I'm not trying to go into your
I want to
fallacies
know how
about
you
what a
felt
young
about that
boy.
question. I want
I
to
don't.
just.
I'm not answering no questions about no young boy.
Oh, that's what
Next
young
question.
boy? What are you talking about,
Y'all
cuz?
talking about what a little boy said about uh a Muslim, like God revealing to
What
him
about what
that
Victor
Ryan
Conti
is a
said?
drug
The real
cheat.
drug professional.
What
The
what y'all
real drug
really need to be
professional.
what you really need to think about is the fact that he never seen nobody put hands on his brother like that in his whole life. So now he's like concerned that, oh damn, what
Do
the
you
hell was
think
that?
that? Do you think that that's
Hello?
because his brother fights smaller fighters? I'm just asking.
Right.
I mean, you may think they're smaller, but I think, but
Okay.
Jorge Lamar Narez got like a 35, like a 85% knockout ratio or something like that.
I
So I
mean,
mean, I'm
smaller in
saying like,
stature, and we've heard Devin say to fighters, "You're too small." I've heard him say that several times. So
yeah,
that's why I'm asking: do you
Hey,
think that that has anything to do with it? The fact that once he fought somebody his age and his height and his weight, things didn't go the way that
that
he thought they were going to go.
right.
somebody that knows him,
Exactly.
yes, absolutely. That 100% could be a factor into of Ryan's success. Probably having the height on Devin and the reach. Um, Yeah, 100%. That's fine. But we're not going to take into account that he didn't make that weight purposely and then he popped positive. So we don't know. We don't know if he's cycling. We don't know if he with the Reynoso team. So now we're gonna act like it's Reynoso team. We know they Reynoso team when we talking about Valdez and Neri and Canelo. But when
He
it
was
come
with
to
Derrick
Ryan,
James for that fight. What
when
the
it
hell
come
you
to
talking
Ryan,
about?
because he whipped Devin ass and he gave everybody a leg to stand on because Devin was kicking everybody's ass, little or whatever.
Who?
Now we don't know Ryan is with Reynoso team.
Wait, can I
Devin
ask
was
you a
doing what?
question?
He
Let me ask you
was
a
with
question.
Reynoso team. He's no hold on to say he was with them. He's no longer with them now, and he was not with them when he tested dirty. So that's null and void. I understand what the
The
parallel
fuck?
you're trying to make, but he was not with his camp at the time that he popped dirty for Devin.
Yeah, yeah. Birds of a feather flock together. You guilty by association. We know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we all heard all these things,
Mm-hmm.
right, in our society. So he get the same treatment. I mean, I'm not holding his hand. He's in a combat sport, sport where people get their ass whooped. And he popped hot, and then he intentionally looked for an advantage by not making weight. Because obviously Floyd told him to do three
Come
pounds.
on, we have no proof of that, and don't do that, B3, because we
Well,
have absolutely no
well,
proof
we
of
got the
that.
picture.
And
We
what
got
you're
the picture,
doing
but
is,
somebody said, did he celebrate it? Did
yo,
you see him celebrate?
I've seen how you don't know what people
Did
think
you
those
see him
games.
celebrate it though, Jab Queen? That's all I'm asking.
But this is what
Maybe
I wanted to
maybe
ask
Devin
you.
just soft as fuck.
How many of
Hold
My
on.
Ryan
Go
fault.
ahead,
fights did he
Toussaint.
fight at
Go
one?
ahead, Toussaint.
How many of Ryan fights did he fight at 140? I'm not trying to defend Ryan. I'm just trying to make it a point. Like people keep trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm just this super victim when Devin could have put things in place to prevent Ryan from going overweight the same way Javante Tank Davis did, because it's well known that Ryan plays weight games. He didn't fight not one fight at 140. So it wasn't like he just came in overweight to cheat Devin. He didn't fight none of his fights at 140. He had to catch weight for all of them because he didn't make the weight.
But all I'm gonna say is we can't compare a Devin to Tank. Tank is in an
No,
A
I'm not
side. Hold on, let me just say this because you said he could do certain things, and I'm telling you he can't. Javante is in a catbird seat A side position on all fights with him, Floyd, Al Heyman. Devin is a B side. He accepted terms from Oscar De La
no,
Hoya.
I'm talking
I don't.
about
I think
something as
I'm
simple
so
as
I'm
the next
happy
day
that
weigh-in.
Oscar De La Hoya and
Hold
Golden
on,
Boy got
B3. Let
sued.
her finish. Let her
I'm
finish.
talking
Go
about
ahead.
something as simple as the next day weigh-in that he didn't agree to.
I just told you he's not. He why would he then? Why would he turn? Why? So now we gonna put that on Devin. So
I'm
Devin
not
has to
putting
put a
anything on
restriction on
anybody.
himself.
I'm just
Hold on,
making a
no,
point
because
that
these the only
they could
arguments, my
have
brother.
weighed in the next day to see where
For
everybody was at.
what? Why would Devin? Why would you want? Why would Devin have to put himself on a rehydration clause as a 140 champ that just made weight?
I didn't say anything about a rehydration clause.
What that is what they're weighing the next day. This what I'm saying. You what are you saying? And weigh for what then? What are you talking about?
So he could have
He
had an
got paid for
opportunity
not
to
making
make a
weight.
decision on if he still wanted to make the fight.
But you're telling me that you wanted a specific second day weight clause, correct?
He had the option. He
Who had
turned
the
it
as a
down.
B side? Well, who told you this?
That's what Oscar and them was saying in the interview. And people was wondering, like, well, why wouldn't he want to weigh in the next day? They
I'm
both
gonna
were
tell you
playing
why.
weight
If this is
games.
true, I'm gonna tell you why. Because as a champion that made 140 pounds, he does not want to put a rehydration clause on himself second day. Like everybody on the tank side would tell you, both guys have to adhere to it. So Devin will be putting himself on a rehydration clause so we're gonna penalize him again. No, these are the only two arguments. And
How are
McQueen
you
to
being
tell me that
penalized
Devin was
because
supposed to
you
pull out, and then y'all are telling me that pull out a fight and fight Barboza, and then y'all are telling me that Devin is supposed to put himself on a second day rehydration clause. That's
Okay,
crazy. That's crazy to do.
so B3,
No,
just read.
I don't
I
think.
just want to draw my attention to what Lee said. Still, no one can explain what kept Devin from being able to block a punch. Do we have an answer for that?
Both
We
things
have
is
a.
true.
I got an
Both.
answer. I got
Let
this
me
answer
step
for
in.
you, Miss. I got this answer for you. No, what defense do you have for a bionic man? Somebody that is
the one
somebody
that
that
Tank
perfect.
had,
Somebody,
bionic?
hold
the
on,
one
hold
that
Y'all
on.
Tank
gotta
had,
That's
stop.
a
Listen,
Y'all
different. Why
gotta
you keep
listen.
stop.
bringing up
Everybody
Tank? Hold
calm
on.
down.
Why do you
Everybody
keep bringing
calm
up
down.
Tank?
had movement
Bionic
Why do you keep
because
man.
that
bringing
left hook
up
wasn't
Tank?
there.
Both.
Okay, one
Because that,
person at a
Bruh,
time. One
bro,
person
listen. Go. Can I
at
finish
a
my
time.
point?
my
Let me
bad. Go
finish my
ahead.
point.
Go
Then
ahead.
you're bringing up Tank, right? Tank. He adhered to Tank as a B side. I'm gonna teach y'all something. He made the weight and did the rehydration as a B side, right? That's why he got his ass whooped and got stopped. He said, "Oh, I'll never let somebody do that to me again." Didn't he say that? So it's all plain as day, y'all.
I want to let Dank Father get in here. He hasn't said anything. Dank Father, then back to you, Sin. What's up, Dank? How you doing? Happy Sunday.
What's going on, Queen?
How are you?
Uh, I heard someone say Devin don't fight people his height.
I said that. His height, his weight, his size. Yes,
How,
I
how,
said
how
that.
tall was Alfredo Santiago and Antonio
We're
Moran?
talking about currently, baby. Stay with me.
Wait a minute, Queen. How tall was Antonio Moran and Alfredo Santiago? I heard that all he does is pick on fighters that's not his size. Those two fighters are 5'11". How did those fights turn out for Mr. Haney?
Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up. That you went in your Rolodex and found two fighters that may have been bigger than him. However, Dank Father, how many times out of Devin's own mouth have you heard him say you're too small?
That's fighters talk.
Is it?
Didn't Errol tell Light? Didn't
Did he
Errol
tell
tell?
that to
Well,
Ryan?
wait a minute. Didn't Errol tell Bud he was too light in the ass? How did that turn out for him?
Mm-hmm.
That's just shit talking. When you got a fighter in front of you, that's just talk. When niggas say I'm gonna beat your ass, this and that, that's just fighters talk.
Okay, so that's just fine. So, and that's fine. That
So
that
we gotta
very
clear
well
that
may
up.
be fighters. Okay, yes. So
And
now
and
it's
now
clear.
to this thing with Devin and
Mm.
Ryan. Both things
Okay.
can be true. Devin did not hold the phone. Everybody know I fuck with Devin.
Mm.
Everybody know I like Devin Haney.
I know my
But
panel
the
was
fact
oozing with
is,
Haney juice
he did
today. I'm
not
not sure
hold
how
the
this happened.
he did not hold the phone against Ryan. And we saw Rolly do that, and he neutralized Ryan. And
Exactly.
also in the cigar talk interview Devin had with Najee, he admitted it himself. He was cutting corners. So we have to take all of these things into account. But Ryan did let him off the hook by testing dirty. If he doesn't test dirty, we don't have these conversations, and some people don't have these excuses to put in with the Ostarine. Both things are true. Devin didn't hold the phone, was defensively irresponsible, and Ryan tested dirty. Both things can be true at the same time. That's
Well,
what I want to
Dank
say.
Father, I think Bella Butte has a question for y'all. Haney fans, please answer me how one blows up 30 pounds overnight in a natural way. I think that's a question that she would like
Well,
answered, if y'all don't
De-
mind. You and
Devin
B3, if
Haney's
y'all
not
don't
the only
mind.
fighter we've seen blow up
She
30
didn't ask you
pounds.
about nobody else. She asked you
No,
about
I'm just
Devin.
saying.
I would
I'm just
ask this
saying.
respectfully.
Haney's
I
not the
would say
only
this.
fighter we've seen do it.
Mm.
So this is a common thing that happens in boxing. So
That doesn't answer
if
her
you
question,
if you
baby.
make the
How?
if you make the I can't answer that because I haven't studied the body, so I really don't know. But I've seen other fighters go through this same thing. So it's common in boxing. As long as you make the weight, you make the weight.
And respectfully, the 30 pounds she's referencing, I believe, is more than likely when the Regis fight, Devin was clocked in at 165 pounds
No, I
the
think they're
next
referring
day.
to the Loma
And
fight.
so long, so when it, I don't know, they had a second day weigh in
I didn't
after
either.
the Loma. Oh, wow.
I didn't
Okay.
either. It
She
just
was
But that
referring to
30
the
pounds is
Regis
no
fight,
beast.
but the fact that y'all even brought up Loma is weird. So he's done it more than once. So thank you for making that point clear for me.
I
But
mean,
please
Jack Queen,
continue.
respectfully, more than
no.
likely. I
I
mean, if
seen.
he did it
I,
one
I,
fight,
I,
he's going to
I'm not
rehydrate.
confirming. I'm not confirming that he
But
weighed 30 pounds over against Loma. I've seen people
100%.
say that. That's why I said I think she's referring to the Loma fight. And it
Okay,
can't. It
facts.
can't be
Appreciate you.
30 pounds in the Regis fight because he weighed in at 140, and the reported weight was 165. And he came in and said he had things on him. He said he weighed in with his clothes and had things in his pocket. So I
Right.
don't know. All we could do is take these fighters
So,
at
so
face value.
that's 25. That's 25 pounds. What the hell did he have in his pocket?
And
Like I
they
said,
said Regis weighed in at 157. So when we say that's a 8 pound difference, if you think about it, uh Usyk and Wilder, they fight 30, 40, 50 pound differences. So it shouldn't be no big deal
Oh,
in boxing.
so
like I
he's
said,
so
The
Loma
we've
heavyweight
seen
doesn't have
division
an
ain't no weight
advantage.
class. That's a
we've
free for
seen a
all.
lot of fighters. How much y'all
But
think
nobody complains
Benavidez
though.
blows up to when he weighs in?
Now the weight not a big deal.
Who
Well,
said
that's
the
what
weight was
Canelo.
a
It was
big
a
deal?
big deal to Canelo because Canelo said all you bring
How
is,
are you a
this
weight bully
extra
when you
weight.
don't use your weight in the fight?
I can't say that they using it and they're using it to their advantage. I mean, I feel them like everybody in boxing is making a weight, but anytime you can rehydrate and get to your maximum strength, your maximum a bigger size than your opponent, you're gonna have an advantage. That's the argument. They
But
saying that
but
Dev
but
has
but
got an
draining
advantage
but
against all
draining
these guys. That's
draining
why he's
down is a
winning.
disadvantage as well because some people don't
True.
hydrate
Yeah.
properly. And I think that's what reached Devin in the Ryan fight. I don't think his rehydration was that great. And I think the weight cut to 140
Mm,
also played a detriment to him in that fight as well. All these things could be true. We
yeah.
just saw Ryan. We just heard Rolly say these things when he was saying he was drained against Pitbull and he was chinny and how strong he looks at 147. So we gotta
But we
take
also,
what
and
these
that and
fighters
But
that's
saying
nobody
put it
want to
into
that
account.
listen to
we
Rolly. They
also
just want to write him off.
hold on, we also heard Rolly say that was his own fault.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. People not
that's
gonna give you an excuse for making the
that's
weight
on
because that's
him
what saying
for
you
not
sign up
being
for.
disciplined in between fights. That's where these fighters have to hold themselves accountable. They have to be disciplined in between these fights and not blow up in between weight, so they don't have a disadvantage when it's time to make weight.
And Devin received payment for the balloon, and I'm saying that whatever ballooning that Ryan did, so it shouldn't even be no excuse on the weight on that part because he
Listen,
got
like I said,
he
both
got his
things are
bread.
true.
But you got to
He
say
got his
you
bread.
as a B
You
side,
agreed to
you in a
agree to
no
the
win
terms.
situation. And you in the
You
B, you
agreed
a
to the
B
terms.
side. It ain't you. Yeah, of course.
Yes, and when
What
two
did Frank
things
The
are
Martin?
B
one,
side, you ain't
when
What is
the B
Barrios
side
gonna
don't mean
do?
you ain't got
when
no
they make
decision.
As a champion, did Barrios take a rehydration clause against Tank?
Did he or did he not?
Yes, he did. I mean, that's just
All
common
right, then
sense.
he made the
What I'm
choice.
so
He had
100%
no
as
excuse.
a B side, it on with the terms of the agreement, you gonna sign him because that's your biggest payday. Who else is after
Good.
who else is he gonna fight bigger than Tank on PBC? He gonna
no,
take
but
his biggest payday,
He still had the option
regardless
to
of the
say
terms.
no.
So
the
He
thing
said,
is,
"Nah, I didn't know you just gonna take it.
the
You still,
Haney,
if you take it, you
what
can't make the excuse. That's the point.
Barrios
If
gonna
you
make the
agree to those
excuse.
where
terms,
But
the
you can't
Haney
make the
us
dropped the
excuse.
ball at
as
is
objective observers, we can actually understand the position he was in. That's all I'm saying. As a B side, he don't dictate nothing. That's the
no.
point.
In that case, when he missed the weight, they had an opportunity to put things in place for the
I'm t-
advantage, bro. I'm
I
telling you.
understand what
Yeah.
everybody has this assumption that he could have played hardball with Golden Boy and Ryan. I'm trying to tell these brothers this. Why would a guy that made 140 a champion, why would
No,
he put a rehydration
it,
clause
it,
on
it wouldn't
himself?
have been it
Why?
wouldn't have been on
Who's
Listen.
him.
who's the
He
more
would have never
accomplished
put
fighter
it on.
between Devin and Ryan?
So they
The
have
Who's
one
the more
weight
way.
accomplished
limit would
fighter?
have been on Ryan. That would have never been on Devin. That would have been on Ryan because he missed weight. But the Haney's didn't have the proper people in place to put that proper pressure on Ryan.
I'm not
They
going to
just took
say
the
that,
money, and I guess
man.
you know what I'm saying?
But that's what now we're trying to deem or determine them as incompetent. I'm not putting that
That's
on these
exactly what they
brothers.
are, though,
No, I'm not.
DA.
No, I'm not. No,
That's
because they
exactly what
no
they
no no. We
are.
can't do
Yeah,
that. We can't do that
that's
because at
what
the
it
end of the
is.
day, they've made millions off of the sport of boxing, and y'all already said he has a frail skeleton and he shouldn't be what he is. Y'all say he's average. So, but he became a 2 division champion and an undisputed champion. We can't disrespect Bill. We can't
That ain't got
Anybody
disrespect
could
nothing
have
to do
took
Bill.
with
them
Hold
being
belts
on,
off Cam
hold
incompetent,
on,
Thomas. Is
bro.
you
hold
I
on.
crazy?
We
love the
can't
Haney's.
disrespect
Anybody could have
Bill
took them belts
and
off
say
George
they're
One
Kambosos.
belt,
incompetent.
one
They
night,
dropped the
one
they
mic.
dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. I love the
I
Haney's,
we
but we gotta
but
tell
that's
the
one. But
truth.
but
They
people would
dropped the
tell me
ball.
that he could have. So you believe that he could have pulled out and fought Barboza?
That was the
Why
option.
not?
Yeah, that was
That's
the
what I'm saying.
option.
Y'all, everybody's is all
No, that
saying
was
these
the
options for this B-side fighter
that
that
was the
all
op-
these
Well,
people
no,
hold
showed
up.
up.
I
no,
thought
that was the
DHP. I
option. That was
thought
the option
DHP
he
was
had,
their
bro. That was
own
the option he
company.
had.
I thought DHP
He
was
went,
was their own company. I thought they made their own
of
moves. I thought they did their
course.
own thing. So
That
Of
was
why
the
the hell
option,
not?
course,
bro. He
but
could
they
have fought
licensed their
Barbosa.
fighter Devin Haney to a Golden Boy Promotions
But
card.
no, remember,
So
hold
he's
on.
listen, man. He did not
So he
have the
been
power.
too.
Why? Hold on. Why is it so hard for y'all to surmise that as a B side? Because y'all know A side, B side. Why is it so hard to surmise that Devin is not the in control of an Oscar De La Hoya promotions event? I'm
Because it's
confused.
the
I
But
issue
think
is
brother,
that.
not because
why
the
was
issue is
Barbosa
not
on the
what you
card in the first
arguing.
place?
The issue is they agreed to what the contract said, which is why they suing them in the first place. That's the issue. That's why they say it was incompetence. That's what we trying to say. It's not about what they could have made Ryan do. It's about what they thought they were signing and what they actually signed. And when they found out what it was and realized they got played, they took it to court.
We 100%. I'm in full agreement. Everything that you just said. My position is this: the zone boxing was craving the Devin Ryan fight for years. They was already trying to build it up. They when Ryan missed weight, what they want to do, they want to put the onus on Devin to say, okay, Devin, pull out. Oh, Devin, put a rehydration clause. They putting all the and Devin, all he really think Devin really should get credit for is just, hey, I wanted to fight. So,
Exactly.
but he can't even get that. But all I'm saying is this: in his position, he was not going to dictate the terms. That's what I have to stand on that. I don't think he was
Nah,
going
but
to dictate the terms because think about it. The zone wanted to fight. He and there was that thing. Oh, we was going to do a Haney Barbosa pay per view, and all those people that paid that money to go to that arena, they're gonna watch Haney Barbosa. I don't believe that.
but why was Barbosa on the card in the first place?
I
To
mean, I told
potentially
you it's a Golden Boy Promotions
no, but
card,
to potentially remember, they were saying they don't know if Ryan's gonna make it to the fight. That's the only reason they put Barbosa on the card.
and then
Just because if Ryan didn't make it to the fight, Devin still had an opponent.
so
That
let me
was
say this.
because
So
remember,
maybe so that's Golden Boy Promotions, right? Can we not say the games have begun? Is this not the press conference? Are they not playing? Are they not playing mind? Did they not play mind games with Devin this whole time? See what I'm
yeah,
saying? So so let's
they
so
did
let's so
what they
then
had
so
to
let's
do
look at it in
to
totality because
penetrate.
people want to let's look at it in totality. Golden Boy Promotions, they are out to win. They're gonna do everything in their power to get an advantage. That's why I don't trust them in the whole Ryan debacle, the whole situation. I
Hey,
think it's
hey, well,
nasty.
look, check this out. Let me say this about the situation. Like, if you're a content creator, right, and you talk about the Devin Ryan thing, I think people would think about it differently if you say it in the proper terms. What Ryan did was pop 60 times the legal limit. And if you keep repeating that, Ryan popped 60 times, it's gonna sound different. It's not gonna sound like this wee bit amount everybody act like it is. The amount is 60 times the limit. Now, I would argue that the weight was worse than the Ostarine. Ryan said himself that he just couldn't lose the 3 pounds. He just couldn't do it. So imagine if he would have lost the 3 pounds, his pop would have been weaker. He would not have been the same puncher. He would probably have been at a disadvantage because Devin Haney weight cut might have been better compared to Ryan. So that had everything to do with the fight. You see what I mean? Devin gonna take the fight, but the money's there. You're not gonna leave that money on the table. You still think you could beat him. But if you say how the fight went, he got caught by a joker that just, in a sense, cheated. Once he got caught that first time, he really just never recovered.
Okay, so here's the thing too, Rich, right? So do you agree that Devin won rounds 2 through 6 or whatever rounds in that fight that he won?
Yeah.
Okay, so when exactly did the Ostarine take effect, or when exactly was he using those 3 pounds to his
Okay,
advantage?
so like if you ever done any drugs, right? It moves in
No,
heels.
I have
And
not,
look, in waves and
for the
valleys. It
record.
moves in waves and valleys, and that's what you saw for Ryan. He would be crunk for a minute, then he'll die down. Then he get back crunk for a minute, then he die down. That's the effects of the drugs taking him on heels, up and down, up and down. So that's why he never looked as sturdy. Without the drugs in the system against Tank, he just ain't had that extra oof. Without the drugs in the system against Rolly, just didn't have that extra oof to get him over the edge. Now it's about your own willpower. He just don't. He's not that guy. You know what I mean? He just not talented guy, but just not that mentally. He's not that guy.
So you think that outside of the Javante Tank Davis fight, every other fight that Ryan was knocking shit out, he was dirty?
It's definitely a possibility. Yeah, I think these fighters don't take drug tests every fight. They don't take drug tests every fight. It just depends on what the commission is and what's the terms of the contract. But they don't take drug tests all the time. I mean, you get, I think, who accused Ryan first? It was Tank. That's the reason why they put him on a drug test. They were the first ones to accuse Ryan. You see what I
So
mean? So the boxers know what's going on. They know what's
B3 made
going
a
on.
great point as well
So
with
with
the
that
with
be
with Povetkin and his 10-year that 10-year run being wiped out because he was on Austrian. That was a great point by B3 as well.
I'm sure was it the same amount? I mean, we already know it wasn't nowhere near the amount that
Yo,
that Ryan
cheating is
got
cheating,
dismissed for.
dog. Cheating is cheating,
I'm saying,
dog.
but for a grown man to be running around in a blood sport talking about cheater and then end up in court rather than just going in there and getting it back in blood like most people have,
But
because
did Oscar and Ryan
like
want to
we
give
all
him the
seen.
Did Oscar and Ryan want to give him the immediate rematch?
I mean, shit. Like if you
Did
ended
they
up
want
in
to give
court,
him
why
the
would it?
immediate
If
rematch?
you in court like a woman acting
No.
like, but I don't
After
even mean to disrespect women.
timeout,
I
before there was lawsuits
if you in
filed and
court,
all of this, what was Ryan and Oscar's energy? Did they want a rematch or not? Yes or no? Before all the court stuff.
they was in court. I ain't gonna break bread with nobody
No,
that
no,
got me in
sir.
court
No,
right now.
sir. No,
You
sir.
gonna sue me
Before
twice
laws.
for battery
First
in a
of all, they
boxing
never
match.
went to court yet. They never went to court yet. They never went to
The
court yet.
fact that they even pressed the
Before the
charges, that
lawsuit was signed,
what are you talking about?
what was Oscar and Ryan's energy? Did they want to give Devin a rematch?
I'm
No,
not gonna
they
give
felt there was
nobody who
no
pressed
reason to
charges.
rematch. Hold on. So to answer
Yeah.
your question directly, so we're not dancing around shit, right? The answer is no, right? But let's put some context around that and let's open it up a little bit, right? Who was the very first person to say they don't want a rematch? I believe
That's
that
not.
was Devin when he went on
No.
ESPN.
What did he say after the fight?
Oh yeah, he said he'd do it. He said he'd
Okay.
do it.
Okay.
But they still haven't done it. So they both been back and forth saying that they'll do it, they
Devin
won't do
only
it.
said
So we're
that.
not going to put the onus on one
Devin did
person.
make that statement, but that was only after the cheating came to the light. Immediately after the fight, Devin and them wanted a rematch. Ryan and Oscar was saying there was no point of it.
No, they said, yeah, we'll do it. Don't act like they
No,
was
they did not.
enthusiastic.
Queen, stop. No, they did not. They were saying there's no need for a rematch. The
I
Yeah.
cheating
know, that's
shit,
what I said.
the cheating shit gave Devin gave the Devin fight life again because that gave them an excuse to say, "Oh well, we were done wrong." That opened up the opportunity for the fight to happen again. That's what happened.
Okay, so fast forward to I guess today, where they're not rematching or whatever the case may be, and Bill is still running around here talking about Ostarine because he's no longer talking about those 3 pounds that y'all love to bring up. He's running around here talking about Ostarine. So if that's the case, right? If this man did you so wrong, he cheated you. Oh my God. Why was he not your first fight back? Why didn't you make it mandatory that you fought him as soon as he came off a suspension if you were that eager to fight him?
That wasn't on them. We all saw what Turkey was doing. That was all Turkey's doing.
See, this is what I don't understand, yo. Y'all, I need a real answer right now. Is Devin Haney his own boss or not?
Not if Turkey paying for the fight, he ain't his own boss.
Okay, that's all I want to know. Because I hear a lot of DHP, they're their own promotional company. They can do what they want. They can move how they want. You moving like a bunch of employees, if you ask me, for a nigga that got his own shit. That's all I'm saying. So if Turkey is the man with the master
I
plan and you
mean,
got to do what Turkey
they
wants,
need a
then
plat
that's fine.
they need a platform. They need a platform.
They can
Let's
go to
do.
Pro Box. They can go to BOK Prime.
I mean, they did try to go to BLK Prime, and then Turkey came in and swooped in and saved them.
No, they went to Turkey. Let's be real. They went to Turkey. Turkey didn't come nowhere. They flew over there to do a
It's,
media workout for
it's
they
the
didn't
same.
even
It's
have
the
an
same thing.
opponent.
Did Turkey pay them?
I don't know. He had him on Spirit Airlines. I know
No,
that
I'm saying,
much.
did they? Did he come in and save him? That's he saved. He saved Haney.
He definitely
Remember,
did
Devin
come
was
in and
gonna fight.
save them.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It don't matter if he went to them or if Turkey. The whole thing is Turkey came and saved them. They were
He
gonna.
saved
They
them. That
announced the
is
fight on
correct.
BLK
He saved
Prime.
the nigga with his own promotional company. Yes, he did.
You need a platform, Queen.
Okay, so then stop running around here like DHP is running some shit. Just say what it is.
Who's saying they're
There's
in
a lot of
no
Haney fans that run
listen,
around here acting like Devin
they're
Haney runs some shit.
they're in control of their own destiny. I
How
don't
if you need
understand. I
another
don't
nigga to pay you?
don't Tank need another nigga to pay him?
Why are we talking about
No,
Tank? We're
I'm
talking
giving
about
you an example.
Devin Haney.
I'm
No.
giving you an
Answer my
example.
question,
No,
Dave
I'm
Father. We're
giving
not
you
gonna
Queen, I'm
we're
giving
not
you an
diddy bopping
example.
and flip flopping.
Queen, I'm giving
Answer
you
the
an
question.
example. I'm giving you an example. You need a platform. You need a platform. That's all I'm saying. He could be a boss all he want, but you still need a platform.
Okay, Jab.
It's like that with all of these guys' promotional companies. We see all of them promoting their promotional companies. They're on the banner, blah blah blah. But they all need a network.
Okay, look at it like this, Jab Queen. When they negotiate that, they negotiate with, I don't know, Jamal Charlo, right? So when they get a check out, they're gonna
Who
get the
wasn't there?
PBC. I'm saying if Turkey, I'm just using it as an example. If
Oh,
Turkey
I know
did
he
that,
wasn't there fighting.
or you can use any fighter that's on that's got a label or whatever. So they're gonna give them a check. The promotional company gonna get 20%. Okay, when Turkey negotiate with Devin, he negotiating with DHP. There is no company that's over him. So he
They
is
go
essentially getting more money. He's getting more money because there is no 20% to give nobody, unless it's a secret deal with Eddie Hearn or something we don't know about. But as we know right now, they only negotiate with DHP, which is making him more money and independent.
I would like somebody to answer this question that Rob Walker asked.
Oh,
Mungia tested positive for too much testosterone. Where's the outcry for source?
he ain't been watching because people been going on the Juice Crew all week.
Yeah, I made
All
a
week,
video about them too, Rod.
all week. People been going
About
in
them.
on Mungia. We've
I
been
think he's
bringing
just
light.
making a point. We won't be talking about it a year from now. Is I think his point that he's trying to make.
I
We
mean,
won't be
those
still
guys.
talking about this.
You know, names. You know what I'm saying? The
I
energy is
can't.
always
You went in and
different
out, Tank.
when
You
it's
went
big
out, babe.
names.
Say it again. You said
Now I
what?
said the energy is always different when you got big names involved. Mungia not really a big name like that.
Yeah, that's what it
Ryan
is.
is a big name. Devin is a big name. Canelo's a big name.
And that's another
I
thing.
mean,
Y'all can't big Ryan up and shit on him at the same time, right?
who's shitting on Ryan though?
This is all I hear. Ryan ain't shit. He ain't this. He ain't that. But now Ryan is a big name. I hear y'all always say
I
Ryan ain't never
mean,
had no
you can
belt.
shit on
Ryan is
somebody,
this.
but you can tell the truth at the same time. He is a big name. He's a big name in boxing. Rolly ain't shit. He a big name. If you ask all the fighters call Rolly trash. But he's a big name. It's boxing.
Stop disrespecting Rolly, bro. Like he's gotten better. Why
No,
can't
he has, but I'm saying what his peers. I'm stating what his peers say about him. I'm not
I
personally
mean,
talking. His
I
all
think
his
that they
peers
leveraging
and all the elite
status, but
fighters be
every
like Rolly's trash, but he's a big name. Niggas want to fight him, so it's just boxing. That's just how boxing is.
what you
Hey,
say,
look,
Prince?
Jack, I'm about to get out of here. Let me just say that last statement because I heard y'all talking earlier about the hydration clause. So I'm gonna give you a different way of looking at it that you might see it better. So the hydration clause is basically just used as a weapon. You know, it's an advantage. That's all it is, to get a slight advantage, to not let the guy rehydrate fully. That's what it means. You're not gonna let him fully rehydrate. You're gonna put a cap on it. Okay. So to switch it from Tank point of view, it's an interview about a year ago with Shakur. And they asked him about the Ryan Garcia fight. He said, yeah, I'll fight Ryan Garcia at 140, but I'm gonna put him on a hydration clause, drain him down a little bit. You see, you gotta be smart. So if one boxer think like that, they all think like that. They all know the game, and that's what it's used for. It's just as a weapon, as a sense of advantage for the more popular guy. But hey,
Yeah,
appreciate you letting me come up. I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'll be in the
Yeah.
chat. All right.
Yeah, okay.
it's the powers that be. Remember, boxing, you trying to look for an advantage in the ring and outside the ring. So we got to take those things into account.
So here's what I want to say to Rich before he tried to throw that little punk ass jab and run out the back door, right?
Who?
So, to Rich. So here's the thing, right? The rehydration clause, as we've already stated, it affects both fighters, not just one. And another thing is this: if a fighter feels like he's not at his best or his strongest underneath the rehydration clause, doesn't that tell you that you need to move your ass up?
That's true.
And my boy, what's going on, babes?
That's true. But like I said, all these fighters and all their promotional teams, that everyone's looking for an advantage in and outside the ring. So it's just business. You know what I'm saying?
And what's going on? Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Tank Father, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it affects both parties. You know what I'm saying? As
Absolutely.
Ant said, it
But
doesn't just affect one person.
if I know I'm more disciplined outside the ring than you are, I'm gonna use that to my advantage. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely, and it's the one thing that both guys have in their control. You know, they're called weight
exactly.
classes, not height classes. So if you're a guy like Tank, since you know he seems to be at the center of it, oftentimes these rehydration conversations, he can't control the fact that he's 5'5" and whatever his reach is, or some people say he's not even that tall. But if you're in there with a guy who's damn near 6 feet tall and he's got a significant reach advantage, there's nothing you can do about that. But if we're both supposed to be fighting at lightweight, we both can control whether or not we come in at 135. You feel what I'm saying? So
That's a fact.
why should I give up all these advantages? I'm not going to. I can't take it. I can't strip the guy of his height and his reach. But if we both supposed to be weighing in at the same thing or around roughly around the same weight, it's like I don't want to give that up too. Now I'm completely behind the eight ball, and this guy got all the advantages. So I'm supposed to give up height, reach, which are the things I can't control, and weight. That's just crazy. That's just foolish.
That's a fact.
I agree. I mean, like you said before, it affects both parties equally. So I don't really think anybody is got an advantage over anybody else. And just telling you how much more weight you could put on before you come in the damn ring with me, like a lot of people have said that. Like I don't know if you guys saw that recent picture of Devin and David Benavidez that's been circulating. They look about the damn same to me.
Oh my god. Yeah, I gotta stop it. Devin,
What?
the,
You gonna stop
the,
acting like Devin ain't got no funny ass moves, man. You gotta stop acting like
I
he's
saw
just a
that picture. I
victim
saw
out
that
here.
picture everybody talking about. The head size look the same, but we know Devin
Yo,
ain't
you
the same
can't tell me
size
he
as
don't look
Benavidez.
almost the same size as David Benavidez, yo. Are you
I
kidding
don't
me
think
right now,
so.
Tank Father?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think
And
so.
what do you think?
The dude, my fault.
No, physically, I don't think he looked. I don't think he. I think David is clearly bigger. Devin just got a big ass head, but you know, once again, it's like when these guys are outside of fights or outside of camp, I should say, that weight that they put on. You know, a lot of times we hear people say this guy is naturally bigger, but If a guy's not as disciplined outside of camp as he is in camp, how functional is that weight? You know, a guy blowing up in between fights, it don't mean that he's a naturally big guy. It just means he ain't really taking care of himself outside of camp when he don't have a date lined up.
Yeah, but I'm not saying he's sitting around here looking like somebody auntie that's been laying around eating chips all day. I'm talking about in shape because they was in the gym. So clearly they just finished sparring or something. They looked about the same to me. I mean, girth wise and everything. I'm not saying obviously I don't think Devin by no means could step in the ring with David Benavidez. I'm just saying he didn't appear to me as if David Benavidez was towering over him.
Nah, he's not a small guy, but hey, you know, if you can make the weight, you can make the weight. As far as that gaining 30 pounds overnight thing, I don't even know how the hell they do that because one day I did my research. I'm just trying to figure out how much body can the I said how much body, how much water, how much fluid can the body retain? And our body, like it's extremely difficult to hold on to that much water because you got to figure throughout the day you're going to be excreting water in a number of ways. Like hell, even when you're breathing, you know what I'm saying? Water is leaving your body. When you're sweating, perspiring, water is leaving your body. When you go take a piss, when you take a shit, like water is leaving your body. So I don't know how the hell these guys are doing that. Maybe it is the supplements or whatever else, but they're finding a way to do it.
Snack, baby, snack. I'm telling you, Aunt, it's that snack.
But Caleb playing is snack strong. How did he look last night?
Caleb Plant ain't snack strong. That nigga was on that nigga. He on a reduced plan. I don't know, but Caleb has always had a gas problem though. It's like around like 4 or 5. Caleb tends to gas out, and I've seen him do that on multiple occasions. Multiple occasions.
Yeah, I saw it against the. I first noticed it in the Uskatagi fight.
Yep, in the back half of that fight, then again in the Caleb Truax fight, he started off real strong against Caleb Truax and in the back half of that fight. But I think with Caleb playing, it's a combination of his musculature, you know, his physique, and just his style, man. Like it's very laborious. Like you doing all that moving and bouncing and yeah,
Hey,
it just
maybe he just ain't got it. Maybe he just ain't got it. You
and
know,
he
maybe this
gave
is
he
just
gives
a
up a
ceiling for
lot of
him.
shots to the body. A lot of shots to the body. Just look at how often he was getting touched to
Yeah,
the body last night.
yeah, yeah. He was definitely getting hit up at that body, man.
That left flank was red by the second round. He started getting touched up with them right hands to the body, and then it only intensified as the fight went on. So you just gotta just look at that too. You know how you defending yourself. How do you manage yourself in the first half of a fight to try to minimize the amount of damage? I think with the McCumbee fight, it didn't really show up because he did a really good job of taking the play away from McCumbee, backing McCumbee up on the ropes, fighting on the inside, smothering him, not letting him get his hands off. And he limited his output like greatly. But last night, man, just with that probe repeatedly, and that with that probe pulling straight out, getting touched with right hands to the body, it just sapped his energy pretty quickly. Because Caleb, I will say to his credit, in terms of just durability, like that guy can take some punishment. He can take some punishment, but
You talking about Plant?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's physically durable. Like he did a lot of holding in that fight against David Benavidez, but he finished the fight on his feet. Like last night, even with him looking gassed, he still finished the fight on his feet. The
He was
Rooster
a
Techie
bloody
fight.
mess. A
That
bloody
that's
mess.
why I say, but that's why I say he takes quality losses because they don't be bad fights and they don't be against horrible opponents. You know, it's just hey, at the end of the day, somebody got to lose. It's unfortunate that it turns out to be him when it gets to a certain caliber, but I don't think that they don't look like hopeless losses. He ain't out there getting just completely washed. Like they're kind of rematch worthy to some degree, you know. So I think you could take quality losses, man. I think that, a lot of these dudes, and that's why Devin don't get a lot of credit or we're not giving him a lot of stock because a lot of these dudes came attaching their names to Mayweather, saying that they were the next Mayweather or it was their era. And then as soon as they lost, they had a whole perverse ass reaction to the loss. And losing is part of the fucking game. You know, like everybody acts like it's a whole bunch of undefeated fighters who retired into the sunset. There's only one as far as we know. And that's just it. That's just his
Two,
dynamic. But everybody,
Joe Calzaghe as well. My bad.
Yeah, Joe
Oh, right,
Calzaghe,
that's a
Rocky
fact.
Marciano, Andre Ward. You got a handful of guys, man.
All
You got
right,
a
man,
handful of
get Andre Ward out of here. We talking about people who actually fought. You know what I'm saying? People who actually fought and was willing to fight and was willing to fight the absolute best, or at least people that was in that conversation.
Whoa, what's
bro.
So,
with the
You
what's
remember
the
who Mikel
SOG
Kessler
smoke?
was at the time, though, when
hey,
he
yo,
fought
that's
him?
all
Like
well and
Kessler.
cute, man, but I'm not really about to, I ain't trying to make it an open-ended debate like that. I'm just stating the facts that a lot of people attach their names in Mayweather, and now they don't have no grace when they take their losses, especially when they end up in courtrooms and shit like that. It's entirely like losing is the other side of the game, and the only way we can really measure how great anybody is how they handle the loss, and if they come back from it, if they show improvement beyond that. But a lot of people just have mental breakdowns. It seemed like today that a lot of these fighters just have all sorts of breakdowns and excuses as to why they're losing. Like you didn't know that there was another side to that number. You gonna
I
meet
have
your match one day.
I have a question. So let me ask you this. Do you think that that's only our fighters that act like this? Because obviously, as you can see, the face of boxing in that Chucky doll has about 6 or 7 losses on his record.
Who's the Chucky doll?
That's
Canelo.
a, but yeah, I think that we have a big thing about like, well, I don't mean we because I don't consider myself of that, but the people that look like myself, that's darker than milk, they like to, I think people like being a victim. They like having a crutch, and at the end of the day, this is a blood sport, like you sign up for what you sign up for. You have the option to say yes or no, regardless of the circumstances. And if shit don't turn out your way, duh. Yeah, I mean, anything but press charges. I know that much. That's all I can say. Do anything but press charges and cry battery and shit. Just limit the excuses, man. Limit the excuses and just go back in there. A lot of people will forget about it. They make the shit worse. They highlight the loss when they come with these excuses.
I agree
So
1,000%,
That is a
bro. And
fact,
then also
Carlton.
pre-fight. That's the other thing too. Pre-fight. Like I understand banter between fighters. Guys are gonna talk the way that they talk. You can't see me. You too small. You ain't good enough. I'll never let you beat me. Yada yada yada. But some of these guys, they just take it a little bit too far, man, to where they
I
can't walk
rather
these things back.
I feel that, but in the same respect, I'd rather them take it too far than not take it far enough. Like show me some love. I mean, show me some confidence in yourself. I'd rather and prove me wrong. Like shit, if I can't do this to you, prove me wrong. This is the perfect environment to show that. Last thing I want to see is somebody respecting the opponent too much, because then I can see the possibility of the loss.
And I
So
think that's a lot of what we saw on the 2nd of May. I think it was lackluster in the fact that we just expected some type of fireworks. We get used to certain things with Gervonta's fights, and then we see other
yeah.
guys that just, I'm not going to say running because I know a lot of people don't like when I say the word running. I'll just say utilizing excessive lateral movement. I think that that's also I think that that's also a problem, and I think that that's why I'm looking forward so hard to the July 12th card, because I do want to see how Shakur performs against Zepeda, who is known to be a more of a come forward, punches and bunches kind of fighter. I know, Ant, we talked about this, and you said that might not always be such a good thing, that Zepeda throws a lot of punches, but I still just want to see how Shakur reacts to it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how he overcomes adversity, because if I'm being honest, I've never seen this boy really overcome adversity. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never had one of those reactions watching a Shakur fight, if I'm being honest.
Man, look, I think Shakur soft as a damn cloud. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no hope in that man. So, I mean, hey, more power to him. But I think that we already seen the best of what he could do. And if he really meets somebody who's like overly aggressive, like his little homie Keyshawn, I don't know. He don't seem like he's acting too friendly with him right now. So, like, I think that if he fights that caliber of opponent, man, you like all that tank talk gonna be out the window. The only reason why people are still clamoring or asking about, why there's anybody asking about a tank fight, is because we just haven't seen Shakur look bad. It ain't because he looked great anywhere. We just haven't seen him look bad yet. And some people want to see him get mopped up. So
It's going to take more than aggression, though. It's going to take somebody that's got a certain level of skill and technique. Because the thing
for
with
sure,
Williams and Zepeda is this: yeah, he's aggressive, but the guy hangs himself out to dry. just by virtue of his technique. Is very shoddy. When it comes to
True
his
indeed.
work, yeah, he throws a lot of punches, but he's definitely a quantity over quality type of guy.
Yeah,
Okay, so
when
you
you
saying he throw a
don't have
lot of punches,
my
but they
fault.
don't land. Is that what you're saying, Ant?
Yeah, I mean, but just by virtue of his style, you're gonna hang himself out to dry just because of the things that he does. And then what happens with Zepeda if he start getting countered frequently? Is he gonna keep his output up, or is he gonna start to put his hands in his pockets and start to second guess himself? Because the thing with Shakur Stevens is, no, he's not a big puncher, but I believe that he's sharp enough and he's got good enough timing to where if he starts catching this man as he's reaching with his hand in the cookie jar, we're gonna see how things change. And if he continues to do so, he can put himself in a world of trouble. And I don't think that technically he's sharp enough to really box with him. I just haven't seen it yet.
So you think he gonna outbox Zepeda?
Absolutely, you cannot box Zepeda. I think
Hands
the
down.
worst thing Zepeda did was fighting Farmar and giving Shakur a look to see what it would possibly look like. Now I think it's too. I think the element of surprise is gone.
Yeah, I think I would say I could see Shakur beating himself by not doing enough, as opposed to Zepeda just getting busy on him. Uh, yeah, I just think that Shakur could be underwhelming enough to where you can give it to the more active and the more active and intent fighter. At the end of the day, like it's easy to rule against him in most cases. So we'll see how it plays out. I know I ain't got no faith in him. I ain't betting. You know what I'm saying? I ain't betting on a damn thing. We're just gonna see how it play out. But
You got no faith in Shakur
hell, fuck no. Pardon me. Hell no. Why would I?
against against a Zepeda?
Look, some people who got the talent. They have the ability to find a way to lose, even when they in a winning situation. And I think Shakur is one of them. His last few wins have acted as losses. So I think that there's not much room for surprise if something goes awry and somehow Zepeda ends up looking better than what we like to predict. Or more so, Shakur ends up looking worse than what we than what he makes us anticipate. I see the possibility
When
of
you
that
mean by
yet again.
worse, you mean
I
him just
can't I
like
can't see that
not
being the
putting on
case though.
like a
It's a
great
trend at this point for him.
like an
How so
eye-popping
though?
performance. That's what you mean?
Being underwhelming enough to where we could just either rule it for the other guy, or we still don't care to see him against the bigger names that he's really talking about being up there with. Like right now, he's got to gain some stock off of his wins. His last three fights did him no justice. So this has to be a very impressive win. A very impressive win. This can't be no taking 2 to 3 steps to dodge one punch, running and resetting yourself completely out of range. And like if you're not gonna, really put that pressure on him and look like you attempted to look when you was fighting the electrician, as everybody calls him. If he don't look that aggressive and dominant, then what you think that everybody gonna say? What else is there to say?
I mean, I don't think people are expecting him to be aggressive like how he was against Padley, like to take the fight to Zepeda. I mean, I could definitely see that going on in the the middle rounds after he figure him out and shit. You know what I'm saying? Is he gonna do that? That's to be determined and shit. But I understand what you're saying and shit. But I just don't see it that way and shit.
I
So
mean,
I
I could
got a
be
question
proven
for
wrong.
y'all then. I got a question for y'all then. Do y'all think that they're setting up this Keyshawn and De Los Santos fight for some sort of comparison?
And this is absolutely, and that's all Top Rank's doing. That's all Top Rank is. That's Top Rank's doing. You know what I'm saying? That's all Top Rank doing. I mean, they did a comparison to Abdullah and Tank the other day of both fighters at the same age. I mean, Top Rank like to play those type of games. So, but they're definitely the conversation is Keyshawn blow Edwin out the water, You know the conversation is gonna be he did it better in better fashion than Shakur. Absolutely, that's what we're headed for. Absolutely.
Do you think that that's going to set up some sort of Keyshawn versus Shakur, or just because I mean, why else would they want to stir the conversation? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, I just look at things like a little like the lay of the land. Like, why
That
would you be doing
that
that?
could
Because
that could be top ranks doing because if we're not mistaken, when Keyshawn beat Constacio, and he called out Devin Haney. Remember the original conversation between Shakur and Devin? Shakur told him that Top Rank told him to do that. So that could possibly be Top Rank's plan. You know what I'm saying? For Keyshawn to try to go at Shakur, and we're seeing that happen a little bit with their little exchange on X. You know what I'm saying? So that could definitely be a thing. These
Aunt,
fight,
what you think?
I think these fighters don't really have a mind of their own, man.
I don't
These,
either,
these
if I'm
new
being
fighters,
honest.
they don't really got a mind of their own. They're quick to get a battery in their back. Maybe the old fighters was like that, but I just see like society right now is real sensitive, so it's really easy to point out for me.
Hell, I wouldn't even say maybe. The old fighters were definitely like that. You had some guys that they were getting championship fights under those conditions. Like, hey, quid pro
What I
quo.
cut out?
Most famously, what's my man's name? Jake LaMotta. Jake LaMotta, he was going through it mentally because he felt like he sold his integrity. He made a deal with the mob, took a dive in the fight, and then later on, as he granted them that favor, they granted him the favor of getting him into a title fight. So fight has been being taken advantage of like that for the longest time. Guys been going along with the program for the longest time because these promoters, these matchmakers, they've seen it all, they've done it all, they know what works, what doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, it's their money being put up to finance these events. So guys, they just naturally they're gonna fall in line. So who the hell is somebody to tell Bob Arum or one of these other guys that's been around for so long, hey, this is what we gonna do? Nah, Bob Arum had Muhammad Ali, this one, that one. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Ray Leonard.
But so then I guess the question becomes then why aren't they trying to make a fight with Keyshawn and Abdullah? I mean, they're under the same promotional umbrella. Abdullah is number one now in the WBO. So
WBO,
I'm
yeah.
yeah, WBO. So I'm just not sure why, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think I know why. I think they want that belt up off his ass. But I'm just trying to figure out that's an easier fight to make.
Say that again. I didn't hear what you said, Queen. My bad.
No, I said I just don't understand why they wouldn't be trying to make an Abdullah Mason versus Keyshawn fight. That fight just seems a little easier to make to me. They're both under the same promotional umbrella. Abdullah Mason is now number two in the WBO. I mean, that would just seem like an easier fight.
Absolutely, that's an easy fight to make, but I think they might be trying to build both of them up, maybe to possibly meet down the line. Uh, uh, um, that ranking for Abdullah came to my senses last week, and my initial reaction was I think they're gonna I think Keyshawn's gonna be moving up real soon. If he can't get the Tank Davis fight or couple unification fights, I think he's gonna move up, and then they might be trying to either make the fight with Tio or wait for Tio to vacate, open up the belt for Keyshawn, and then Abdullah could slide on in and get that 135 strap. But I think they going. I think they building that fight. I don't think it's ready for that fight. But you make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? And then they trying to make both of them stars at the same time. So I don't think they're going to put them together
Hmm.
so early.
Put him on a collision course. What you think,
Yeah.
I? Sin. Still
My
there?
fault. I was pumping gas. I missed what y'all. I missed the
Oh no,
core
I said, why
conversation.
do you think that Why do you think that they're trying to push Abdullah? I mean, well, first, I don't know how far you haven't been listening back, but I said, why do you think that they're having Keyshawn fight De Los Santos? Do you think it's for them to compare his fight against Shakur's? And then why don't you think that they're pushing for an Abdullah Mason fight with Keyshawn since he's now #2 in the WBO?
Oh yeah, I think I think you kind of hit that on the head right there. I could definitely see them trying to make the Shakur comparison, and probably potentially trying to trying to push to set up a fight between Shakur and Keyshawn. Trying to break up that little friendship thing they got going on. I don't know, but I definitely think that Shakur doesn't really have the promoters working in his favor. Yeah, at the end of the day, man, all we can rely on is his ability to wiggle his way out the situation. I really don't think that I think that in the event of him and Keyshawn, I think that would look bad. I think Keyshawn is definitely better than him. And I personally, although I don't care for either fighter, I wouldn't really like to see it because I think that
You don't like Keyshawn?
I mean, I like him. I think he's a good fighter. I just don't care for him as his personality, personally. Like he don't seem. I don't care to watch him. Like he just has to be there alongside fighters that I actually do want to see, and maybe I won't turn the channel or whatever. But yeah, I'm no fan, but he's a solid talent though. I won't say he's trash like Crawford or Shakur. Like I'll say that anywhere in the heart of Nebraska.
You think Crawford's trash?
Dead trash. Dead trash.
I know I like
dead trash. Say what?
Are you a Spence fan, brother?
That's I mean, I can respect Spence over Crawford, but it ain't even about being a fan of nobody. It's just about not registering a threat when people try to say somebody's threatening. I don't see no threat.
Threatening towards who though? Are you referring
Threatening
to
towards I'm threatening towards anybody. I see he's a B- talent or less.
Bud Crawford.
So Sin, so you don't believe that he has any chance against Canelo?
Not in real life, but in the fixed world of boxing, yeah, they could make it cinematic. They could do something. They could pull shit off.
I like the way this nigga think.
Just being honest, now hell no, he's not gonna run up on and try and no Canelo and no bar or no shit like that. Like there's no that goes one way. But in the fixed world of boxing and in a very nice environment, we could make things look cinematic.
I think that the fact Canelo's slowing down gives.
But yeah, that's funny. Like I said, that's a way to make it look cinematic. But Crawford is coming off a losing performance. Crawford threw 200 punches more than Madrimov did and only landed 11 of those 200. It's like, and that was noticeable. That the efficiency to a much lesser fighter, Canelo's defense is exponentially better than Crawford's. Crawford always gets tagged no matter who he faces, with the exception of the Spence fight. He's gonna get tagged every time. So like in a real live situation, you ain't never seen Crawford dodge 4 or 5 punches from a real competent puncher. You ain't never seen him make no slip and make nobody look stupid. We've seen Canelo do this plenty of times.
Against a competent fighter, I give you that point. I give you that point.
So in real life, hell no, this match don't make no sense. There's a million other talents that they could have led this fight up with if they was really trying to honestly build up the fight. He could fight. I mean, since he's going to be there, we could say he could fight Benavidez. But okay,
absolutely not.
Okay, yeah, of course we're gonna say that because of the size. So okay, let's fight. How about Caleb Plant? How about the Andre? What about what about Virgil Ortiz? What about Ryan Garcia, who said, see him in the ring? You were overhyped bum, see me in the ring. Crawford said nothing to him. What about, there's plenty of other talents in between him and Canelo that this fight could be honestly built up if that was the reality. But they're keeping him away from a lot of dangerous motherfuckers. Pardon me, Jack Queen, but they're keeping him away from a lot of dangerous people, and we know Canelo don't fight no knockout artists, no big punches. He's only going to fight the people who he could survive and go to a distance with and try to find that big punch against them. So he chose Crawford because he see Crawford as food, just like I see Crawford as food. But he does have things working in his favor. Crawford does have things working in his favor in that fight. He has Turkey. He got Sugar Daddy Turkey holding his hand into the ring. And I think that Turkey's going to make it a very nice environment where Crawford could look a lot better than he did against Madrimov.
So you think Turkey is in more favor of Bud than Canelo? Or
Yeah, I
Canelo
think
could?
somebody's trying to make money. I think somebody's trying to cash out on Crawford because after 40 something fights and for you to struggle to make a star out of him, he has bankrupted a lot of people. And I think that, that somebody's trying to cash out. So they have to sell the illusion that he can take on this big fight. But in reality, if he fought a Virgil Ortiz or Duran Ennis or somebody like that, we ain't going to talk about him versus Canelo. Madrimov almost ended that conversation. So
I don't think
Barely
that
eclipsing
Madrimov
20
fight was
something
that
odd
close
punches
to me.
around. He did
I
that.
gotta go watch it again though. I only
Throwing
watched
the
it one
occasional
time. I
right
have to go
hand. He
watch
did
it
that.
again.
I don't know about
I
that,
dog,
man.
he hit Crawford 5 times in a row with no setup punch over and over.
The
Couldn't get him
man
out.
only in
Couldn't miss.
2 rounds out of 10, the man
I heard a
eclipsed
lot of
23
fighters say that
punches.
those feints he was throwing though was like he was feinting the whole fight. So I don't know. It's different styles, different fights, bro. Different.
Yeah, they
Sometimes these
put two
fighters make
indeed,
up.
but my fault. You know what I'm
Now
saying,
go
but
ahead, finish.
nah,
My bad, bro.
yeah, no, yeah, I just really think that people like to say or people like to push the illusion that Madrimov was better than what we expected, and they don't want to say that Crawford was worse than what we expected. Crawford made what's his name, makes Errol Spence look like damn Martin Lawrence when he fought Tommy Hearns in that episode.
But
How could he ain't leave a bruise on Madrimov?
I think
He ain't
see the
Madrimov
stagger
didn't
thing.
him,
open
ain't
up.
stumble him. That ain't no 7 pound difference. That's more than a 7 pound difference.
Oh, that man
That
was
that
holding
that
on
shit
when he
don't
felt them
register.
body
The
shots.
thing with
He
The
was holding
Spence fight
on.
though, I think Bud and Bomac, they was obsessed with Spence, bro. That was kind of like a Tarver obsessed with Roy Jones. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get those kind of cases in boxes where you got an opponent that's just so gung ho up on you, like it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They gonna figure you out. I think Bud and them been studying Spence for so long, and like they just knew, like you know what I'm saying, he was gonna crush him. And then another thing, Bud came out southpaw that fight right away. Usually he switch middle rounds or when there's a sign of danger. He came out on Spence southpaw right away. So I think that
Man, but
I always just had a thing within myself that like, yo, Bud is obsessed with Spence. Like it's gonna go bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I have
yeah,
to be honest. A lot of people, a lot of Bud Crawford's fans, they have the utmost faith in him, and I get it, right? Like he's your fighter, he's your guy. But I do think that they're overlooking a lot of crucial points. Number one, moving up in that weight, we don't know how that weight is going to sit on his body. I did see a picture of him. He does look like it kind of evened out in his body. But how is he going to move around for 36 minutes and not get hit with all that weight on him? He is going to be fatigued. And then on top of that, if he thinks he can just pop shot Canelo from the outside, I don't know how long that is going to work. Canelo does have issues with cutting off the ring, so he may have some success there. But overall, I just don't see how if he thinks that he's going to go in there and just pop shot Canelo or I'm going to hit you, you're not going to hit me. When Canelo hits you, it's going to be different. I mean, look at how he did Charlo. And I don't think that Bud beats Charlo. And Canelo had Charlo when they're looking like reconsidering life. You know what I'm saying? Those punches are going to be different. And I understand he spars with higher weight class guys. I get all of that. But we're talking about Canelo Alvarez
shit.
here.
We
You know
ain't
what I'm
seen no
saying?
footage.
So
We ain't
I,
seen no footage from Crawford. We ain't heard no horror stories from Crawford, and that go for a reason. Because anybody who's really making noise in the sparring gyms, the shit's gonna be there. The noise, like it's going to be there, and it's a reason why this dude is just now finding relevance after 40 damn fights. Big talent does not get missed for an
Nah, I
entire
think
40. Like
that's partly on him though, because remember there was a narrative he didn't want to do interviews. He wouldn't put himself out there like a guy like Spence, where you could be accessible and interview him and
yeah, but
all the
Dave,
go
but
off
talking,
the
all the
outside
dome.
talking
of
is done in the
Spence,
ring.
though, outside of Spence, what big fight that do you guys remember Bud Crawford for having?
No, that's a good point. I mean, the only really win is the Spence win. You know what I'm saying? Like an elite level like win is not. It's only the Spence win. So y'all got a good point on that.
Same man that he said ain't no Hall of Famer. He went to his town and threw a whole damn parade behind this win. The only the
But
only accomplishment probably a Nebraskan ever made in boxing. He went
you
and had a
gotta,
whole parade behind it, behind
but we
Errol
gotta
Spence.
we gotta remember the build up to the fight though.
That's all well and good, but this
We
is
could,
this is out the same man who said that he's not no Hall of Fame. He the one that discredited Spence. He's the one that said the fight wasn't that big. So why'd you go back home and have your whole city parade around this win? Why wasn't any of your other 39 wins prior to him, any of any type of similar magnitude?
like I said, that's just
Yeah,
fighter. I don't know if you was there earlier when I was making the point when I
yeah, I
was
caught
like,
that.
why Devin always saying fighters is smart. I think that's just fighter talk. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's just fighter talk. I
Well,
think that's just fighter talk, and
was probably
there might be some still bitter because he ain't really got his full credit. I don't think he got the credit he think he was going to get after the Spence win.
I mean, he would have if he actually defended being undisputed.
No,
But
even before.
but
Oh,
the
you saying
thing,
if he defended it against
if you
who?
would have defended it, hell yeah. You know, it's like they say in order to be there's two rules that we all know in boxing and any combat sport. In reality, you have to, in order to be the champ, you have to beat the champ, and you're not a champion until you defend your belt. Is this not true? Are these
Yeah,
two
the
things not
defending
true?
part is a fact. The defending part is a fact. That's a fact.
So who else would touch four belts to drop all four of them when there's nothing but dangerous contenders there? Who else would just go to like the accomplishment would be to hold the four belts and at least knock 2-3 people down before you jump weight. Why are you just touching the belts and then skip and then and then they're giving him all the credit? Now the motherfuckers, pardon me. Now people talking about that this dude is comparable to Mayweather and all of that. Floyd
And
held on to his belts.
I think
And
that a lot of that becomes
But
too,
no,
like to
wait a
since
second. Floyd also nah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I was gonna say Floyd
to
used to win
since
belts and vacate all the time, but he was already established champion by then.
to Sin's point, I think that no one gives him a lot of respect because you only beat one person. Errol went through that whole division, you know what I'm saying? Blood, sweat, and
Mhm.
tears to get those belts. You know what I'm
and you
saying? And then
notice
a lot of
and you
people have
notice
a problem with how you won them too. You know, two car accidents, all this eye surgery. So a lot of people have a problem with that as well.
Yeah,
The flip
yeah,
side of this, the flip side of that though is this though.
that's true. I think
Realistically,
we
were
gotta
they
give him
gonna
credit
allow
though.
him to just jump
You
the
know what I'm
line over these
saying?
guys that they already had in house?
Yeah, it's a little a
What
little
you mean,
over
Aunt?
exaggerating when everybody say he like top five or whatever, just off the two big names. That's a little over exaggeration, but
that's
in this era, he
disrespectful.
gonna be a top
That's
guy.
disrespectful as hell. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
Not with this.
Canelo ain't no gatekeeper. Canelo already done got his ass whooped and ain't fought no top competition in years. So how is he gonna be the catalyst for this guy being top five? There's plenty other talents that he could face. You know, I can name
Yeah,
10 people. I damn near just named 10 people
I think he
that he
should
could
have
have.
went. Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact.
He the
That's a
only
fact.
person undisputed, but we talking about taking it easy and all of that shit. I mean, I ain't never heard any champion be talking about taking it easy on his latter days. Oh, he's almost at the end of his career. He don't need to face this. What the hell we talking about?
But see, that's just a tactic. Yeah, he just making the money. Shit.
That's some
That's
soft
just
shit.
making
I
the
ain't never
money.
heard this weak shit in my life, yo. So I confidently I would go in the heart of Nebraska and say this shit. Anywhere that Terrence Crawford is at, that man's dead trash, and he knows it. Because I ain't never seen nobody else play it so safe, but yet touch more belts and goddamn touch more metal than RoboCop. Scared to fight everybody. That's out of here, man.
Do you think he was scared to fight Keith Thurman in them like 2018, 2019,
He, he,
2017?
why didn't he fight him? Don't
Why
you
didn't he
think that
fight
makes
him?
sense?
Because they were making in-house fights like everybody
I,
else does.
The
That's what
thing
these
is,
Oh
promoters do.
nah,
They
kid.
make in-house
now I'm about to
fights.
give you an explanation. The
That's what
thing
they
Hold
is,
on.
do. When
I
Errol
don't think
Spence, when they had
PBC,
that
who
conversation,
at
and
the
Errol
time
Spence
Bud
had the
wasn't
red
really
hoodie
big enough
on,
to do like cross promotion like that. So that was the roadblock in the fight. And I also think I think them niggas ain't want to fight him and shit. Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. I think them niggas ain't want to fight that nigga Bob.
Keith
I
Thurman
just know
called
that.
him out. Keith Thurman wanted to fight him. Danny Garcia, soft ass, was wanted to be all political and all Crawford's
No, I
unbeatable. But
think
I
Keith
wanted
Thurman.
to.
But see, at the time when Keith, when Bud moved to the division, Keith was already hurt. So Keith was kind of playing that little game, like nigga, get a belt first and this and that. You know what I'm saying? I think Keith would
That
have
could be
fought him,
well
but
and good.
Keith was injured. Keith kept getting hurt and shit. You know what I'm saying?
True indeed. But do you
And then
think that David
PBC, bro,
Avenetian? Do you
PBC,
think that? Let me ask you this, brother. Do you think that David Avenetian is a respectable name to lead up to an Errol Spence fight? Do you think that
absolutely,
there was somebody else?
absolutely not.
And
But
do
that
you
was
think that? And do you also think that Madrimov is a great follow-up after an Errol Spence fight, or are we not fishing for? We fishing for low tier talent to try to to try to make ourselves look better than what we really know we are.
I understand that point. You know what I'm saying? Madrimov was a belt holder at the, so we got to put that into account. But I think
Yes, true indeed.
he should have followed up with another fight after that. Absolutely, because
So,
I think he should have went for Laura.
but oh yeah, but we already know shit. Laura, I mean, man, Laura would have did that man dirty, and then all them age excuses would have been out the window because Laura is definitely a better boxer than Terrence Crawford has ever proven himself to be. Laura did the Canelo. Crawford couldn't replicate a fraction of that. Not in real life, maybe in
What,
the fixed world of
land a
boxing.
couple shots and then get on his bike and then
I
get
would.
touched to the body in
Maybe in
the
the fixed
whole
world of
back
boxing.
half of the fight? You don't think
That's what I
that
think he's
Bud is
gonna
good enough
do
to do
against
that?
Canelo, bro. I think he's gonna try to box on the outside and make Canelo miss it and try to
Name a
walk his way
comparable
to
talent that
a
Crawford has just
decision.
made somebody miss against. Name a comparable talent to Canelo or
No,
anybody.
that's true. That's true. But he hasn't been in a fight to where a nigga pressure him like that. You feel me?
But it ain't because niggas don't want to fight him.
I don't think he been in a
It ain't
fight to
because
where
niggas ain't.
niggas
It ain't
pressure him
because
like that.
people ain't calling him out. So like, Virgil Ortiz is a very makeable fight,
Yeah,
and Virgil
but
seems eager.
with Virgil Ortiz was ranked #1 in the WBO and the WBC 147, had the #1 rankings for 2 years and never activated. No smoke towards
No,
Spence and
sir.
Crawford. So I kind of got to take that with a little grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Because he was #1 for years and never initiated no contact with Bud, no contact with Spence, and he was right there at #1 in both safes and fights
But
for about a
but but
year or
right
two.
but as far as right now goes, he did just beat matter of fact he just beat Israel Madrimov, didn't
He beat Madrimov in a little bit better fashion than Bud,
he?
absolutely.
Yep.
But
Just
like
like
I
Jaron
said, I
Ennis,
got to take into account.
Jaron Ennis beat David Avenetian in a much more in a much better fashion. No glove controversy. You know what I'm saying? No none of that. Sat him down. You know what I'm
They
saying?
both
But
stopped him though.
just
Hold
say yeah,
on.
they both.
What's up, D Ray on the drive? How you doing today, babe?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to chime in on the little debate y'all having.
Okay, well, let them finish up and then you can go
Oh,
ahead.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, man. I just see a lot of smoke and mirrors, and I think that we both agreed to a lot of, like if this dude was really, this ain't not how no champion moves. You know what I'm saying? Like if you at the top of the division, you're gonna knock a few names down if you're really confident. But it seemed like every time somebody that he wants to be undisputed, then as soon as somebody disputes it, he goes to another division. Like,
How
how do y'all
so? If
not
the
see the
man was,
pattern?
if he was the odd man out
I
in that
mean,
whole
the plan
147
was
situation,
to move up to 154, and I know he did kind of play that little mind game with Spence, like when they was talking rematch. He like, well, I wanted that 147. You know what I'm saying? But I think he was trying to move on from the Spence fight, if you
Yeah, he
ask
was
me.
scared to
Spence
death
never
because he didn't want no more
activated though. So
cherries
what
to
is he
pick.
supposed to do if the man don't activate?
Look, it wasn't no more cherries to pick out there at
If the
147, so
man
he had
doesn't
to jump up
activate,
at
then
the
what does he
Spence.
do?
Then you fight the next man up. Who was the
Yeah,
next
it was
man
only
up?
one. It was really only Boots left in the division. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, come on now. Are we not going to defend 4 belts at least once? Let's defend at
No,
least
you
3
got
of
a
them. How
good
about
point.
He
that?
got he
You
got
got a
stripped
good
for he
point
got stripped for a
on
belt
Warrior
within a week.
Code. You know what
Within
I'm
a
saying?
week,
On Warrior
That's
Code.
cool.
But
You
like I
still got
said,
3 more belts to
he wasn't
defend. You still got
undisputed
3
long
more.
enough to take a shit.
So
You
you move
still
up.
got 3 more belts to
Oh, you talking
defend.
about after
And
he
then
vacated
also the man has been at
after the IBF
147 for the
champion?
past 5 years, damn near 6
Anybody trying to
years.
hear that, dog? Like we ain't
No, I'm
never
saying
You
seen
don't
after
need
nobody
to
three
be
that
trying to
more.
small.
hear it, but the man was there
Nah.
for
You
five,
saying
six
he had 3
years.
more belts? You talking about when the IBF gave Boots the belt?
He got
Right.
stripped within a
Well,
week
that's
of
because
winning
he didn't want to
undisputed.
fight him.
Yeah, they wouldn't get in the negotiations.
He
So
was undisputed for a week.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
They stripped him before they could even do anything.
What's up,
After
T
40
Mac?
fights, once you already know when you make it to the top of the mountain, the community gets way smaller. He's not finding people in that community at the top of the mountain to like. It's no excuse why Errol Spence is the only guy. And now we jump all the way up to Canelo. We're jumping up damn near 8 divisions from where he
Nah,
started from.
he's the only guy that people want to give this man credit for.
Ain't nobody else to give credit for. What you talking about?
Who you
Victor
think then,
Postal was a
Ant?
hell of a fighter. Ricky
We
Burns was also a pretty good
the
fighter.
Sean Porter. We got to give
Hilarious.
him the Sean Porter
You can say
win.
it's hilarious. Ricky
Man,
Burns
hell no.
was a good
No.
fighter at the
Because
time. We're not
this
talking
is
about
why
in.
I won't give him the Sean Porter win because right before that fight was booked, they said they would never fight each other as friends. They both said that.
That
So that man
that's
he didn't fight no op. He fought his friend. That was the softest version of Sean Porter that we ever seen. Ain't that there was no dog Sean Porter in that fight. That man laid the fuck down. Damn near punched the ground harder than he ever punched Crawford in the fight.
That man did not
So
lay
just
I
down.
think
hold
That
on,
man's
so.
hold on,
daddy brought
y'all.
him out because it was
Hold
getting
on.
dark in there.
Hold on. So Rod says Boots was waiting for a while. He was the mandatory before Spence Crawford fights. The IBF
Absolutely.
said fight your mandatory or be stripped.
The night, if I'm not mistaken, the night Boots won the interim title, Spence was in the building, and he called Spence out. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not mistaken. If somebody
Spence,
could
Spence
correct
said
me,
Spence said he'll fight him as long as he get the money right. You already know
but
where
see,
Spence was
Spence
at
at the
payday
time,
wise. Spence is
Spence only wanted Bud, and that was it.
yeah,
So we got to bring
I
that
mean
to
it is
the
what it is. I
we
mean,
got to bring that to
And
the
also to the
forefront.
point of it being a big fight. What is Errol Spence's biggest fight commercially?
what do you mean? Errol Spence is the one who got 3 out of 4 of those
I
belts
didn't
that
ask you
made
that. I'm
Bud who it
asking
is. You
what
know what I'm
is his
saying?
biggest fight commercially?
What you mean is what's his biggest fight commercially?
Which
All his
fight
pay-per-views
sold the
were
most? Which
successful.
fight did the biggest numbers?
The Crawford
He was
fight.
the
Oh,
benefactor
okay.
in all of his fights. He was the benefactor in all those
I
pay-per-views
didn't
and all
say
of that.
I
Like
didn't
he
ask
was
you
the
about who
big
was the
fight.
benefactor. I
I
said
think they I
which
think they
fight
just
was the
saying
biggest commercially?
at the time niggas fought like Spence fought the niggas, you know what I'm saying? He but the same way niggas pick
Let
up
me put
the
this in
same way
context,
wait,
brother.
hold on. The same way niggas pick apart Bud wins. You can pick apart Spence wins as well.
Now,
With the
hold
Kell
on. All right,
what
so
hold
let me
on,
put this
let
out
me just
there.
say it. Let me just say it. The
Go ahead,
Kell
bro.
Brook coming off the Triple G loss. The Sean
Spence broke
Porter.
the other eye. Spence broke the other
Nah,
ay,
I
not
didn't
the
say
Yeah,
same
but
eye.
anything
Triple
about
G,
What
but
you
I
but
didn't say
talking
here's
about?
anything
the
about
other
an
thing
eye.
too. It
I'm just
wasn't just the
saying.
orbital bone.
I'm just
Triple
saying.
G, that
You could
fight was
use.
at 160.
I'm just saying you could use that.
Kell Brook came back down to 147.
I'm just saying you could use the damage good excuse. And then the Sean Porter fight, he lost to you, Dennis Ugas,
But it's not an
in that fight
excuse though,
before
Dane.
the Spence fight. But they gave him the gift decision.
Right,
So I'm saying
right.
we could break down Spence
Hold
resume
on.
just like
So
how we break down Bud resume.
now I know because I got a whole track record. Now, well, Spence started calling out Keith Thurman when he was 15 or 16 and 0, like after the Van Eerden fight, 16 and 0. Keith Thurman said he ain't fought nobody. He ain't did nothing for me to, you know what I'm saying, to warrant me to have to fight him, try to play him like the little guy. Spence goes on all the way to 26 or 27 and 0, where it was nobody but Sean Porter, Danny Garcia left. Sean Porter, Danny Garcia both said out their own mouths, and you can look this up because this is live interviews. These ain't articles. They both said, "Who has he fought? He ain't. He, no, he ain't. He don't have no name. He don't have no stock. There's no reason for us to fight him." Danny Garcia stepped up from the smaller division and put pressure on them because they were saying he ain't fought nobody. Danny Garcia, being the smaller guy, stepped up, risked his O, and after he got his ass whipped, that's when not Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, pardon me. Mikey Garcia got his ass whipped. That's when Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, and when Sean Porter lost to Dennis Ugas, That's when it was like, okay, now we ain't got a choice but to fight Spence. But before, they were trying to use the same tactic that Keith Thurman was using, trying to freeze them out, stay safe until they finally see weakness, then develop confidence to fight
Oh,
Errol Spence.
absolutely.
That's all
I'm
the hell
not
they was
disputing
doing.
that. They absolutely wasn't. They didn't want no smoke with Spence at that time. Absolutely.
Until Mikey Garcia stepped up. So it wasn't the fact that Spence wasn't fighting nobody. It was the fact that everybody was trying to
No,
duck Spence and
I'm
freeze him
just
out till they
saying the
saw a
same
weakness.
way. The same way you could say like Bud fought niggas leftovers. You could say Spence fought niggas leftovers too. That was
No,
just
I mean,
a
that's
slight
all well
point.
and good.
Yeah.
But when Spence was fighting, we ain't had no problem at the top with making with making these big fights. You ain't heard no politics, no the negotiations is going bad back and forth. Ever since this bum ass Nebraskan been at the top, it ain't been nothing but diva talk and reasons why he can't fight somebody.
You know why there was no politics? Because they was all over there on PBC. Them dudes was gonna fight regardless.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
fact.
that's a fact. But them top ranked bums, they got something else going on over there. That's why they all friends and
No,
buddy
top rank.
buddy.
They was top rank. They was doing the same shit at
Look,
135. Loma, Richard
Yeah, they was
Comey,
doing the same shit. Yeah, they was
Tiafimo
doing the
I
same
mean,
Lopez.
shit.
Them dudes was pretty
in
much
house.
having a round robin with the belts.
But PBC didn't want to fuck with Bud at all. Remember, they didn't even acknowledge the WBO as a title at one time.
And when they were both face to face, when Errol Spence had the red hoodie on, what did he say to him? He said, "Why would I fight you now when I could fight Sean Porter? He got a belt too. I'm gonna go the
Yeah,
easy route.
that's
Not
true. He
necessarily
like,
the
I could get
easy
the
route, meaning
Pacquiao fight.
not the easy route, meaning that Sean Porter was easy work, but it's an easier fight to
Yeah,
make.
right,
It's just an
right,
easier
very much.
path. That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a fact. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anybody ducking that, but
The
the whole
thing is,
point is that
PBC
But to
wanted
add,
Bud to
hold
come
on,
do
because to
business with
add a
them.
little context with it, when they did get into negotiations, Bud made it extremely hard, all the way down to a goddamn quarter toss. You want Al Heyman to open up his book so you can see his books. You've never done that to any other opponent that you faced.
That's true. That's true. But
We
bum
don't know
you
ass
if he
got,
plan.
did though.
I honestly believe PBC didn't want to make that fight. I honestly believe they didn't want to make
I
that
mean,
fight.
No, they ain't want to make that fight.
if they didn't, it's because Bud didn't earn that stock because he didn't fight nobody in the caliber of what an Errol
Yeah,
Spence was.
absolutely, 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 absolutely.
So all right, so I rest my case. I ain't got to go no further into it.
You think the PBC gives a shit about that? Like who this guy fought and all this other stuff? Hell no. They knew it was a tough
Hey,
style matchup, and then also
Hey,
where Errol Spence was physically in that at that
Yeah,
junction in
and he
time.
could take
The man was
everything.
dealing with
Yeah,
the
that's a
man was
fact.
dealing with a damn
It's business.
retina
It's
and all this other
business.
stuff. It's
It's
business.
business. It is
hey,
business.
look,
hey,
and
hey,
Bud and
hold
Bud is
on.
bad business. That's all I'm gonna say. Bud is bad
Hey,
business. I
Not
got to
bad
take
business at
off. I
all.
got to
He
get.
just came from a
I got
different
to.
model.
That man's a
yes, he
bozo.
can.
I got to get out of here. And I appreciate that man soft as a cloud. I appreciate you having me up here, Jab
Of
Queen.
course,
It's been a
babe.
minute.
Absolutely, babe. No problem.
Hey, hey, y'all take care. I'll chop it up with y'all next time.
All right. D Ray, you were saying something, babe? What you were saying?
I was just gonna say that was a bunch of bullshit. Man, listen, bro. Hey, and my man that was bringing up reason, I appreciate it. You know, when he said, why wouldn't he go knock Sean Porter out? That's what Earl said when Bud was trying to make a fight with him. Bud was telling him, Keith Thurman going over there, you going over there, and he said, hey, he on the wrong side of the street, right? He going the easy route.
Facts.
And he was willing to put 100,000 on that. And Bud told him bet 1,000,000. And then hold on, and then they negotiated, and Earl said, "Hey, he ended up giving him more than that, even before the fight." So
Facts.
I appreciated Earl giving him an opportunity to test his skills against the best that was out there, you know. And for me, Turkey allowing them to do the same thing with Canelo, that's a good fight for him, a good, measuring stick for him to be able to test his skills. And, who knows what's gonna happen because the bell ain't rang, Just like when he fought Spence, we didn't know what was gonna happen before the bell rang. But, that's the whole thing though, right? Spence had said Bud didn't fight nobody, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the who was that? Danny Garcia and Sean Porter fight, right? I believe The post fight, he went in there and he said, Bob won't give him to me. He's smoking mirrors, and then you say all that to the bum ass Nebraska dude, and then you go and do what? You go make a fight with little Mikey Garcia, and then show up talking about why wouldn't you go knock Sean Porter out? I mean, bro, look, all I'm saying, the man looking for the smoke, the bell ring, he get active, good in the community. Why, as fans, we can't support that, And my thing is, okay, if he ain't your favorite fighter, right? Why be a hater? Now I think that it's different if you point out technical flaws, right? You say, oh, he leave his chin up, he leave his left down. I can kind of understand that, but when it goes differently, I get a little frustrated sometimes when you see people, want to kick the narrative, But anyway, I'll go ahead and digress. I appreciate you, Queen. Though, you're doing a
Yeah.
great job. Hey, and it just looked like your channel just growing and blowing up. So I just wanted to come up here and be a little bit a part of it. So I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I'm working so hard. But to your point, right? I don't think, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like Bud Crawford. I don't like nothing about him. I don't like the way he look. I don't like his hairline. He look like his feet stink. I don't like nothing about him, right? But the boy can fight. I will say that. However, I do think that he has carefully selected opponents throughout his career. I do think that he sees what he thinks he can exploit in Canelo at 168, because why would you be going up there if for no other reason than you saw weaknesses? Because I believe David Benavidez just called him out the other day and he was like, "Puh!" Like he poo-pooed him like as if that was a joke. So I feel like certain people are starting to get a little annoyed with how he's moving and the fact that you think you can just, I mean, it's not his fault that Canelo agreed to fight him. So I see like a little bit of hate in David Benavidez. I do see that. But I think the point is you can't just hop your ass up here and play in my weight class and think that it's all good if you're not really trying to catch no real smoke. You can't just walk through weight classes and cherry pick. You know what I'm saying? I really don't I don't know if he's going to be Canelo. Like you said, that's why they fight the fights, and that's why we're going to see when the bell rings, ding, ding. But I just think from the outside looking in, he looks a little opportunistic.
They
Well, I
both
mean,
are. I think him and Canelo both in the same stage in the career where they looking for major advantages in the ring and high paydays.
That is true. Well, but Canelo's been robbing the bank without a gun for years. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
I can't think of his
But ain't
last
had
like
the
good
opportunity to
opponent.
do that. So I think he trying to go get the one or two big paydays and then gracefully bow out.
Yeah, but again, that
right.
we don't know how that weight is going to sit on him, right? We don't know how he's going to be able to move around with that weight on him. We think, I mean, like D Free said, we have to see it. D Ray said
Yeah,
we
we
have
got
to
to
see it.
see. But I think proving with his team, if anybody gonna do it, it'll be him. I think he got a strong team behind him, and I think they know what they're doing over there. Now with the weight thing, I don't know. He might. I think the optimum weight for him to come in is at 162, 163. Anything higher than that, I got major concerns.
Well, I mean, he's always had a gas tank, unlike a lot of other fighters. But it is going to be a lot more weight that you're going to be trying to move around the ring, and I'm sure that he's adapting to it, as we speak. So my only thing is, like you said, we get a chance once the bell ring to be able to see what happened. But now, one thing I always want to point out with the Spence fans that want to disrespect Sean Porter. I met Sean Porter. He's a great guy. From what I know, right? But I'm just trying to say that was a split decision. If I am correct, Bud has never had a split decision. You know,
The Sean Porter win against Spence was a split decision.
Does
didn't he
that
watch
speak
the
to the
fight,
level of
bro?
competition though?
Mm.
Huh? You said
Does
what?
that speak to his level of competition, though?
Who?
Bugs.
Well, I mean, but he stopped Sean Porter. So what we saying? And he stopped Earl Spence. What is
What
we
I'm saying,
saying?
okay, I'm gonna tell you what we're saying. What I'm saying. I don't know about anybody else. What I'm asking you is, you said he's never had a draw, and that's cool. What I'm asking you is, does that speak to his level of competition? Is he just so great, or does he fight below his competition? Is what I'm asking you.
Well, so far I think that he's great, but we get a chance to find out, right? Like a lot of fighters in that position, they would take a lower risk for a reward, right? You know, nobody can say Canelo's a low risk. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say that. So, you know, now of course people saying he ain't this Canelo or that Canelo, but you know, when was he that guy that y'all talking about? What is it? The dude that fought Laura? Was it the one that fought Trump? Mayweather? I mean, you know, Amir Khan. That's y'all Canelo, man. Come on, bro. What we talking about? I'm sorry, Queen. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I want to. Too Rich says Crawford has a better path to beat Canelo than Tank has to beat Roach. They're very similar. Wasn't you taking your ass somewhere? Didn't you say you had to go somewhere, Too Rich? Get on somewhere.
I
No,
think
go ahead.
Canelo Undisputed Run kind of hyped up everything about Canelo. We got to remember before that he was ducking Charlo and Andrade, and they want to have no problems.
And that's the part that make me so mad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Boo Boo should have got his shot. Maul should have got his shot. He looked good last night. You know what I'm saying? And he trying to, you know, potentially get him a matchup down the road, man. So you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see when and if that fight gets made. I guess we will see what we talking about. As D Ray says, what we talking about. What we gonna see what we talking about. What do you think about the fights that happened last night, though? Did you watch them?
oh yes, ma'am. And
What
I love it, both of them though, right?
you said what?
I said yes. I like both of them. I
So you
think
like
you know.
Charlo? So what do you think of Caleb Plant's performance, though?
I mean, I'm not like really like you know surprised. You know, because like when people say, oh, well, Bud ain't fought this person or that person, right? And then Caleb Plant, he goes fights a Canelo, who was everybody know that that was his step up fight up to that point. And then after that, he go fight the Mexican monster who put a beating on him. You know what I'm saying? So of course he's gonna have some after effects of that, in my opinion. You know, because I think that Benavidez is that good. You know, and got that much monster in him, bro. I mean, like you know, uh, him and his brother and his dad. You know, they went to Buzz Gym. They went to the barbershop. They was popping their stuff going down the strap, man, bro. Listen, them dudes, I got a lot of respect for them because they carry themselves good in the ring and out the ring, you know. And that's the thing that I don't like is when we got a fighter that can be, I don't know, protected or whatever, you know, and or strategically match made to become a champion, and then they can get on Twitter and talk all this big stuff, but then they don't want to get out in the crowd to go mix with the people. And that's the only my thing is uh, Bud trying to make a fight with Canelo, and he hanging out with the Cinco de Mayo people. You know what I'm saying? So you know, by himself out there, it look like you know. So I'm just saying that you know, keeping it 100 is what I like. And for Maul, I'm just saying that I hope that he can make it back to you know, for him to get an opportunity to make his mark in boxing. But I don't think that he should have been saying that he would still fight Caleb Plant after that fight, though. He should have been trying to, you know. Now, see, that's the thing. I like at 68. I don't know who are the real threats up there, you know, for you know other people for him to be able to fight. But you know, but go ahead though. I apologize.
No. I was looking forward to hearing your breakdown. I don't think there was anything wrong with him saying that he still wants Caleb Plant. The man slapped him in his face. I would want him too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really think there's anything wrong with him saying he still wants to fight him. And I think that he brought up a really good point. Like, let's stop throwing these boxes away because they lose a fight. You know, Caleb Plant is still a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it may have taken off a little bit of steam, but they have their own separate thing. You know what I'm saying? He slapped him. That's the foundation of their what do you want, press conferences or whatever the case may be. They have history. So it's nothing wrong to build on that history. Now, Caleb Plant probably should rematch for Sindez and hopefully he wins before they fight, which will give Charlo a chance to take another tune up because I feel like he still needs like another fight before he really gets into 168 and starts to shake shit up. So I wouldn't mind that, but absolutely they should still fight. Just like I feel like Devin and Ryan should still rematch. Like I don't think one thing has to do with the other. Y'all heard
Hey,
me?
I can't say nothing for that to that. You know, I just gotta go ahead and just pass the mic.
I would say with the clock ticking, Charlo's what 34 now, or maybe 35. It's like why have another
Yeah, I think
tune-up?
they just turned
If him and Plant can get the fight going, and the PBC or whomever it is still willing to finance it, and there seems to be some interest in the fight from the public, I say just go right into that fight. That could be, his further acclamation into 168.
I was saying that just on the basis of what he was trying to say, like how people are saying, well, Caleb lost, he needs to, I guess, build back up his his stardom or his whatever. But I think so too. I think they should go right into it. But I was just saying, in the event that Caleb decides to rematch for Sendez, then why not instead of waiting? You know what I'm saying? You've already been
I
out the
agree with
ring long
that.
enough.
I agree with that. If he does rematch him, then yeah, for sure, get a tune up in. But if not, I say just get straight to it. I say get
Absolutely.
straight to it.
Absolutely. Thank Father.
We gotta realize in boxing now is no more get to the back of the lines. We just saw Gary Antoine Russell lose to Puello and get a title shot right away against El Rayo. So it's no more getting to the back of the line in boxing. They should run the Charlo and Plant fight. They should go straight into the fight. Is it a main event, pay per view or whatever? Nah, they should probably just throw it as a co-main event on like a super fight. If they can make another super fight out there, but they should go straight into the Plant and Charlo fight, and the winner get homeboy for the interim title.
I can feel that. All right, y'all. I'm about to shut down the card. We've been on here almost 4 hours. I'm gonna go around. Y'all go ahead and give y'all closing arguments.
Thank you. In broad daylight. That's yeah, let's go.
Oh boy. Thank Father. You can hear me?
Yeah, my bad, Ty. Finally caught your live show.
Oh, they just
Um,
hopped off like they stole something. All right. Go
you
ahead.
can hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. No, I
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about and D-Ray. But go ahead.
Oh yeah. Salute to you, Queen. Finally caught your live stream. Um, I wasn't too bad today, was I?
No, you actually behaved. I was surprised.
Nah, that's a fact. I see you doing your thing. Salute. I'm gonna be here supporting. Every time you drop a video
Thank
out, I'm gonna
you.
be there. I'm gonna like. Anytime you're in a live stream, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna start some shit in the chat.
Don't do
And
that.
if I hear
I
any
have
capping,
security get you up
I'm
out of
jump
here.
I'm
Security
jumping
will
up on
get
the
you right up
panel
out of here.
and I'm shutting down narratives. Narratives die every day.
Oh my
Every
God.
day, B. That's my slogan. Narratives die every day, B. But salute to you, Ty. Have a great evening. And like I
You do
said,
the
I'll be here to
same.
support you.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Much love. All right. Have a blessed
All
one.
right. You
All right.
too. Overall, we had us a good one. Last night kicked off our almost every weekend fight coming up. Next week, we got Keyshawn and De Los Santos. We got Abdullah on the undercard. I just want to say I appreciate everybody supporting me, coming to kick it with me at the Players Palace. I really do appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Catch me on a panel.